His younger brother is a gold badge hero revered by all, while he's just a cowardly weakling bullied by everyone. All because he missed one chance that could have determined his fate. The door to becoming a gold badge hero was snatched away by his brother. Thus began his miserable life. However, heaven showed favor, and 3 years later the opportunity appeared before him again. He gained a chance to enter the Rainbow Gate, recalling all the humiliation he had endured. This time, no matter what, he would seize this opportunity with his life, completely changing his destiny. This is a world full of gates, where hell gates descend upon the human realm. Countless powerful monsters pour forth to slaughter humanity. At the same time, trial gates also descend. If humans enter and pass the gate's trial, they can obtain powerful strength capable of slaying monsters. People call them heroes. The level of the trial gate also represents the hero's rank. Currently, the highest level is Gold Badge Hero. Gold Badge heroes enjoy endless rights and wealth and are the objects of everyone's worship and attention. That day, a television broadcast was interviewing Gold Badge hero Renji Hirasaka. The boy watching the TV with admiration was named Subaru Ariake, dreaming of becoming a hero like him someday. His younger brother Taiga Ariake beside him was very impatient, as they were half-brothers from different mothers. Just then, a golden gate suddenly appeared before Subaru. Subaru reached out his hand in disbelief. Just when he thought his dream was coming true, his brother rushed over and pushed him away. Grabbing the door handle, he turned to Subaru with an evil smile. "Sorry, this gate is mine." Just as Subaru desperately tried to stop him, the golden gate had already closed on him. When his brother walked out of the gate, he had become the youngest gold badge hero. Time flew by, and 3 years passed. In this world where the strong rule, the timid and weak Subaru became a target for bullying. That day, he was strung up and insulted by 3 bronze badge punks. Yet he couldn't fight back, only enduring the humiliation through gritted teeth. However, the bullies weren't done with him, choosing to throw stones for more amusement. Just as the green-haired punk was about to throw, a voice startled them. It was from Gold Badge hero Taiga Ariake. Seeing his bullied brother, Taiga not only refused to help but showed a disgusted expression. "Damn scum. Getting bullied by bronze badge trash, you've completely embarrassed me. Good thing we're not blood-related." Then he grabbed a stone, activated his ability Golden Arm, then swung with force. The stone shot out like a golden lightning bolt, grazing Subaru's face as it flew skyward. The clouds behind were swept clear by this powerful attack. The tremendous power left the 3 bronze badge punks in a cold sweat. Looking back at Subaru, he had wet himself in fear. Seeing this pathetic sight, Taiga immediately lost interest, leaving with the words, "Do whatever you want with him, it's none of my business," then walked away with his arm around a girl. The 3 punks relaxed after hearing this. After they were done with Subaru, they stripped him and threw him onto the school field. Even passers-by took photos and laughed. Since Taiga became a gold badge hero, his parents also began living a life of luxury, while Subaru could only live in a room like a dog kennel. That day, Taiga ordered him to buy water. As he was studying and about to explain, he was met with merciless mockery. "No matter how much you study, you're still useless. You'll always be a scum." Then threw money at Subaru's face. "Don't ever think about running away, because you can't escape." While buying water, Subaru was lost in thought, recalling Taiga's words, "They were brothers." Was he serious? For these 3 years, living in a doghouse, enduring heat and cold, despite giving so much to the family, still being called a scum, would such a life really continue forever? Thinking about this, Subaru was in agony. Such a life was worse than death. The source of all this was that golden gate. If given another chance, he would never let anyone take it from him. But there are no second chances in life. At that moment, the 3 punks from earlier suddenly appeared behind him, pulling him back to reality. The hat guy said, "Looks like you're very unlucky. I just got beaten by a monster in the gate. Now you come and play with us and make us happy." Hearing this, Subaru turned and ran, but this action completely triggered the hat guy's sadistic desire, who claimed he would torture him slowly to death this time. The frightened Subaru could only run wildly. The 3 punks easily caught up and mocked, "It's so fun, our little Subaru is desperate." Then the hat guy casually swung his knife. Subaru, struck by the blade, closed his eyes in pain, wondering if they really intended to kill him. Subaru shouted in terror, "I don't want to die," although he had just been thinking life was worse than death. When death truly arrived, he desperately wanted to live. Running to an alley, the hat guy suddenly had an idea. He kicked Subaru into the alley. Then the 3 caught up and beat and kicked him. Subaru could only beg for mercy, but the more he did, the more excited they became. Beaten black and blue, Subaru began to cry. The tired punks also lost interest. They activated a fireball skill, ready to end it. At that moment, Pixel suddenly appeared in front of the curly-haired one. The next second, a bronze gate formed. The curly-haired guy was instantly split in half, dead. Before the others could react, the bronze gate quickly shattered and upgraded to a silver gate. Just as the green-haired guy was surprised, the silver gate shattered and upgraded to a gold gate. The hat guy's eyes widened. Gold gate? Just then, the gold gate suddenly shook violently. Then it shattered and upgraded to an unprecedented rainbow color. Subaru stared at this gate that had appeared before him a second time. This time he absolutely wouldn't let anyone take it from him. He stepped forward and grabbed the door handle. The two who had come to their senses desperately tried to stop him. Then one fired a fireball at Subaru. The violent explosion instantly blew off his legs. Unprecedented, intense pain swept through his body. But thinking of the bullying he had endured for 3 years, all the humiliation he had suffered. This time, even if he died, he wouldn't let anyone else have the gate. Subaru's body burst with a final surge of strength, desperately crawling into the gate. He passed out the moment the gate closed. A monster slowly walked up to him, smiling evilly. What an interesting guy. Then squatted down, pointing its fingertip at Subaru's head. Then inserted it. Immediately a powerful electric current surged through his body. His severed legs healed at a visible rate. Then his heart began to beat again. Awakening, Subaru saw the monster up close, immediately scrambled away in fear. But the monster casually walked to a throne, then showed a disdainful expression. Subaru looked around, still terrified by the process of entering the gate, but recalling the gold badge hero Renji's interview. The space inside the gate was a building with a golden armored knight. Just by fighting and gaining his approval, one could obtain some kind of power from him. Looking at the terrifying monster before him, Subaru stood frozen, not knowing what to do. The monster spoke first. "How long are you going to stand there, kid? Did getting beaten damage your brain?" Subaru trembled and replied, "My brain is fine." The monster became a bit impatient. "Then get over here. If you can hit me once, I can bestow power upon you." But Subaru anxiously shouted, "Wait, who are you?" The monster instantly became irritated. "Are you an idiot? Who the hell cares about that?" Then casually waved a hand. A powerful shockwave carved a trench in the ground. Subaru's eyes widened, thinking it was absolutely impossible to fight this being. Even trying to stand up, his trembling legs wouldn't obey. The monster held his forehead, exasperated. "Looks like you need some help." With a snap of his fingers, countless swords fell from the sky, then pointed at Subaru and said, "Either pick up a weapon and fight, or turn around and go home." Subaru looked at the terrifying monster before him, then looked at the gate behind him. Perhaps leaving now would save his life. Fear ultimately overcame him, and his trembling legs walked toward the gate. The moment he grabbed the door handle, the monster sneered as expected, "A damned scum." These familiar words made Subaru's body tremble, instantly recalling those humiliating memories. The monster continued to taunt, "Your miserable life will forever be spent crawling, all because of your cowardly choice." At this moment, Subaru seemed to see his entire miserable life stretching ahead. In anger, he frantically beat the door in front of him. Damn it, furiously shouting, "Does having power mean you can do whatever you want? Does being weak mean you deserve to be bullied and insulted?" This scene excited the monster. "Of course you waste." Subaru was now enraged. "Shut up, go fuck yourself." He raised his fist and charged at the monster in fury. With one punch, he cracked the monster's face. But the monster was delighted rather than angry. "Little guy, you've passed the test." Then bit Subaru's shoulder. Instantly, a scorching energy surged through his body. Subaru felt like his body was about to explode. "Is he trying to kill me? Is this a trick?" Then he bit back. "Don't joke with me. Even if I die, I won't back down." The monster looked surprised. What an interesting little guy. Before long, Subaru pushed to his limits. With rainbow electricity surging all over his body, collapsed to the ground. The monster revealed a satisfied smile. "Remember my name, Vanquish. Until we meet again, little one." Inside the rainbow gate, Subaru passed out after receiving the power. When he opened his eyes again, a series of voices sounded. "You have inherited the abilities of the Vampire Elder, Vanquish. Gained Skill Blood Mold. Gained Rainbow Skill Blood Taker. The trial gate is about to disappear." Then the trial space began to collapse. However, Subaru couldn't move, only watching helplessly as the gate gradually disappeared. The next moment, he fell into an endless abyss. Outside the gate, the two bronze badge punks saw the shattered rainbow gate. Grinding their teeth, "Damn it, are you kidding me? Such a good opportunity wasted on this loser." Just as they were about to leave, a sudden shattering sound came. Subaru leaped out from the broken space. The two punks were shocked. "Damn, he's actually made it out alive." Subaru had now truly become a rainbow hero. The hat guy refused to accept this fact. He rushed over with a knife, but Subaru easily dodged. Then came a second slash. "You gate thief, die." In the critical moment, Subaru's eyes lit up with rainbow light. The hat guy's movement suddenly seemed extremely slow. A simple crouch easily dodged the attack. The hat guy's face showed disbelief, so he frantically increased his attack speed, but all these attacks were dodged by Subaru. The next second, Subaru grabbed the hat guy's hand, shouting, "Stop now!" The hat guy was so angry he could have swallowed him. But the next second, he started laughing. He had noticed Subaru's trembling legs. "So you're just a rookie." "A harsh rebuke? You worthless trash dare to grab my hand?" Subaru was scared and quickly let go. Taking advantage of this moment, the hat guy delivered a knee to Subaru's chest, followed by a punch aimed at his face. Subaru reacted and urgently avoided it, but was hit by the hat guy's follow-up punch. Subaru instinctively wanted to cry out in pain, but was surprised to find he felt no pain. At this point, a panel appeared in front of him, displaying Subaru's vitality data. Looking at the two punks before him, it was like a digitized space. Is this what heroes see? The green-haired guy warned, he can definitely see the interface now, but was rebuked by the hat guy, shut up. This morning he was still a pants-wetting loser. I absolutely won't accept this fact. Then his hand ignited with roaring flames, hurling it at Subaru. Facing the huge fireball, Subaru had nowhere to dodge. The next second, a violent explosion erupted in towering flames. The hat guy had a smug smile, thinking he had succeeded. But the next second shocked him. Subaru was standing there unharmed. Looking at the panel, his life value had only dropped by 32 points. The hat guy was shocked. Is this a joke? A skill that could destroy a truck and he's fine? The green-haired guy became fearful. Maybe we should run. That gate's level is definitely higher than gold. The hat guy angrily rebuked him. You idiot, look carefully, he's only level 1. If his level increases, we're dead, so we must kill him now. Then a gray string shot out. Subaru was instantly bound and immobilized. It was the green-haired guy activating his skill. The hat guy seized the opportunity to charge with his knife. Die, you damn scum! Subaru was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan, because he had no idea how to use his skills. In the critical moment, several blood swords suddenly emerged from his body. The charging hat guy was pierced through. Then Vanquish's voice sounded, "What a troublesome guy. I'll only teach you once." Blood mold skill activated. Can control blood form for 10 seconds. Figure out the rest yourself. Remember to ignite your hatred. While he was distracted, a knife tip was already within inches. He instantly dodged this fatal strike. Subaru couldn't understand why the guy still attacked despite being severely injured. The hat guy had entered a state of frenzy. You damn gate thief. Our friend died because of you. You murderer should die. No one will be sad or miss you. No one needs you. These words completely ignited Subaru's fury. The spark of hatred in his heart began to burn. Shut up, stop talking nonsense. Strong rainbow energy began to erupt from his body. Raising his angry fist, he charged at the hat guy. The sharp knife shattered on contact with his fist. Then a punch smashed into the hat guy's face. The enraged Subaru's veins bulged, followed by another punch sending the hat guy spiraling upward. Seeing this, the green-haired guy's eyes widened. The hat guy crashed heavily to the ground unconscious, and now Subaru was like a demon returned from hell, striding toward the green-haired guy. The green-haired guy saw the situation was dire and quickly activated his skill, taking the hat guy, who looked like a dead dog, and fleeing. Subaru watched them disappear. Sighing in relief, it's finally over. The next day, people from the Hero Association came to the scene. Seeing the devastation, they guessed it must be the work of monsters. At that moment, Gold Badge hero Renji slowly approached and analyzed. There were no traces of monsters nearby. The ability to split a Bronze Badge hero in half must be at least Silver Badge level power. Even his spirit guide sensed an uneasy aura. However, Renji didn't think too much about it, then looked up at the sky, before the damn sky clock reached 0. The most important task was to destroy more demon gates. Meanwhile, that morning, just because Subaru hadn't returned from buying water overnight, Taiga had punched and destroyed Subaru's doghouse. Damn Subaru. How dare he not respond to my messages? Then his phone received information about the Bronze Badge hero's death. It was one of the 3 who had bullied Subaru. Taiga suddenly thought of something. His pupils contracted in shock. Damn it, that's impossible. Don't tell me he's become a hero. He immediately went to the police station to verify the truth. The officer was respectful upon seeing one of the nation's 7 Gold Badge heroes, Taiga. Taiga got straight to the point. Bring me all the files on last night's murder case. Faced with the supreme status and power of a Gold Badge hero, the officer had no choice but to comply. Meanwhile, Subaru arrived at the Hero Association headquarters, an organization that manages heroes and demon gates. To advance in hero rank, one must clear demon gates. And to enter demon gates, one must register as a member. Last night's incident had been classified as a murder case, and a Gold Badge hero had been dispatched to investigate. If Taiga found him, he was done for. So Subaru's most important task now was to quickly enhance his strength. An enthusiastic young lady welcomed him and began explaining the rules. First, clearing demon gates allows you to level up. Second, the number of stars on a gate represents its difficulty. Third, stars can be exchanged for money. Upon hearing stars could be exchanged for money, Subaru took out the stars dropped by the hat guy. Although it felt wrong, he was broke. The young lady was surprised to see the stars, wondering how an unregistered hero had stars. She said entering gates illegally was a punishable offense. Subaru was panicking and at a loss. But the next second, the young lady revealed a sweet smile. Since you're new, I'll let it slide this time. The lucky Subaru sighed in relief. However, the final exchange amount still shocked him. Based on the exchange rate, Subaru could now be considered newly rich. This also gave him more motivation to be a hero. But because his current appearance was too peculiar, Subaru decided to change his image first. After a bout of vengeful spending, Subaru finally looked like a hero. Then he went to a coffee shop and ordered a cappuccino. slowly savoring it. It's so delicious. He hadn't experienced such a life since Taiga became a hero. Subaru was so excited he almost cried. Now he had become a hero, finally escaping that unbearable life. He silently resolved to find more gates and work hard to level up, to make this kind of life continue. But at that moment, a strong sense of pressure interrupted his pleasant imagination. Turning his head, it was Taiga glaring at him fiercely. "Found you, you damn scum!" Then a shockwave shattered the glass in front of him. He grabbed Subaru's collar, yanked him out with force, and slammed him toward the parking lot. The powerful impact sent Subaru bouncing between cars. As he was about to crash into a mother and child, Subaru turned toward them. So he urgently activated the blood mold skill. Instantly, streams of blood shot out, wrapping around nearby vehicles. Finally managing to stop, saving the mother and child, he shouted for them to leave quickly, then glared fiercely at Taiga. Taiga, enveloped in 10-meter-high golden flames, slowly walked toward Subaru. "Subaru, I really can't believe you actually became a hero." As he finished speaking, intense golden energy enveloped his body. "I'm going to kill you." At this point, Subaru knew there was no escape, even though he was only level 1, even though he faced one of the nation's 7 gold badge heroes. His gaze was determined, rainbow energy beginning to erupt from his body. "Come on, this time I won't back down." Now knowing Subaru had also become a hero, Taiga had used every means to finally find him, wanting nothing more than to kill him immediately. Subaru was shocked at how quickly he was found. Taiga gave a cold laugh. Think about it in hell. His huge fist came straight at Subaru, who hurriedly leaned back, jumping backward to create distance. "Damn, was it using the phone and spending money that got me located?" Taiga smiled maliciously. "So what if you know? You're already a dead man." Facing such a powerful opponent, Vanquish's interested voice sounded in his mind. "How do you plan to win this fight?" But facing the enormous gap in attack power, Subaru had only one thought: staying alive is my primary concern. Vanquish smiled and said, "Here's a hint. The blood mold skill can convert magic power into blood for use." Taiga stopped talking and activated his skill Golden Impact, determined to kill Subaru in one strike. After a violent explosion, flames shot skyward, just when he thought he had easily finished the job. The smile on his face gradually froze. Subaru had imitated the green-haired guy's technique, controlling blood into string form, flying into the air to dodge the attack. But before Subaru could land, Taiga used his speed advantage to appear behind him, about to unleash a full-power attack. At the critical moment, Subaru released blood string to change direction, narrowly avoiding this fatal strike. However, under this powerful impact, the area within 50 miles instantly turned to ruins. Taiga hadn't expected that his consecutive attacks would be dodged by a rookie hero. He became furious with embarrassment, angrily charging at Subaru. "Damn scum, you're dead if I catch you." Surprisingly, Subaru didn't avoid this time. A blood mist spread out. His figure instantly disappeared in the mist. When Subaru reappeared, he was behind Taiga, recalling all his past suffering, turning all his grief and anger into strength. He put everything into a punch on Taiga, but such an attack couldn't even break through his defense. Instead, Subaru's arm was filled with intense pain. Reacting, Taiga gave a contemptuous smile, casually swinging a claw. Blood immediately gushed from Subaru's chest. With just a casual attack, Subaru was severely injured. His life value instantly dropped to the bottom. Taiga now wore a victorious smile, reaching out to end it all. Suddenly, the blood on the ground condensed into several blood swords. At the same time, a blood mist obscured Taiga's vision, with Subaru's full force behind them. Taiga was instantly pierced like a hornet's nest. After this successful strike, Subaru caught his breath, believing in the hardness of these blood swords, which were the limit of what he could control. But the next second was unbelievable. Taiga stood there unharmed, facing Taiga, who was invincible in speed, power, and defense. Subaru now fell into deep despair. Allowing Taiga to grab him, the outcome was decided. Taiga unleashed his final attack with full power, smashing into Subaru's chest. The powerful impact immediately raised clouds of dust. When the dust settled, Subaru was unharmed. The full power strike had hit a blood sac, completely dispersing the impact. The next second, the blood sac melted and stuck to Taiga's hand. Like rubber, impossible to shake off. Subaru now converted magic power into blood. As magic power rapidly decreased, more and more blood spheres appeared, all hurling toward Taiga. Taiga was instantly wrapped up and immobilized. Taiga was furious, shouting angrily, "You think you can win?" But Subaru was very calm. "I never thought I could win, I just wanted to survive." Then he fully activated all the blood spheres, instantly surrounding Taiga completely, then using blood string to escape the scene. To prevent Taiga from pursuing, Subaru converted blood into mist to block vision. A gold badge hero being toyed with like this, Taiga was now enraged to the extreme. "Damn scum, I'll hunt you to the ends of the earth." At that moment, a powerful pressure descended, instantly quenching Taiga's fury. The arrivals were 3 gold badge heroes led by Renji. Taiga ignored everything and was about to chase Subaru. A golden chain shot out from the blood mist. Taiga was bound and immobilized, All 7 major gold badge heroes had gathered. Renji's gaze was cold as he said, "Destroying the city like this, you'd better have a good explanation, or you're not going anywhere." Meanwhile, Subaru, who had escaped with his life, was extremely grateful. Because his health and magic power were at rock bottom. He felt a chill, knowing that the next encounter would surely be fatal. So he must quickly become stronger. At that moment, a nearby demon gate was slowly descending. In some corner of the city, a group of punks were planning to take over a gate reserved by a girl. The girl wasn't scared but was full of confidence. Confidently taking a stance, ready to fight. But the next second, she was taught a lesson. It turned out these punks were a team with an average level of 13, while the girl was only a level 8 bronze badge hero. The sunglasses-wearing leader mocked her. "Pitch, what an idiot, daring to challenge us at level 8. Another punk by the gate pointed and said, "Just give up the gate and everything will be fine. After all, this is a world of survival of the fittest." As he finished speaking, Subaru suddenly appeared nearby. "I heard you're deciding who enters the gate by elimination. Count me in." Relying on their numbers, one punk stepped forward and berated him. Where did this idiot come from to join in? Then threw a punch trying to teach Subaru a lesson, but Subaru easily dodged. He immediately released a blood sphere at the punk's feet, sending him flying upward. Then he crashed down face first. This scene astonished everyone present. A bronze badge hero so easily defeated? The other punks refused to accept this fact, believing he must have used some underhanded skill. Then they all charged at him together. Subaru calmly took his stance, facing the charging bald giant. With just one punch, he was knocked to the ground. The remaining 3 punks stared wide-eyed. 1 punch, 2 punches, 3 punches. Without exception, all 3 punks were defeated with 1 punch each. To Subaru, these punks were even weaker than the hat guy, let alone his brother Taiga. Seeing the situation was bad, the sunglasses man hid at a distance to snipe, activating his skill fire gun 6 shots, firing at Subaru. Just when he thought his sneak attack had succeeded, the smoke cleared. The bullets had all been blocked by Subaru's blood spheres. Now it was the sunglasses man's turn to panic. Before he could reload, his glasses were shattered by 1 punch. With this, all the punks were easily defeated. The girl looked on in shock, but Subaru was busy looting. Soon he had a new set of equipment. Before entering the gate, he even gave the girl a wave. The girl only reacted after a while. This gate was originally reserved for her. Entering the gate for the first time, Subaru marveled at the beautiful scenery within. Suddenly, he was knocked flying by the gate behind him. The girl rushed in and locked the gate, preventing the awakening punks from entering. Next, the angry girl stated that this gate was reserved for her. Subaru quickly explained it was his first time inside. Due to certain reasons, he needed to become stronger. The girl remembered Subaru's help earlier, and seeing that Subaru was only level 1, agreed to team up. She then introduced herself. "I'm Sayaka Amamiya, what's your name?" Subaru was about to say his name, but suddenly remembered he was still wanted for murder, quickly changing his answer to Vanquish. And so Subaru began his first team cooperation. At that moment, monsters in the distance discovered the two and began to gather. Sayaka was full of energy. "Leave it to me." She flashed to a goblin, delivering a powerful punch to its face. Then the goblin collapsed to the ground. She continued moving quickly between monsters, striking them. The next second, all monsters were down. This scene amazed Subaru. "Is this girl so strong?" Sayaka proudly introduced, "This is my stunning punch skill." Just as she finished speaking, all the monsters behind her stood up. Subaru finally understood. Her skill had a time limit just like his. The awakened monsters surrounded Sayaka. Because Subaru had trusted Sayaka's words and stayed put. Seeing Sayaka in danger in the distance, Subaru now had to try his new skill. In a critical moment, Subaru releases several blood strings, tightly constricting the necks of all the monsters. Then, with a powerful yank, the monsters are all flung high into the air and slammed violently onto the ground, suffering double damage and all meeting their demise. This scene instantly leaves Sayaka stunned. At that moment, a series of level-up sounds rings out. Subaru immediately rises to level 4, and his blood mold skill duration extends from 10 to 15 seconds. Now Subaru's wounds heal, and he even develops an 8-pack. The feeling of leveling up excites him immensely. Recovering from her shock, Sayaka thinks to herself, "How is this guy so powerful?" However, Subaru is the first to offer praise, saying your skill is truly amazing. Sayaka points to her head in confusion. "Shouldn't I be the one saying that?" Subaru earnestly explains, "If your stunning punch is used one-on-one, wouldn't it be invincible?" Sayaka thinks for a moment, and suddenly feels he makes a lot of sense. Then Subaru points to a canyon in the distance, saying that terrain is perfect for one-on-one combat. Excited, Sayaka can't wait to try it out. She throws a stunning punch at the monster in front. The monster is dazed and disoriented, but as soon as it regains consciousness, it's immediately hit with a second punch. And so this poor monster becomes like a punching bag, beaten until its demise. A notification appears. You have killed a level 6 monster. For the first time, Sayaka realizes how fun combat can be. She continues eliminating monsters using the same technique. Suddenly, a dangerous presence approaches. A goblin chief riding a giant wolf appears, facing the level 17 goblin chief and the level 12 large kobold wolf. Subaru shows no fear and tells Sayaka, "Handle the others, I'll take this one." The battle erupts instantly. A massive impact sends stones and dust flying. Subaru dodges a lethal strike with a quick backstep. Then the giant wolf's claws attack. Subaru decisively meets it with his fist. In a flash, after more than 10 exchanges, neither side gains the upper hand. The goblin chief on the wolf's back sees this and draws his bow. The next moment, the goblin's hand flashes green. The arrow splits into dozens of light arrows shooting towards Subaru. In the emergency, Subaru quickly releases a blood mold defense, wrapping himself completely. Under the tremendous power, the defense nearly breaks. Only now does Subaru realize that the goblin is the true boss. Sayaka, watching from the side, can only worry anxiously. Because when monsters exceed her level by 3, her stunning punch becomes ineffective, so she must quickly clear the monsters before her. Meanwhile, Subaru concentrates 2 blood molds in his hands. With full force, he transforms them into dense blood arrows shooting forward, but the giant wolf vanishes from its original position. The next second, it teleports in front of Subaru. Then the goblin chief's hand flashes green again. Suddenly, a rain of arrows descends, forcing Subaru to both block and dodge. Detecting a skill being released, Subaru hurriedly raises a blood shield for defense. However, what the goblin shoots this time is a penetrating arrow. The blood shield and Subaru are instantly pierced. A burning pain spreads through his body. Damn, goblin actually has a second skill. The previous arrow rain was merely bait. Subaru now faces an unprecedented crisis. The goblin gives him no chance and activates another skill. Just then Sayaka suddenly appears, punching the wolf's head hard. The giant wolf is stunned and crashes to the ground. Subaru looks toward the canyon. All monsters have been eliminated by Sayaka. Her level has successfully risen to 9, allowing her stunning punch to affect the level 12 giant wolf. Seeing the situation deteriorate, the goblin quickly distances itself. Subaru knows his opportunity has come. He releases blood strings tightly wrapping around the wolf's head, leaps high with all his might, then pulls hard, tightening the blood strings. With a crack, the giant wolf's neck is instantly broken. A notification sounds, "You have killed a level 12 giant wolf, your level has increased." Subaru's wounds rapidly heal. The goblin chief continues activating skills. But now Subaru has devised a counter-strategy, mimicking Taiga's skill. Blood mold instantly transforms into a massive blood fist, going head-to-head against the incoming penetrating arrow. In an instant, the unstoppable giant fist smashes into the goblin's chest. The goblin immediately spits blue melon juice and meets its end. A notification sounds, "You have killed a level 17 goblin chief." For killing monsters above his level, Subaru's level skyrockets to 9. With their perfect coordination, Subaru successfully completes his first demon gate, taking only 15 minutes, breaking the clearance record. Meanwhile, a group of punks waits impatiently at the gate. The clothes-stripped punk grits his teeth, determined to teach Subaru a lesson when he comes out. Just then, they notice the time on the gate suddenly stop, indicating successful completion. 2 punks look on in disbelief, as the average completion time for a 2-star gate is 2 hours. Yet Subaru and Sayaka emerged in just over 10 minutes. The bare-chested punk immediately steps forward to confirm if they truly succeeded. At that moment, a panel appears before everyone, showing the remaining time for completion. The next second, the remaining time returns to the sky clock, a giant clock visible worldwide whose countdown ending signifies the end of the world. This is why heroes continually fight. Now the punks finally believe this fact. Subaru approaches the bare-chested punk, apologizing for taking his clothes and offering to compensate him. The punk quickly waves his hand, saying, "No need, big brother, keep it." By now, all the punks are impressed by Subaru's strength, and soon depart from there. Then a shattering sound comes from behind. The demon gate disappears, dropping 2 stars. Sayaka happily picks up the stars, as they represent considerable wealth. However, Subaru makes a request. In the blink of an eye, Subaru returns to the cafe. Seeing normal life return, he's so moved he almost tears up, knowing his efforts weren't in vain. Then Sayaka suddenly asks, "Vanquish isn't your real name, is it?" Subaru's reaction gives the answer. He hesitates to speak. Seeing this, Sayaka quickly explains that she's not blaming him. After all, they fought side by side as comrades, and Subaru saved her life. She wants to become a partner who never betrays and offers help whenever needed. Reflecting on his past painful experiences, the word partner is something no one has ever said to him before, deeply moving Subaru, who then lowers his guard and begins to tell Sayaka about his various experiences. Subaru's tragic experiences resonate deeply with Sayaka, because she too was once the weakest in her family, often excluded and despised. So becoming stronger is her unwavering goal, and Subaru must become stronger to survive. Thus the two reach a common goal. Meanwhile, at the Hero Association headquarters, the Gold Badge heroes led by Renji are discussing how to tackle the 5-star Demon Gate. With Taiga's movements restricted, only 6 Gold Badge heroes can act. Nearby, Shikishima remarks that losing one hot-tempered, brainless guy doesn't matter. Udo, more concerned, notes that 5-star gates must be cleared by Gold Badge heroes, so they need sufficient manpower to be safe. However, Renji is confident about this, because he has invited the strongest Silver Badge team, Team Julieta, to participate in this challenge. At that moment, Subaru, headed to the Hero Association to exchange stars, accidentally bumps into Team Julieta. Subaru quickly apologizes. The team leader Julieta arrogantly says, "Watch where you're going, little guy." Watching the departing team, Subaru remarks on their impressive aura. Meanwhile, Sayaka is excited, because she has successfully reserved the next 2-star Demon Gate. However, what they don't know is, in this seemingly ordinary Demon Gate, an extremely dangerous disaster awaits them. Soon after, the two enter this 2-star Demon Gate, finding a spiral passage leading downward. Subaru locks the door. A panel appears, door lock confirmed, mission start. Sayaka is excited and eager to begin. Just then, a strong sense of danger approaches. Subaru looks down. At the bottom of the eerie passage floats a strange flame. Suddenly, numerous skeleton soldiers begin to surge forward. Soon the skeleton soldiers arrive before the two. The lead skeleton soldier suddenly draws its sword and slashes at Sayaka. Subaru instantly releases a blood shield, blocking this sudden attack for Sayaka. Reacting quickly, Sayaka punches the skeleton to pieces, successfully eliminating the first skeleton soldier. Now attacks from other skeletons follow, but Subaru blocks them one by one. Sayaka also understands the situation, and quickly launches her attack. With their perfect coordination, they successfully kill the first wave of skeleton soldiers. But more and more skeletons surge forward, forcing Subaru to remain fully alert. Soon both are panting from exhaustion. Subaru loudly reminds her that there are too many enemies, and they must conserve energy. Sayaka looks at Subaru as if he's an idiot. Shouldn't it be the opposite? Inside the gate, they should go all out, as leveling up will fully restore their energy. Having a sudden realization, Subaru mobilizes all his energy. The next second, a massive blood tide erupts. The skeleton soldiers are instantly thrown into disarray. The rolling flood washes down the entire passage. Sayaka is stunned by this display of power. Yet Subaru doesn't weaken his attack. Instead, he channels his full power. His magic rapidly decreases and converts to blood volume. All the skeleton soldiers in the passage are trapped and unable to move. However, he is now gasping for breath. Sayaka understands what to do. With one step, she kills the skeleton at the front, then continues along the passage eliminating skeleton soldiers one by one. Soon Sayaka's level rises dramatically to 15, and she shouts to Subaru that she'll handle the rest. With fewer monsters, Subaru's pressure is instantly relieved. His body erupts with colorful energy as he clenches his fist. He gives the remaining skeleton soldiers a blood explosion burial. With that, all skeleton soldiers are obliterated. Subaru's level also skyrockets to 16. Sayaka marvels at how crazy this skill is. Just then, one escaped skeleton suddenly launches a sneak attack on Sayaka. But the next second, it's instantly killed by a blood arrow. It was Subaru who saved her. Now with their greatly increased levels, the two face the remaining skeleton soldiers, dispatching them as easily as cutting vegetables. Despite this, Subaru feels an oppressive force growing stronger as they progress. Soon the two reach the bottom of the passage, with Sayaka at level 20, and Subaru at level 19. A warning appears, boss has descended. The level 29 Skeleton Queen, the fallen Empress Judith, appears. The Skeleton Queen waves both hands, shooting out purple energy, instantly destroying the field and passages. Subaru immediately releases a blood shield to protect them both. Seeing this terrible destructive power, he breaks out in cold sweat. However, Subaru's worry hasn't disappeared, because he feels that the terrifyingly strong presence he sensed earlier isn't coming from the boss before him. Just then, not far behind Subaru, colorful mosaic fragments begin to flash continuously. The Skeleton Queen attacks, wielding whips in both hands in a frenzy. Fierce attacks come at the two. Sayaka uses her agility advantage to constantly dodge. Subaru releases a blood shield to block attacks while thinking of a strategy. Facing the Skeleton Queen's frequent and ranged attacks, Sayaka's skill becomes useless. He can only rely on his blood mold skill to defeat the enemy. But remembering their promise to grow stronger together, never abandoning each other. For Sayaka to gain experience, she must deal damage to the boss. Soon Subaru thinks of a solution. He releases 2 huge blood spheres. The Skeleton Queen notices his intention. In an instant, both launch their attack simultaneously. 2 purple energy beams and the blood spheres collide hard. The blood spheres split into 4 and slam into the Skeleton Queen. The boss's arms, which control her attacks, are entangled by the rubber-like blood spheres. As Subaru clenches his fist forcefully, The Skeleton Queen can no longer move. Then he shouts to Sayaka, "Now!" Understanding immediately, Sayaka dashes toward the boss, her body radiating red energy. She lands a powerful punch on the boss's face, followed by a rain of attacks pouring onto the boss. When the control time on the panel shows only 5 seconds remaining, Subaru warns Sayaka to quickly retreat. Breaking free from the restraints, the Skeleton Queen immediately attacks. A sky full of whip shadows surrounds Sayaka. At this moment, Sayaka is wrapped in blood mold, successfully avoiding this dense attack. After landing, Sayaka is completely unharmed. A moment later, just as Subaru is about to repeat the earlier operation, suddenly a voice sounds from the Skeleton Queen, "Arrogant one, where did you learn this skill?" Both are shocked, as the boss can actually speak. Recovering from his surprise, Subaru quickly asks, "And do you also know Vanquish?" However, the Skeleton Queen doesn't respond, her body erupting with intense waves and growing 6 bone arms. Next, she concentrates a dazzling energy. The next second, this massive energy shoots toward the two. Seeing the danger, Subaru hurriedly releases a blood shield to block it. But the boss skill's power exceeds his imagination. The blood boils and evaporates continuously. To maintain the blood shield form, his magic rapidly decreases. If this continues, both will perish here. Subaru's gaze hardens. He condenses the blood shield into its hardest form, advancing step by step against enormous pressure. When he reaches the Skeleton Queen, he suddenly erupts with all his energy. The front of the blood shield concentrates into a giant red sword, instantly piercing through the Skeleton Queen's body. Receiving a fatal blow, the boss begins to dissipate. With her dying breath full of hatred, she says, "You dare!" A notification sounds, "You have killed the boss Skeleton Queen." Subaru feels regret, though he wanted to know about Vanquish. He had to kill her to survive. Celebration sounds interrupt Subaru's thoughts. Sayaka also gains experience, rising to level 21. This pleases Subaru greatly, as he successfully kept his promise that they would grow stronger together. However, Sayaka is puzzled, having killed the boss but without receiving a gate unlock notification. Just then, colorful mosaics slowly appear in the space. The next second, a rainbow gate appears behind Subaru. Sayaka is very surprised, as this is the first time she's seen a rainbow gate. Even Subaru is confused, wondering if gates can appear so many times. Sayaka explains that each gate has different trigger conditions. Renji once opened 7 trial gates, becoming the strongest gold badge hero. After hearing this, Subaru thinks to himself that if he gets another powerful opportunity, perhaps he could surpass the gold badge heroes. Sayaka can't wait, imagining them becoming the strongest duo. Then the two approach the rainbow gate, just as they grab the handle to open it. Suddenly, a blood-colored sword energy sweeps out, instantly severing Subaru's arm. Sayaka is also struck by the sword energy. Subaru, ignoring the pain, runs towards Sayaka, but loses balance and falls to the ground. At that moment, a monster holding a blood-colored weapon appears at the rainbow gate. Subaru shouts Sayaka's name loudly, but Sayaka gives no response. The monster casually remarks, "I thought there was only you. Was that your important partner? A worthless scum like that dying saves trouble." Hearing this, Subaru instantly turns dark. The next second, his body erupts with intense colorful energy. Consumed by a towering rage, "I will absolutely kill you." Yet the more enraged he becomes, the more excited the monster grows. Introducing itself, "I am one of Lord Vanquish's deputies, Carrion, the Ghoul Lord." Subaru glares in rage. "I understand, now you can die." Subaru charges into the gate, glaring at the monster before him, then closes his eyes, entering a void space to find Vanquish, loudly demanding why his subordinate attacked them. However, Vanquish doesn't respond, instead slowly disappearing from the space. The monster explains, "It's useless. The Vanquish in your body isn't the real one, just a tutorial that won't answer questions beyond its tutorial. So now that you've grown, show me your strength." Without another word, Subaru charges forward with a leap, kicking at the monster, who easily blocks with his weapon. Then mocks, "What an impatient fellow. If you pass the trial, you'll obtain Lord Vanquish's great treasure, the Mystic Piercer." But Subaru has no patience to listen, his entire being consumed by rage. "I said I'm going to kill you!" Tree-like blood spikes grow from his back and shoot toward the monster. The monster leaps high and taunts him. "You'll need to be faster than that to catch me." As the words leave his mouth, his smile vanishes, because the blood spikes are already before him. The monster quickly jumps to avoid the attack, and praises him, "Amazing, you've copied the Skeleton Queen's skill." Seeing the constantly dodging monster, Subaru angrily taunts, "Looks like you're just a coward who can only run." With Sayaka near death, time is running out, and he can't afford to let it waste away. Hearing this, the monster indeed stops. In an instant, both launch attacks simultaneously. However, against the powerful weapon Mystic Piercer, Subaru's blood whips are all sliced apart. The monster mocks, "Pinafore the Mystic Piercer, your defense is like paper." The next second, the monster senses something wrong. The ground begins to shake. The monster just smiles lightly, Suddenly, many blood spikes shoot up from the ground, but the monster anticipates this with a backflip. Seeing this attack ineffective, Subaru instantly transforms the blood spikes into a thorny form, pulling hard to crush the monster. Suddenly, the monster teleports directly in front of Subaru, praising, "You truly surprise me," then lands a punch to Subaru's abdomen, followed by another hard blow. Suddenly taking severe damage, Subaru instantly loses consciousness, flying back several meters and crashing heavily to the ground. The monster calmly says, "So you thought you got stronger and looked down on me? Such courage. Trials are inherently cruel. Either you die or I perish." As the words fade, Subaru stands up shakily, thinking of only one thing. Sayaka's life hangs in the balance. He must defeat the monster before him. Ignite your hatred, passive skill Bloodmaker activated. Now Subaru's body is covered in blood armor, erupting with intense colorful energy. This sight is unexpected even to the monster. Then Subaru charges toward the monster, swinging sharp claws fiercely. The monster still maintains a relaxed posture, but the next second, several spikes shoot out from Subaru's back, though the monster again relies on agility to avoid them. Subaru gets his chance to close in. Both strike simultaneously, causing a violent explosion. In just a moment, they've exchanged several rounds. Now the monster hesitates no longer, his body emitting strong, colorful energy as he raises his weapon high, then brings it down hard towards Subaru. Subaru's arm is instantly severed, but something unexpected happens. The severed arm is being regenerated by Subaru. The next second, he throws a powerful punch. The monster, unable to dodge in time, takes a direct hit. Unwilling to accept this, the monster swings again, but the result is the same, regeneration followed by another punch. This one lands squarely on the monster's shoulder. Now Subaru is like a demon from hell, frantically consuming his own magic power. No matter how many times he's cut, he uses blood mold to heal the wounds and fight again. The monster thinks to himself, "What a crazy battle maniac." Then recalls what Vanquish once said. "Ghoul, would you believe that this kid Subaru bit me when he was in extreme pain getting his power?" The ghoul responded, "Pet's truly unexpected behavior. He's an interesting fellow. I'm sure you'll like him too." The monster realizes Lord Vanquish was indeed right. Laughing, Subaru, "I'm starting to like you." But Subaru isn't in the mood for jokes, glaring at the monster before him. His arm begins to transform. The next second, a blood-colored spear forms, instantly piercing through the monster's entire body. In his mind, he thinks, "Die!" Subaru kills the ghoul lord with his blood spear. The dying monster on the ground is furious. "The trial master let you cause damage, not kill me, you bastard. Are you trying to skip grades?" Subaru coldly says, "Just hurry up and die. Once you're dead, the gate will open, and I must quickly take Sayaka to the hospital." The monster sighs, "What a fool, time outside the gate is now frozen. And to maintain your wounds, your magic will continue to decrease. How do you plan to survive now?" Subaru calmly replies, "There was no other way to defeat you. Even so, I must send Sayaka to the hospital before I die." The monster grits his teeth. "Did it need to go this far? Don't tell me you're in love?" Subaru unwittingly sheds tears. "And you're wrong, because she's my first friend. We once swore never to abandon each other." These words move the monster, who has killed for many years. Distant memories slowly surface. He too was once a weak and helpless youth, until the Vampire King Vanquish appeared and said these same words to him. "By my vampire dignity, I swear to never abandon or betray you." The monster points at Subaru saying, "It seems I was wrong. As an apology, I'll gift you the Mystic Piercer and my skills." Subaru looks confused. "I'm about to die, yet why are you giving me gifts?" The monster shows a relieved smile. "What a fool." A notification sounds. "You have defeated the Ghoul Lord. Your level has increased to 26. Healing light now covers Subaru's entire body. Soon all Subaru's negative status effects are cleared. Then Subaru asks the question he most wants answered. Are all beings inside the gates from the netherworld? The monster confirms this. Then gives Subaru one final tip. When you have no way out, remember to use Blood Taker. Subaru is puzzled. "So I think there is such a skill?" In his final moments before disappearing, the monster shows a satisfied smile. "Your final battle form was just like Vanquish." Shortly after, Subaru carries Sayaka out, immediately taking out his phone to call emergency services. Meanwhile, inside the 5-star Demon Gate, the strongest Silver Team Captain Julieta looks up at the sky, where a level 59 Sky Whale has appeared. With just one strike, it has killed several teammates. The Vice Captain is now extremely anxious, as the team is no match for this monster. Unless most players die, they can't escape. Hearing this, Julieta's expression gradually turns manic. "How many more of us need to die to escape?" The Vice Captain loudly questions, "Are you abandoning your teammates? You should take responsibility as captain." Before he can finish, the Vice Captain is instantly pierced by a thin sword. Because in Julieta's eyes, how can the worthless lives of teammates compare to her noble self? A warning sounds. Most players dead, gate lock about to open. Julieta sees her teammate looking at her with disgust, cursing her as an idiot, saying this will attract monsters. She angrily shouts, "Figure it out yourselves, I'm going home!" Then runs toward the gate without looking back. Escaping outside, Julieta sighs in relief. But consecutive warning alarms sound, no heroes surviving inside, netherworld creature about to be released. Netherworld creatures will hunt heroes from the gate. The next second, a blue energy beam shoots from the gate. The still celebrating Julieta is instantly blown away. Then the sky whale's enormous body breaks through the gate. Meanwhile, Subaru finally gets rescue services, anxiously waiting nearby. Suddenly, several red panels pop up. 5-star gate mission failed. Sky clock time will be deducted. Next, the sky clock drops from 292 days, sharply reduced to 49 days. Just as Subaru is shocked by this, a voice comes from behind. It's the person he met at the Hero Association. Without a word, she tries to order Subaru to help her hold off the pursuing whale, just so she can escape by car. Then she grabs one of the rescue workers, commanding, "Hurry and abandon this trash bronze badge. I'm a top silver badge hero. Quickly drive me away from here." Subaru's face darkens. He grabs Julieta's shoulder. "Wait just a minute," his anger gradually showing. Just then, the sky whale appears above them. The city continuously sounds monster invasion alarms. People are in chaos. To continue saving Sayaka, medical staff must evacuate to the hospital. However, seeing the ambulance leave, Julieta turns to Subaru and angrily shouts, "What are you doing, you bastard? I'll kill—" But the next second, a terrifying presence overwhelms her. Subaru coldly says, "Who are you going to kill?" Moments later, Julieta's face is beaten to a pulp, finally quiet and obedient. Then Subaru asks, "Is that whale hunting you?" Julieta quickly nods. "Yes, it's hunting heroes from the gate." Subaru sighs in relief. As long as Julieta is here, the whale won't harm Sayaka. Now the whale summons several water spheres around itself, as the spheres emit dazzling light. The next second, several blue water pillars shoot out. Without even looking up, Subaru softly says, "Blood mold azalea." In an instant, a giant blood flower blooms beneath the whale. The whale's attack is completely blocked by the blood flower. Now Subaru gathers his strength and leaps upward, his body forming blood armor, his fist erupting with intense colorful energy, landing a powerful blow on the whale, pushing it back dozens of meters. But after the strike, Subaru's expression is grave. The sky whale appears undamaged. Is this what 5-star gate creatures are like? Is the level difference too great? The giant whale opens its mouth to reveal dense biological projectiles. Seeing punches ineffective, Subaru summons the artifact he just obtained from the Rainbow Gate. Facing the countless projectiles, Julieta, her face now like a pig's head, is terrified. But Subaru, holding the Mystic Piercer, is ready to counterattack. Since it's his first time using this weapon, Subaru decides to try 1/3 of his magic power. The next second, the Mystic Piercer glows with red arcs. Then he swings forcefully at the incoming projectiles. Space is cut by countless bloodlines. 0.05 seconds later, a violent explosion illuminates the sky, while the giant whale is blasted away by the attack's aftershock. Now Subaru looks ahead, finally understanding the principle. The Mystic Piercer's power depends on how much magic is used. Facing the tiny human whose 2 attacks were ineffective, the giant whale prepares its ultimate move, with water pillars surrounding its body. The water sphere in front gradually grows. Seeing this, Subaru raises the Mystic Piercer again, thinking, "I'll use 1/3 of my magic power again." With a powerful swing, a blood-colored sword energy shoots forth. The water rings around the giant whale are instantly cut. Then blood marks slowly appear on its body. After a loud boom, it explodes, and the huge water sphere falls with it, then smashes onto the ground, splashing water dozens of meters high. A moment later, the rain clears, and the city finally returns to its former peace. People throughout the city celebrate their survival. Having completed his mission, Subaru can't wait to rush to the hospital. In his urgency, he directly propels himself into flight. This scene is captured by an old man, who later uploads the video online. But Subaru cares about none of this, his heart filled with anxiety. "Sayaka, you must survive." Subaru rushed to the hospital in a panic, but what he feared most had already happened. With trembling hands, he slowly lifted the white cloth from her face. At that moment, Sayaka looked so peaceful. Time seemed to freeze. Subaru stared in disbelief. His entire body suddenly lost all strength. Waves of regret and remorse flooded his heart. It was his Rainbow Gate that had pulled Sayaka in, and that damned carrion, the Ghoul Lord. Suddenly, Subaru remembered the Ghoul Lord's hint. When you have no way out, remember to use the Bloodmaker skill, as if grabbing a lifeline. Subaru frantically searched through his panel. Finally finding the Bloodmaker skill, he activated it without hesitation. Resurrect your closest person as your kin. Condition: death must have occurred within the past hour. Subaru stared at the description in disbelief. Could there really be a skill that could bring the dead back to life? But seeing only 15 seconds remaining on the countdown, Subaru immediately activated the skill without further thought. Instantly the room filled with blood-colored energy. The energy flowed continuously into Sayaka's body. Subaru anxiously prayed, "Wake up soon, Sayaka." At that moment, memories of their time together flashed through his mind. As the time continued to decrease, Subaru released energy with all his might, but when the timer reached 0, Sayaka still hadn't awakened. A wave of intense fear washed over him. Subaru murmured, "Have I failed after all?" Just then, Sayaka's sisters rushed in, throwing themselves beside Sayaka, calling her name loudly. The younger sister's face was covered in tears. Seeing this, Subaru felt a wrenching pain in his heart. The older sister looked at Subaru with hostility. "What relationship do you have with her?" Subaru was taken aback. That promise to never abandon her seemed to echo in his ears. Tears began to flow uncontrollably. "I am her friend." Understanding the situation, the furious older sister rushed over, pinning Subaru against the wall. "So you're the one who took Sayaka on such a dangerous mission. We wanted to become stronger first, so we'd have enough power to protect her before taking her on missions." She raised her fist, about to strike Subaru, when suddenly an unbelievable scene unfolded. Sayaka sat up, her body wrapped in red flames. A mark flashed on her back. Then she rose into the air, emitting red electricity. After a moment, she gently descended to the ground. Sayaka's appearance had changed, while everyone was still in shock. The next second, Sayaka became ferocious. "Don't touch him!" She took a quick step toward her sister, about to attack. Seeing the danger, Subaru summoned his blood armor and grabbed her, shocked at how much stronger she had become. After a moment, Sayaka voluntarily released her grip. She knelt on one knee, apologizing to Subaru. "Mr. Subaru resurrected me. Although I don't remember my previous memories. I will absolutely obey Mr. Subaru's orders." Faced with this unexpected situation, Subaru was at a loss, while the older sister's expression grew increasingly dark. The next second, both sisters erupted with intense energy, angrily saying, "You bastard, what did you do to her?" Confused by this, Sayaka asked, "Is Mr. Subaru really a pervert?" After receiving a negative answer, Sayaka coldly said, "Give me 10 seconds and I'll deal with these rude people." The atmosphere grew tense. With no choice, Subaru quickly activated Blood Mold, trapping both sisters firmly. Without time to explain, he grabbed Sayaka and fled, but the large screen in front of him left him shocked. It was broadcasting his battle with the giant whale. Subaru had become famous overnight. Just then, 2 people appeared before him. They were the Gold Badge heroes Udo and Shikishima. Subaru's expression became serious. At that moment, an even more powerful presence slowly approached from behind the two. It was the strongest Gold Badge hero, Renji. The 3 top Gold Badge heroes had gathered. Renji calmly said to Subaru, "You're suspected of destroying city facilities and involved in a murder case. Come with us." Subaru never imagined meeting his childhood idol would be under such circumstances. Subaru was extremely nervous, thinking he was about to be arrested. But the next second, Renji smiled. "The previous murder case has been solved. You're innocent now." The scene changes to Subaru explaining his experiences. Renji is amazed by the appearance of the Rainbow Gate and the skill that can resurrect teammates. Subaru is curious about how his name was cleared. Seeing this, Shikishima tosses over a tablet. "You probably don't know how many security cameras are in the city. In your fight with Taiga, you were just a victim being bullied. That murder case was also recorded, and the 2 people at the scene testified. So you're cleared now. And because of that battle with the giant whale, you've become a true hero." This sudden fame left Subaru bewildered. Shikishima also explained, "After hearing your story, the mystery of why Taiga had only one skill is solved. A stolen gate, no matter how much it's upgraded, will never produce a second one. So the reason Taiga kept you around was to wait for a second gate to appear." Learning the truth, Subaru fell silent. Soon everyone arrived at the Hero Association headquarters. They went directly to the underground prison, a place specifically for criminal heroes. Taiga glared fiercely at Subaru and screamed madly, "You damn scum, I'll kill you. All gates should be mine. How dare a worthless person like you take them?" Nearby, Sayaka wanted to protect her master. "I want to kill this person," but Subaru stopped her. Facing the hateful and fierce Taiga, Subaru's heart was surprisingly calm. That feeling of being ignored like an insignificant ant made Taiga instantly furious. "You damn bastard, how dare you look at me like that?" Subaru turned and walked away, no longer wanting to pursue the past. Udo was a bit worried. "Are we just letting him leave like this?" Renji's expression suddenly became serious. "Not only that, I'm going to give him some special privileges. We need his powerful strength." The tablet displayed the appearance of a 6-star demon gate. Subaru then went to the main hall, about to exchange the stars he earned from the demon gate. But he was told that for killing the underworld creature Sky Whale, he would receive a huge reward. As Subaru was still in shock, the receptionist brought out a black gold card, saying it was an additional privilege reward. Behind him, onlookers gossiped. "That's the guy who killed the giant whale, amazing. Is he the 8th Gold Badge hero? He even beat up Julieta." Subaru had become famous overnight. The receptionist suddenly asked, "You have money, power, and fame now. What do you want to do next?" Faced with this question he'd never considered, Subaru fell into deep thought. In the underground prison, Taiga, agitated by the encounter, raged and slammed against the iron door. Just then, a figure slowly approached, raising a hand to release golden energy. Taiga was instantly bound by golden chains, unable to move. Looking closely, it was the receptionist, whose true identity was actually one of the 7 gold badge heroes, Sakura Kinokawa. Taiga glared at Sakura with gritted teeth. Sakura increased her power, tightening the golden chains. Taiga's face showed pain. Faced with such humiliation, Taiga recalled Subaru from earlier, emanating incredibly powerful energy. And that contemptuous look, as if he were nothing but an ant. The huge gap made Taiga increasingly insane. This world, stop fucking with me. His mind began to fill with thoughts of slaughter. At this point, Taiga's resentment reached its peak. A world like this doesn't need to exist. Suddenly, a pitch-black energy appeared in the space. The next second, a dark gate appeared. Then demonic whispers came from the gate. This world no longer needs you. Come, let's kill everyone. As Taiga and Sakura were shocked, countless withered hands poured out from the gate. Then Taiga was tightly wrapped and dragged toward the gate. Seeing this, Sakura erupted with golden energy. Several golden chains shot toward the cage, but at that moment a dark energy surged out. The unbreakable golden chains instantly collapsed and broke under the dark energy's corrosion. The next second, Sakura's hands also collapsed. Then she completely lost her fighting ability. Seeing this, Taiga was shocked into a cold sweat. What kind of power is this? At this point, the demonic voice sounded, I will give you this power. Let's destroy this world together. Then the dark gate slowly disappeared. The next day, Subaru lay on the rooftop daydreaming, pondering the answer to that question. What did he want to do from now on? He looked at Sayaka beside him. Is there any way to turn you back into the original Sayaka? Sayaka calmly said, the owner of this body must be very important to Mr. Subaru. Just then, Sayaka suddenly thought of something. I was born from the Bloodmaker skill. Perhaps the answer lies within the skill. Subaru opened his skill panel. Sayaka pointed to an unlocked skill. This skill might be obtained the next time a gate opens. Then we can ask the master inside. Understanding all this, Subaru finally knew what to do next. That was to meet Vanquish as soon as possible, so he needed to clear more gates to level up. The scene changes to Subaru standing before a demon gate. By now, Subaru had become a star hero. The two unhesitatingly pushed open the demon gate. What greeted their eyes was a group of terrifying demon creatures. To test Sayaka's current strength, Subaru decided to let her handle these monsters. Without a word, Sayaka's body erupted with blood-colored energy. Using the skill Blood Round, a high-speed rotating blood wheel expanded in her hand. Then she smashed it forcefully into the demons ahead. After a bloody storm, all the low-level demons were completely obliterated. Then the ground began to shake. A huge demon appeared before the two. To be safe, Subaru summoned the Mystic Piercer. I'll take this one. Under the power of the Mystic Piercer, the demon was quickly defeated. As the demon gate shattered, the two successfully cleared it in just 10 minutes. As Subaru had expected, they could easily handle 3-star gates, so he began to schedule a 4-star demon gate. Just then, a voice came from behind. The second-ranked gold badge hero, Shikishima, had been waiting outside the gate. Subaru was very surprised by his sudden appearance. Shikishima jumped down and brought bad news. Taiga had escaped, and a gold badge hero had been defeated, the 4th-ranked golden chain user Sakura Kinokawa. I believe you've met her, the pink-haired receptionist. Hearing this, Subaru was horrified. Shikishima continued, Sakura is now unconscious, and all the surveillance evidence has been destroyed. So for safety, gold badge heroes will work in teams. You can choose any gate to challenge, but you need to cooperate with me for a while. Shikishima was certain that Subaru would be the next target. The three arrived at a 4-star demon gate, although each additional star increased the difficulty tenfold. Shikishima casually said, this will be an easy victory. Facing a group of monsters averaging 20 levels higher, he directly summoned a dazzling meteor shower, before the monsters could make any resistance. They were all buried in a sea of blue fire. Then, with hands in his pockets, he walked slowly toward the boss. Subaru was shocked at Shikishima's true power. The real reason for Shikishima's strength was that his gate master was a dragon knight, and he had been given the skill of Death Flame. However, even the final boss at level 62 could not escape being instantly killed by Shikishima. The three cleared the 4-star gate in just 10 minutes. Shikishima's goal for the day was to clear 3 demon gates. Subaru hadn't recovered from his shock, thinking he had become strong enough, but Shikishima's strength was beyond imagination. But Shikishima said the next battle would be Subaru's. I want to see your true strength. The three arrived at the next demon gate, which was a crystal-clear crystal world. As they searched for monsters, a crystal cat leaped from behind. As it got closer, a huge cat paw appeared above Subaru's head, then smashed down hard. Seeing this, Sayaka was very anxious. But the next second, a series of red lights flashed. The crystal cat's forearm was instantly shattered. Subaru was shocked. This cat was even stronger than the Ghoul Lord. Just as he was about to launch another attack, he saw something even more shocking. The crystal cat's shattered forearm rapidly regenerated, then quickly attacked Subaru again. He narrowly dodged with a backward jump. Seeing the monster was exceptionally strong, Sayaka anxiously wanted to help, but Shikishima stopped her, saying, "Don't worry, I'll step in when he's about to lose." Even though Subaru's gate level is higher than the gold gate, relying solely on that will result in a miserable defeat. He needs to bring out his true potential in battle. Subaru was anxious, as this terrain wasn't suitable for Bloodmold's properties. Facing the pouncing monster in desperation, Subaru decided to block its vision first. But the next second, he was still hit with perfect accuracy. His body slammed into the ground like a cannonball. Seeing this, Shikishima sighed repeatedly. This guy's battle experience is still too lacking. But Sayaka disagreed. "Don't you understand? Mr. Subaru has already found a way to counterattack." Subaru had attached Bloodstring to the monster, since even the Mystic Piercer didn't work. This time he would try the Ghoul Lord's skill, Death Fist, a skill that maximizes attack using vibrations. After mastering the skill, Subaru manipulated the Bloodstring into a spring formation, then threw a lightning-fast punch at the monster. As the blood spring instantly contracted, the fist released a powerful impact. The monster exploded under this impact, but it regenerated as it fell. The fragments instantly restored to their original form as they hit the ground. Before the monster could react, blood strings wrapped around its neck again. The next second, Subaru's Death Fist struck again, and the monster exploded once more. Since Subaru had experience with regeneration, he knew regeneration must use a lot of magical power to maintain. So whenever the monster regenerated, it was immediately destroyed by Subaru. Shikishima was shocked. In such a short time, he discovered the monster's weakness, and could combine two skills to create such powerful results. Shikishima sighed. What a crazy guy. Subaru was battling fiercely with monsters inside the Demon Gate. Although he had found an effective and powerful attack method, Subaru had underestimated the monster's endurance. Both sides were exhausted but still hadn't determined a winner. However, Shikishima suggested, "If you can defeat the boss, I'll treat you to sushi." Hearing this, Subaru immediately erupted with terrifying energy. The final boss was actually defeated by the temptation of sushi. Shikishima kept his promise, but his brows were furrowed. Subaru was staring at the sushi with fascination. This made Shikishima speechless. Meanwhile, Sayaka was petting the crystal cat. Defeating the gate's boss had yielded its physical form. Other heroes got equipment from defeating bosses, like Renji's earrings, and Taiga's black coat, all with attribute bonuses. Though they didn't know what use the cat had, Shikishima suggested giving it a name. Without hesitation, Subaru said sushi. Suddenly, a huge tremor came from outside. A demon eagle had invaded the human world, and had snatched a little girl. Subaru immediately rose to action. Moments later, Sayaka and Shikishima confronted the eagle, immediately using skills to cut off its wings. Subaru seized the opportunity to jump onto the monster's head, instantly releasing a blood spike that killed the eagle. The little girl fell uncontrollably toward the ground, but was caught by Subaru, who rushed to her, then safely landed. Just then, a man hurried over. It was the Hat Man who had bullied Subaru before, and the little girl was actually Hat Man's sister. Hat Man pulled his sister over anxiously. Not only did he not thank Subaru, but gritted his teeth. "If you want revenge, I'll release the video of you wetting your pants." But Subaru had already let go of all that and said, "Thank you for testifying for me in the murder case." Then he called Shikishima to continue eating sushi. Faced with Subaru's magnanimity, Hat Man completely broke down. "Damn, I'm so pathetic." The next day, Hat Man deleted the video. Suddenly, there was a commotion at the school playground. Taiga had returned from the Dark Gate, then raised a series of dark gates behind him. Seeing this, everyone was shocked. Taiga shouted to the crowd, "Just enter the Dark Gate, and you can gain power rivaling Gold Badge heroes." Elsewhere, learning of Taiga's appearance, Shikishima immediately contacted Subaru and rushed to the school. Hat Man hesitated at the sight of the Dark Gate, but was mocked by Taiga. "What a weakling. Are we really inferior to those damn chosen ones?" These words deeply affected Hat Man. Once he too had been bullied for being weak, until one day a bronze gate appeared and completely changed his fate. However, to prove he was no longer weak, he only did bad things to those weaker than himself. After the incident where Subaru saved his sister, he realized how pathetic he was, and he didn't want to go back to his old self. Taiga hurriedly urged the two to enter the Dark Gate. Hat Man was sure he would be killed if he didn't go in. Thinking his sister was waiting for him at home, after much thought, he decided to enter the Demon Gate. Just then, his phone received a message. It was from his sister. This message instantly awakened Hat Man. "I'm so pathetic. I had already decided not to return to the past." Then, with flames burning on his hand, he said to the green-haired boy, "Help me tell Subaru I'm sorry." Seeing this, Taiga was confused. Has this guy lost his mind? Then Hat Man shouted to the green-haired boy, "Run! Take care of my sister." At this point, Hat Man had transcended life and death. He said to Taiga, "You're pathetic." The next second, Hatman's head was grabbed by the exposed Taiga. Just then, Subaru arrived at the school, breaking through everything to reach Taiga. But seeing that Hatman had already been killed, remembering his cute and sensible sister, anger instantly ignited. He threw a punch at Taiga, the powerful impact instantly breaking through the building. But Taiga was unharmed, smiling evilly, didn't expect to meet again so soon. With a hint of provocation, he said to Subaru, "Let me see how strong your power is." Then both threw a punch. Although Taiga was knocked hard to the ground, what Subaru didn't expect was that his blood armor shattered, and the cause wasn't external damage. Taiga didn't gain any advantage in this clash either. So he decided to use the Demon Lord's power, walking towards Subaru with an evil smile, emitting demonic energy. Just then, a golden flash blocked his path. Looking up, it was the world's top 3 gold badge heroes arriving. Seeing this, Taiga sneered. "Looks like I'm surrounded for the second time. But this time is different. I can cripple Sakura." All 3 gold badge heroes were provoked. Suddenly, in a flash of lightning, Taiga, who had been mocking, had his golden arm instantly cut off by Renji. Taiga's expression first showed terror. Then he suddenly laughed at Renji. "The #1 gold badge hero, this is the first time I've seen a dejected expression on your face." Renji was not just dejected, but filled with anger, because his closest gold badge team member, Sakura, was now seriously injured and unconscious. Just then, Taiga's wound expanded into a giant hand, smashing down toward Renji's head. Renji held her golden holy sword ready to counter. But at the moment of contact, the golden holy sword was corroded and dissipated. In the critical moment, a golden fist smashed the ground. Instantly, a golden wall shot up, blocking Taiga's attack for Renji. It was Udo who had urgently activated his second skill. Then apologized, "I'm ready to accept punishment of Hero Association." It turned out that because of the great power of Gold Badge Heroes' skills, they were only allowed to use their first skill outside Demon Gates. Meanwhile, Shikishima and Sayaka launched an attack. Instantly, dense gold and red energy shot toward Taiga, but all were swallowed by the emitting smoke. Even the indestructible golden wall collapsed and dissipated upon contact with the smoke. Faced with such bizarre smoke, everyone's expression became grave. Udo requested to use other skills, but was stopped by Renji, because that would involve more people in the battle and sacrifice, which was exactly what Taiga wanted. Just then, Shikishima suddenly remembered the doctor's words. Sakura's limbs had been instantly weathered. He suddenly realized something, his pupils dilating in shock. Facing everyone who dared not attack, Taiga mocked, "I will display your corpses to the world," then prepared to attack. Suddenly, Subaru rushed over from the side. Knowing the danger of the smoke, everyone was shocked, because that smoke was the power of time. But Subaru wasn't afraid at all. As if about to see Subaru's tragic end, Taiga couldn't help but smile with excitement. The next second, Subaru was covered by smoke. Shikishima anxiously shouted Subaru's name. Suddenly, a colorful fist broke through the smoke and hit Taiga's face hard. The powerful impact instantly sent Taiga flying, while Subaru was unharmed in the smoke, because he had converted magic power to cover his entire body with blood mold. Taiga's face was filled with disbelief. Subaru calmly said, "The me who was afraid of you is gone forever. As you wished, now you see my true power." Taiga was utterly furious, activating the power of demons, raising a series of dark gates. Instantly, 12 dark gates surrounded the 4 people, then released smoke that could weather everything. With a hideous expression, he shouted at Subaru, "Since the smoke doesn't work on you, I'll kill all your friends." Hearing this, Subaru recalled those painful memories. Then his heart began to beat violently. Instantly, his body erupted with intense, colorful energy, immediately attracting everyone's attention. Even Taiga was sweating profusely. Subaru coldly said, "You dare to harm my friends in front of me." The flames of hatred in Subaru's heart were ignited. The passive Blood Taker skill activated, increasing all skills' power by 30%. So the two rushed at each other. Taiga struck first with a palm. Subaru dodged with a sidestep, then counterattacked with a roundhouse kick. Taiga instinctively raised his hand to block, but he underestimated the power of this kick, which directly broke his arm. Taiga didn't even have a chance to scream. 2 blood whips shot out, tightly wrapping around Taiga's arm. Subaru followed closely behind. Taiga hurriedly released smoke to counterattack, but it was in vain. Subaru, enhanced by the flames of hatred, far surpassed Taiga in both speed and power. The next second, Taiga was kicked in the head, followed by another punch. Taiga couldn't react at all, his jaw was hit hard. His whole body was thrown into the air, but it wasn't over yet. Several blood whips followed, launching a fierce attack. After a while, Taiga, like a dead dog, was slammed hard to the ground. Shikishima quickly reminded, "Stop, we still need to ask this guy some questions." The flames of Subaru's hatred finally extinguished, but the dark gates and smoke hadn't disappeared. At Subaru's reminder, Sayaka's body erupted with blood mist. After a while, the smoke finally disappeared, and they escaped the predicament. Then a voice came from the dark gate. How unfortunate. Then a huge eye appeared in the gate. "You are indeed strong, able to see through my ability in such a short time." Shikishima coldly asked, What exactly is your purpose? The monster looked up. Making the sky clock return to 0 is my purpose. Then prophesied, you 3 gold badge heroes will soon be defeated by Taiga. Hearing this, Subaru firmly said, I will absolutely not let that happen. The monster teleported in front of Subaru. You're indeed the most interesting one, Avatar of Vanquish. Subaru was surprised that he knew Vanquish. Who are you? The monster's gaze sharpened. My name is Darkchild. I am the king of the Black Water. The Dark Lord within the Gate of Darkness claims he will destroy the world and become the god of a new world. Subaru, hearing this, firmly disagrees with such an outcome and throws a punch at the Gate of Darkness. However, the gate suddenly disappears. It transforms into smoke and teleports onto Taiga, about to engulf him. Seeing the danger, everyone quickly launches attacks. When the dust settles, they still couldn't prevent their escape. At this moment, Shikishima is extremely frustrated, because during the battle there were 2 enemies observing from the rooftop, and the power they possessed was no less than Taiga's. Because of this, he had to divide his attention to guard against them. Meanwhile, Taiga falls unconscious inside the Gate of Darkness. The Dark Lord laments that poor Taiga is still too weak, so he decides to reshape him to be stronger. At the same time, the Gate of Darkness welcomes a group of people seeking power. Some are even willing to sell their souls to become stronger. The Dark Lord is very excited about the arriving guests, extending several magical hands to transform them. Later, Subaru and others attend the funeral of the Hat Man. Seeing the once lovely sister now devoid of vitality, Subaru remains silent, secretly vowing to subdue the villains. However, from that time on, the Gate of Darkness no longer appears. Subaru states he will continue to eliminate more demon gates, to meet Vanquish as soon as possible, and quickly increase his power. At this moment, Shikishima suddenly announces, tomorrow you will team up with Renji for gate exploration. Our fighting styles are different, so I don't have much to teach you. And this is a good chance for Renji to teach you swordsmanship. The next day, Subaru arrives at the gate in the busy marketplace. He never expected to team up with his former idol for exploration. Subaru now has the expression of a fanboy. Just as the 3 are about to enter the gate, a voice comes from the side. It's a silver-ranked hero team. We've already reserved this gate. Renji hurriedly takes out a notebook to check, and after thinking for a moment, realizes they indeed made a mistake. Then they rush to their scheduled gate without delay. After entering the gate, Renji enthusiastically begins explaining, but gradually sinks into a swamp without realizing it. Soon his entire body disappears into it, leaving Subaru and the other panicking, not knowing what to do. Suddenly remembering Shikishima's warning, be careful with Renji, he's not perfect. And to make matters worse, a giant steel ant appears before the 2. Subaru hurriedly activates his skills to attack. At this moment, the swamp suddenly begins to boil. The swamp explodes and a beam of golden light shoots out, followed by a massive sword rising from the ground. The giant steel ant is instantly split in half. This scene almost makes even the experienced Subaru drop his jaw, worthy of a man standing at the top of the world, although he's a complete idiot in everything except combat. After the skill dissipates, Renji falls back into the swamp. Subaru can only use blood strings to pull him up. However, Subaru is shocked that his strength cannot pull up just one person. It turns out Renji used himself as bait and successfully slew a swamp monster. At this point, Subaru understands. Renji always puts himself at the front line to protect teammates when facing enemies. This is how a hero should be. Subaru becomes a fanboy again and hands over a towel, which was actually prepared by Shikishima in advance. A moment later, the 3 arrive at a hilltop. Renji activates his Hawkeye skill, magnifying his vision 100 times, and locates the boss's hiding place. The boss keenly senses the approaching enemies. A massive tree suddenly rises from the ground, a level 81 plant-type monster. The next second, the tree's eyes flash with light. Countless golden beams shoot out in all directions. Seeing this, Renji activates his Titan Blade skill. A tens of meters tall golden sword forms a shield in front of them. When the attack arrives, the giant sword shatters. The area around the tree explodes with thunderous booms. After a moment, the surroundings are filled with deep craters. But Subaru was prepared and flew up to avoid this powerful strike. Subaru is shocked, though this is only a 4-star gate boss. It's abnormally powerful, at least equivalent to a 5-star gate boss. At this moment, a sword suddenly appears in Renji's hand. He swings it forcefully toward the distant tree. The 100-meter-tall tree is split in half by this one slash. Renji calmly says, "Thanks to you, we defeated the monster instantly." Renji's powerful attacks continuously refresh Subaru's view of strength. It turns out Renji used his 6th skill, which can transform the blade into sword energy. Attacking anywhere within sight, extremely high risk but also high reward. As the final boss dissipates, a prompt appears, dungeon cleared successfully, please exit the gate promptly. Later, the group returns to the Hero Association. Renji apologizes, today I defeated all the bosses alone. Please don't tell Shikishima about the mistakes I made today. However, Subaru has already reported it. The next second, Shikishima appears behind them, filled with resentment, angrily dragging Renji away. But Renji is used to it and says to Subaru, Shice, I've already reserved a 5-star gate. See you tomorrow. Night falls. Subaru thinks about today's giant tree, so formidable despite being only 4-star, and tomorrow they'll be tackling a 5-star gate. Recalling Renji's battles today, he must learn something from it to become stronger. Meanwhile, inside the Gate of Darkness, the suited man asks how many heroes have been modified. The girl calmly replies, 20 already. Then the suited man says darkly, let the hunt begin. Overnight, multiple heroes are attacked and severely wounded. Only the strongest silver-ranked hero, Hizaki, remains unharmed, and kills the dark member who came to attack. This also puts Shikishima on high alert. At this time, the dark members begin reporting their status. K, the strongest after modification, has killed the silver champion. Ambitious, his next target is hunting gold-ranked heroes. Meanwhile, Subaru and Renji arrive at a 5-star gate next to a building. Waiting at the gate are members of the Reconnaissance Division, responsible for providing intelligence to improve survival rates. Subaru is very surprised, as this is the first time he's learned about the intelligence department. Then the lead member begins providing information. The world inside the gate is relatively small, only a garden and a palace. There are 2 thrones at the top of the palace. Renji instantly realizes they're likely to encounter 2 lords in this exploration. Subaru now feels uneasy. He has experienced the difficulty of dual lords before. If not for Sayaka's help in that battle, he might have perished. At this moment, Renji interrupts Subaru's daze. Renji is still as calm and confident as ever. Let's go. Looking at his idol's determined back, Subaru's anxious heart instantly calms down. Then several people enter the 5-star gate. Suddenly, the sound of a slash comes from behind. The next second, 2 intelligence members have fallen. The attacker is K, who killed the silver champion. The intelligence captain tries to fight back. But after a flash of blade light, he also falls. K quickly reports the news and states a dark gate will open in 10 minutes. The silver-haired man on the other end of the phone is actually Taiga after his transformation. Scene shifts to Subaru arriving in the world inside the gate. All he can see is a distant palace. The scene before him seems like a paradise on Earth. However, Renji becomes very alert, just as Sayaka locks the gate. The weather changes drastically with a storm hitting. Then 2 figures appear on the thrones. They are the level 89 Tempest Lord Delta and level 93 Thunder Lord Killam. At this point, the Tempest Lord raises his head and sniffs. He can smell the familiar scent of the Golden Knight. Then the Thunder Lord adds, there's also the hateful smell of the undead. But the next second they laugh, because now his aura is too weak. Then they summon rows of Thunder Rain Knights. Subaru feels a sense of unease, because every knight's aura is no weaker than the giant whale he slayed before. Facing unprecedented danger, Subaru shouts in the pouring rain, Sayaka, listen carefully. Don't be stingy with using my magic power. Because Subaru knows clearly that this enemy is unprecedentedly powerful. Sayaka lowers her head and responds, understood. So she spreads her 6 wings, surrounded by blood clusters. Renji has a solemn expression as he summons his golden sword. Facing the endless Thunder Rain Knights, Subaru summons his blood armor. His whole body bursts with intense, colorful energy, going all out to meet them. Renji's hand emits a golden flame. Then the ground beneath the soldiers lights up with a dazzling golden light. The next second, a towering giant sword rises from the ground, instantly throwing the knights into chaos. When the smoke clears, a considerable number of knights still survive. Renji frowns, not expecting their agility to be so high. The remaining knights continue charging forward, facing the knight at the front. A kick suddenly comes from the side, hitting its head. It's Subaru's full power kick. But the next second he's shocked. The knight wasn't knocked down. It grabs Subaru's foot and slams him hard onto the ground. Then a fist smashes into his chest. Subaru looks incredulous. How can a knight be stronger than the Ghoul Lord? But the Thunder Rain Knight gives Subaru no chance to counterattack, swinging another punch. In this critical moment, Subaru begins to fight back, first kicking it away, immediately rising and hitting it into the air. At this point, Subaru has awakened from his shock. I didn't come here to be a burden. He activates several blood spikes to bind it tightly, then leaps up fiercely. Blood Gimlet! The Thunder Rain Knight is instantly shattered by a huge blood spike. Although he successfully killed 1 soldier, it consumed a large amount of his condition. Before he can catch his breath, 4 Thunder Rain Knights surround him. Subaru summons the Mystic Piercer without hesitation, but the next second he's shocked again. The Thunder Rain Knights simultaneously activate a skill, Diamond Sword. Subaru is mentally shaken. They're so unfair. Seeing this, Renji becomes very worried. Seeing Renji's worried expression, Subaru instead loses his fear. He had thought about this question. No matter how much he admires Renji, he can never become like him. I don't need to become like that. I just need to use all my strength to fight, to continuously become stronger. Not just in level, but learning to control my feelings, that feeling of never giving up. To save friends, to fight enemies, to help others. To become stronger, I've been waiting for such a life-or-death battle. Subaru resolutely charges toward the Thunder Rain Knights, blocking the first knight's dual blades, continuing forward. blocking the second knight's slash, still moving forward. Being slashed by the third knight, yet continuing forward. Only one knight remains, just as he strikes. Subaru catches an opening. Blood spikes instantly entangle the knight's arm. A slash from behind kills the knight. Subaru, having used all his strength, is now at his limit. At this moment, a prompt appears. Your level has increased. His condition is instantly maxed out. Facing the knights charging again, Subaru leaps high, and with enough magic power, resolutely activates his skill, Double Piercer. Dozens of blood-colored sword energies furiously slam into the ground. After a moment, a panel pops up. You have killed the Thunder Rain Knight. Seeing this, the remaining Thunder Rain Knights are momentarily stunned, and Subaru has completed his transformation. At this point, Renji shows a relieved expression, glad he didn't help. Because Shikishima once said, don't help him until the last moment, and don't teach him anything. Because true strength is always born in desperate situations, and you just need to look cool strongest, sir. Renji closes his eyes and sighs. That guy really predicted it correctly. Now Subaru has a new calmness in his mind. He only uses sword techniques to attack enemies. The dual-blade knight's swordsmanship is equally strong, blocking the attack while slashing. Subaru first kicks the knight's arm, jumps to the top of the knight's head, concentrates energy at the tip of his blade. The Mystic Piercer cuts down hard, with both sword and man. This way he can use minimal magic power to defeat enemies with the highest defense. Renji finally understands Shikishima's good intentions, letting him realize it himself was right. After defeating the enemy before him, Subaru finally has time to check on Sayaka's situation. However, looking over, he's shocked by an extremely fast figure. Sayaka is using her six wings advantage to shuttle back and forth among the knights, slashing, and releasing blood clusters to stick to the knights. The next second they explode on the knights. When the smoke clears, the knights are completely unharmed. But this is within Sayaka's expectations. Her current strength isn't that powerful, but it's enough to hold the enemies for teammates. At this moment, a knight suddenly appears in front of her, about to slash Sayaka. But the next second, the knight is cut in two. It's Subaru who arrived in time. Seeing Sayaka unharmed, Subaru is very happy. Seeing this, Sayaka blushes, then lowers her head saying, "Don't worry about me, Mr. Subaru. Please take care of yourself too." Then both return to battle. At this point, Subaru and Renji meet up, as he finds leveling up has become difficult. Renji also notices this, initially thinking it was due to high levels. Looking at the palace ahead, Renji finally understands. This is a special terrain with only bosses, and the knights are just puppets they summoned. Subaru worriedly looks at Renji. Without leveling up, Renji will become more exhausted. However, Renji says, at least defeating knights can consume the boss's magic power, although their purpose is to make us reveal our trump cards. Seeing their plan exposed, the dual lords decide to appear. Renji is startled, finally they've come out, then hesitates whether to use Warp Edge, a skill that consumes 80% of magic power, but can instantly kill the giant tree. Looking at the powerful enemies, this move is very risky. But now is the only chance, mentally reciting his sixth skill. At this moment, the violent storm suddenly stops. Then blue sky and white clouds appear again, while Renji is still hesitating. The Tempest and Thunder Lords make a jump, instantly appearing behind Renji. However, the two lords disdain sneak attacks, calmly stating, "We just want a fair competition." The surrounding minions immediately stop fighting and kneel down. Renji is secretly shocked that this boss can actually speak. Not only can they control the weather, but also formulate battle strategies. Obviously not ordinary bosses. So he raises a long puzzling question. What exactly are the trial gates and demon gates? Why do you creatures from the netherworld come to our world? Hearing this, the Tempest Lord looks puzzled. Haven't you received information from Ludwig? Renji is very shocked. They even know about his spirit guide. Could they be existences closest to the core? But the next second, they actually intend to reveal the information they know. Subaru is shocked. Is it that easy to disclose the secrets of the world? Then the Thunder Lord clears his throat. Basically, the gates are... I'm sorry, this seems impossible. Subaru is confused. Why are these two talking intermittently? Could some secrets be restricted? But the next second, the tone changes completely. Anyway, let's fight. If you defeat us, you can get closer to the answer. Subaru begins to be on high alert. The dual lords at this time play rock, paper, scissors. After a moment, the Tempest Lord wins, points at Renji saying, "NL, fight the golden flashy one bent," then steps forward with an attack that arrives instantly. Renji swings several sword energies to counter. The two exchange dozens of moves in just a moment. This makes the Tempest Lord can't help but praise. It seems Ludwig chose a perfect successor. But this also makes him more excited, showing a ferocious expression, "Let's have some fun." Renji is also fully alert. The enemy before him is the strongest he's ever seen. The observing Subaru is shocked when the Thunder Lord teleports over, catching Subaru off guard and startling him. The Thunderlord is very unhappy. He doesn't want to fight the successor of the undead. Having to defeat him multiple times to kill him is really boring. Before Subaru can react, a violent energy shoots out from the Thunderlord's chest, instantly penetrating half the terrain. When the smoke clears, a deep pit has been shot into the ground. The Thunderlord slowly walks forward. Although I don't know who your master is, you're pitifully weak. Seeing this, Renji is distracted during the battle. And with this move, a hand suddenly presses on Renji's face. Then a thumb presses down hard. The Tempest Lord continues his attack. A fierce fist falls toward Renji. Renji hurriedly defends and retreats to create distance. At this moment, one of his eyes has been destroyed. On the other side, the Thunderlord picks up the Mystic Piercer, very curious. This sword wasn't struck by lightning, and I can feel the pressure from the sword. Don't tell me he is Vanquish's successor? At this moment, Sayaka suddenly appears. The Thunderlord calmly says, "If you interfere with a one-on-one battle, I will kill you." Sayaka is now very grieved because she can do nothing. She also knows Subaru would not agree to interfere. All she can do now is shout loudly for Subaru to get up. The Thunderlord says this is useless because his legs have been blown off. But the Thunderlord is immediately proven wrong. Subaru has regenerated his limbs and stands up again. Fortunately, he used semi-hardened blood to cover his entire body. Although he lost his limbs, he survived this fatal attack, though his health is down to the last point, and he still has to face the strongest boss ever. Subaru's fighting will is unusually firm. If I can defeat him, I can quickly become stronger. The Thunderlord is very disgusted by this regeneration behavior and plans to use his true power to annihilate him. Meanwhile, the battle between Renji and the Tempest Lord enters a white-hot phase. The Tempest Lord is very satisfied with his opponent. Even after losing one eye, his speed doesn't decrease. However, the careless Lord almost gets slashed, so he quickly kicks back and rapidly creates distance. Renji takes a deep breath and says, "Thank you for being so strong. If I defeat you, I can become stronger." So he activates his fifth skill, Imperial Glare, increasing all skills power by 200%. The Tempest Lord is excited. "Is this your trump card? I'm starting to look forward to it." Then the battle between the two erupts again. On the other side, Subaru is rapidly dodging among dense lightning, due to the lightning speed being too fast. Subaru must predict the lightning attacks while moving quickly without stopping. Otherwise, being hit once would turn him to ashes. Even the Thunder Rain Knights cannot escape the thunderstorm. Now Subaru doesn't have much time left. He must both avoid attacks and level up. So he changes direction toward a soldier. With lightning speed, he kills it. Then the prompt panel pops up. "You have killed a Thunder Rain Knight." His level also rises from 33 to 34. Instantly, Subaru's injuries heal. Then he summons blood armor to cover his entire body. Blood Gimlet. A sharp blood cone shoots toward the Thunderlord. The Thunderlord calmly raises his fist. The next second, a billion-volt golden lightning instantly disperses the approaching blood cone, then rushes toward Subaru. Subaru hurriedly leaps up to avoid it, but the lightning's speed is still too fast. His feet barely touch it before turning to ash. The Thunderlord lazily says, "Even if your power increased a little, do you think it makes any difference?" But Subaru's feet quickly regenerate, and he gathers dozens of blood arrows around him, with full force. They all shoot rapidly toward the Thunderlord. The Thunderlord mocks, "Teen, how pitiful. I finally understand why you were chosen by the undead. Obsessed with life and never giving up, in the end doing completely meaningless things." The next second, several lightning bolts fly out, completely evaporating all the approaching blood arrows. The Thunderlord looks contemptuous. Before unstoppable power, everything is meaningless. At this moment, Subaru's pet cat, Sushi, suddenly appears, quietly retrieving the Mystic Piercer. The proud Thunderlord is actually startled by the suddenly appearing cat. Then a thunderbolt strikes down hard. What the hell is this thing? But when the smoke clears, the crystal cat stands up again. This scene completely stuns the Thunderlord. Subaru hurriedly shouts, "Sushi, bring it to me." Sushi understands, and with a toss of its head, the Mystic Piercer instantly flies to Subaru's hand. Subaru feels he finally has a chance, but the next second his expression freezes. The Thunderlord teleports in front of him, then lightly points a finger, detaching Subaru's arm. But Subaru starts to laugh, because the massive Sushi has arrived. A giant paw smashes toward the Thunderlord. The Thunderlord reacts and kicks back. Thick currents instantly shatter Sushi. By now, Subaru's injuries have healed, raising the Mystic Piercer ready to strike. The Thunderlord hurriedly turns around, surprised their coordination is so tacit. But Subaru changes direction, diving rapidly downward. Upon landing, he raises the Mystic Piercer. Subaru must use all his magic power on one gamble, so he slashes fiercely around him. Waves of sword energy slash toward the surrounding knights. The next second, a series of kill notifications sound. His level rises from 34 to 35. With the new level up, Subaru's condition is maxed out. But at this moment, the Thunderlord flashes, instantly piercing Subaru's chest. The Thunderlord roars angrily, "Damn bastard, why won't you give up?" Hearing this, Subaru considers the answer. He thinks of those who bullied him, who called him worthless. Thinks of Sayaka's words, let's become strong together. Thinks of Sakura's words, from now on, what do you want to do? But what he wants most now is to see her again. Adventuring together was so much fun. Even if just to see her once. Even if she doesn't want to forgive me. I also want to say thank you to her. If there's a chance, I hope we can continue adventuring together. So I made this bet. Hearing this, the Thunderlord is completely confused. What is this guy talking about? It turns out Subaru recalled the original reason for exploring the Demon Gate. As long as he reaches level 35, the third Rainbow Gate might descend again. And he won the bet. The next second, colored mosaic begins to appear out of thin air. Instantly, a Rainbow Gate descends, appearing behind Subaru. The Thunderlord looks astonished. Vampire Elder Vanquish reveals himself. Get ready, kill him, because hurting my successor carries a heavy punishment. Seeing Subaru lying on the ground, barely alive. Vanquish praises. You did very well. This is your victory. So he shoots a blood string from his fingertip, wrapping Subaru up. Right under the Thunderlord's nose, carrying Subaru toward the gate. The Thunderlord barely contains his rage. I will never forget what you did to us. Then his body erupts with intense energy. It won't be so easy to leave. A violent, dazzling lightning pillar instantly shoots toward the gate. When the smoke clears, the world inside the gate has been shot with a fan-shaped deep pit. Then the Thunderlord steps in. Inside is a white desert, the Sea of Bone Ash. It's the familiar and detested Bone Ash Sea. Vanquish avoided the violent energy earlier and is restoring Subaru's injuries. And says, thank you for becoming stronger. I'm also beginning to recover my power. After a moment, Subaru's injuries are fully healed. Suddenly, a thunderclap sounds nearby. The Thunderlord's body dances with electric currents, angrily grinding his teeth at the two. Vanquish kindly reminds him, this is not your world. Leave. But the Thunderlord roars, my one-on-one battle isn't over yet. After I finish him, you're next. Vanquish shows an expression of looking at an idiot. Hen, you think I would listen to your nonsense? But if you want to defeat me in Subaru, I'll give you this chance. Then grabbing Subaru's shoulder, his body begins to merge with Subaru. This behavior shocks Subaru greatly. Vanquish smiles slightly, borrowing your body for a while. I'll teach you how to use blood mold. As soon as the fusion completes, a huge, colorful energy erupts. Vanquish is satisfied with this level 35 body. The Thunderlord looks contemptuous. You think you can defeat me with this weak body? Vanquish is very casual. This is enough. Don't forget, this is my world. The Thunderlord roars. If I could return to the Netherworld, I could. Before he finishes, a big slap instantly strikes. With just one slap, the Lord's head is sent flying. Vanquish's gaze is cold. You can never go back, because you'll die here. The caught-off-guard Thunderlord is furious to the extreme. The next second, just as his head regenerates back to his body, Vanquish swings another palm, hitting his chest hard. Several bloodstains remain on his body. Vanquish softly recites, Cursed Blood Vortex. The Thunderlord's entire body begins to twist. Under Vanquish's control, spinning at high speed, eventually compressed into a ball of flesh. The Thunderlord forcefully extends a foot, kicking Vanquish hard to break the control. The next second, free from control, he begins to counterattack. A lightning-charged kick is fiercely delivered, causing a deafening explosion. Then he summons lightning attacks. But they are all blocked by Vanquish using blood molds. At this point, the Thunderlord makes a sweeping flying kick. Vanquish catches the opening, blocking while his finger instantly points. The Thunderlord's abdomen is pierced with a large hole. Vanquish coldly laughs. Why aren't you moving? Come fight me. In the mental world, Subaru is sweating profusely. This is too strong. Looking at the pain-stricken Thunderlord, Subaru is very curious how he was injured. Because enemies with regeneration abilities shouldn't be injured until their magic is depleted. Vanquish explains, it's because of the curse. By applying curses in the blood, you can severely damage the opponent's soul. The Thunderlord now has bulging blue veins. Damn vampire, dare to underestimate me. Then his whole body erupts with towering lightning. Seeing this, Vanquish also begins to get serious. Then the battle erupts again. The two exchange fierce blows. However, with the blood curse enhancement, the Thunderlord gradually loses ground. Instantly his body is riddled with holes. The Thunderlord is very unwilling. If I were at full strength, it wouldn't be like this. Vanquish calmly says, you only have yourself to blame for not killing Subaru immediately. The moment the Rainbow Gate descended, you lost. And Subaru would do his utmost for victory. That's the difference between you. Then the Thunderlord, filled with unwillingness, begins to collapse, finally unable to regenerate, slowly dissipating. A prompt appears, you have killed the boss. Seeing Vanquish display terrifying power for the first time, Subaru is amazed and convinced. However, something unexpected happens. Lightning suddenly appears out of nowhere. Then the panel shows, boss is resurrected. Subaru is very shocked. What's happening? Vanquish's expression is calm as if he expected this. This is just leftovers. The Thunderlord, though resurrected, has only 5% health left. The newly resurrected Thunderlord angrily charges forward, but is pressed firmly to the ground with Vanquish's one finger. Suddenly Vanquish remembers an important matter. The trial inside this gate, pointing at the nearly dead Thunderlord, indicating this is the object of his trial. Hearing this, Subaru is immediately shocked. If he fought the Thunderlord himself, he would certainly risk his life to defeat him. But Vanquish's expression suddenly becomes serious. If you can't beat him even in this state, I won't need you anymore. And this time I won't intervene. You need to learn to ignite your hatred. Subaru looks confused because he has no reason to hate the Thunderlord. Vanquish explains, because you were once called scum, you hate being worthless. Not only do you not care about your own life at all, but you're always in danger because of others' safety, and you blame yourself for not being able to protect others. But these are all wrong thoughts. Don't blame yourself for being weak. Instead, hate your weakness. Hatred is not to keep you in the past, but to give you the power to move forward. So ignite the hatred and make yourself stronger. One day you will love yourself and gain true happiness. Hearing this, Subaru suddenly realizes, no longer afraid or worried. The skill One Who Loathes the Light has leveled up. The skill Cursed Blood activates. He walks firmly toward the Thunderlord. Sorry to keep you waiting, kill him. Let me borrow your life for a while. Facing the all-out Thunderlord, Subaru tightly grips the Mystic Piercer, on high alert. The next second, a violent explosion erupts. On the other side, Renji fights with increasing vigor. Another slash, severely wounding the Tempest Lord. So the Tempest Lord creates distance. Seeing this, Renji activates his second skill core edge, locking the Tempest Lord, pulling hard to drag him over. The advantage brought by the Imperial Glare skill is obvious, the price being extremely high magic consumption. Currently his magic can last at most 48 seconds, but the enemy still has 400,000 health. Renji doesn't have much time left, so Renji decides to go all out, activating his 7th skill Étoile, able to use other powerful knight skills. Then a flying dragon slash cuts out. The Tempest Lord is cut into pieces. Before the Tempest Lord can regenerate, Renji raises his sword and leaps high. Skill-piercing strike, slashing down hard. The Tempest Lord is hammered into the ground like a cannonball. At this point, the Tempest Lord is in a sorry state, feeling that Renji's swordsmanship now compared to before seems like a completely different person. Renji's eyes flash Skill Giant Beastbreaker. A rainbow-like sword energy slashes out. The Tempest Lord is instantly cut in two. Skill Double Flash, 2 sword energies pursue, cutting the Tempest Lord into pieces again. Renji's attacks come one after another, raising his golden holy sword. Skill Madbreaker. A tens of meters high golden sword shadow smashes down hard. The Tempest Lord's blood is depleted by continuous attacks. Unable to regenerate, his body gradually dissipates. The panel shows, you have defeated the boss. But defeating the boss didn't level him up. Renji's life and magic are also depleted, falling to the ground powerlessly. Looking towards Subaru's rainbow gate, it shatters the next moment. Renji is shocked. Did Subaru fail too? At this moment, the panel suddenly shows the boss's clone. Then the Tempest Lord appears again. He is now extremely angry, actually killed by a mere human. So he rushes toward Renji, determined to tear him to pieces. Renji is already unable to move, and at this life-threatening moment, a spatial rift appears in front of Renji. Then Subaru's figure emerges from the void, meeting the charging Tempest Lord. His clenched fist imbued with blood curse. Fists rain down like a storm. The Tempest Lord is beaten with screams of agony. After a moment, his body begins to collapse, slowly dissipating in space. Then Subaru turns his head. Let's go home, Mr. Hirasaka. Meanwhile, Taiga, who had fallen into darkness. Upon returning from the underworld, the first thing he did was kill his own stepfather with his own hands, while his mother remained indifferent to his transformation, coldly immersed in her own world, thinking only about how to spend and squander money. At this point, Taiga was completely consumed by murderous intent. Then a black smoke drifted toward his mother. Looking at his fallen mother, he raised a champagne glass. But Taiga's insanity didn't stop there. Next, he wanted to destroy the entire world. Meanwhile, Subaru sighed. He finally defeated the two lords, clearing the 5-star gate in just 22 minutes. And Renji, due to his level increase, had his negative status cleared, regaining his eyesight. At this moment, Renji was extremely grateful for Subaru's timely appearance. Otherwise, he really would have died this time. Then Subaru called out to Sayaka and Sushi. At this time, Sayaka and Sushi peeked out from the palace. She was happy that Subaru was safe and sound. Subaru was also overflowing with the joy of victory. Let's go home. Moments later, the three walked out from the gate, only to see someone already waiting outside. Udo congratulated them. 22 minutes, that's a new record. The blue-clothed man Ryuji was the top-ranked healer. The three were very surprised by the situation before them. Udo then pointed to the guy below him, saying, I received information about someone committing crimes. So I rushed over and subdued this guy. This guy is Taiga's subordinate, and he'll be taken back for questioning. Then he grabbed Renji. You need to come back too. Shikishima is waiting for you. The remaining two watched as everyone left. Then Subaru suddenly spoke. I found a way to see Sayaka. Afterward, the two came to the rooftop. At this point, Subaru had unlocked the level 35 skill, Prana Vapas, which could exchange the souls of a kin with their original owner, meaning Sayaka's soul was still in her body, just not fully recovered due to severe injuries. Sayaka's return was just a matter of time. Thinking about this, Subaru couldn't contain his excitement. His long-cherished wish was finally about to come true. So he jumped high and did 3 flips to celebrate. At this moment, he felt apologetic toward the Ghoul Lord, realizing that what he had said before was right. But what he still couldn't understand was where the present kin Sayaka's soul came from. Then Subaru stopped thinking about it, and took out the rewards for clearing the gate. They were earrings with thunder attributes and tempest attributes. However, he handed them to Sayaka. Sayaka was extremely flattered, while Subaru explained that the last battle made him realize he didn't have enough power to protect her. So he hoped Sayaka would accept them, and try them on now to see the effect. Then Sayaka calmed herself down, and carefully put on the earrings. Subaru honestly complimented, they look good. This comment made Sayaka blush and take off flying. Seeing Sayaka flying farther and farther away, Subaru's jaw dropped. How far can she fly? At this moment, the crystal cat was speechless, and angrily punched Subaru. Such a dense master, even the cat couldn't stand it. The next day, Subaru unexpectedly learned of his parents' death from the news. At this moment, he was completely dazed. Upon hearing this terrible news, Subaru returned to his former home. The house had already been reduced to ruins. Nearby, Udo was checking the condition of the deceased. From the injuries, the killer was clearly Taiga. Who would have thought he would be so heartless? Shikishima came behind the silent Subaru. You don't have to force yourself to come to the scene. But Subaru calmly said, there's nothing to be sad about. I can't recall memories of my father and mother anymore. What I want to know more is what Taiga is thinking now. On the other side, Taiga arrived at the Hero Association headquarters, walking straight toward the entrance. By now, news about Taiga had spread throughout the Hero Association. Taiga slowly approached the reception desk. The receptionist still greeted him warmly. However, at this moment, Taiga began to release smoke. People were completely unaware of the approaching danger. At this time, outside the Hero Association, everything was joyful and peaceful. Just as a magician was about to perform his next trick, the Hero Association building suddenly collapsed behind him. Everyone was shocked by this sudden event. Sounds of collapse and screams filled the air. Only one figure slowly walked out from the ruins. Taiga, who had gained immense power, now felt incredibly empty and lonely. Moments later, Renji and others received the news. This attack had caused casualties to 200 heroes. Hearing this, a nameless rage burned within Renji. The clear-headed Shikishima quickly relayed orders to the branch. Don't stop exploring the gates of hell. We absolutely cannot let the sky clock reach 0. Shikishima began to regret letting Subaru go home alone, because he might be the next target. Suddenly, a strange phone call came in, and Shikishima immediately guessed it was from a member of the Dark Forces. The suited man on the other end taunted, Karsten, do you like our declaration of war? Hearing this, Renji's body burned with raging anger. But the suited man became even more arrogant, stating that they would attack the other 6 association branches. Renji could no longer sit still and went straight to the car roof. Before Udo could stop him, Renji flew away at high speed. Shikishima said there was no need to stop him, let him go to reduce more casualties. At this point, Shikishima laid down harsh words. You're the one who was monitoring us on the rooftop, right? Don't let me find you, or I'll fill your body with holes. The suited man wasn't worried at all. Come if you dare. At this time, Shikishima also guessed the purpose of the Dark Forces, which was to destroy the Sky Clock. And Taiga had the ability to accelerate time. Now the Sky Clock had 870 days remaining, and destroying the 5-star gates of hell was the most effective way to deduct time. So he quickly notified other heroes to monitor the remaining 5-star gates, and dispatched the Gold Badge team to track Taiga's movements. Meanwhile, in a certain building, the Dark member, the black-robed girl Yumeno, didn't understand why they declared war when they could have launched a surprise attack. But Kohei was looking forward to such an open battle. On the other side, 3 Dark members found Subaru, led by Kei, who had escaped from the association headquarters, stating he wanted a one-on-one battle. But Subaru calmly stood up and said, all 3 of you come at once, that way none of you will escape. Hearing this, the bald guy got angry. Touch, how dare you look down on us? So he immediately activated his skill, Obsidian Guardian. In an instant, his body was covered with a layer of stone armor. He leaped fiercely toward Subaru. The next second, Subaru swung a punch to counter. Upon contact, the stone armor was covered with blood marks, followed by another punch that sent the bald guy flying, shattering the stone armor. The bald guy lost consciousness without knowing what had happened, but Kei saw it clearly. He's actually attacking from inside with blood. Far from being afraid, Kei was extremely excited. His body burst with intense energy, Leaping and slashing rapidly, Subaru ducked, easily avoiding the attack. Just as Subaru relaxed his guard, Kei suddenly turned and slashed down with both blades. In the critical moment, Subaru hurriedly retreated, narrowly escaping. As the smoke cleared, the floor had a huge hole cut into it by the strike. Subaru hadn't expected that Kei could attach black smoke to his blades. Seeing this, the blonde guy asked, "Do you need my help?" But Kei confidently refused, to watch me defeat him with style. Subaru was very confused about the purpose of all this. As he spoke, Kei slashed again, and Subaru quickly raised his shield to block. At this point, Kei responded, "And 'cause it makes no difference. As the leader of a team, I alone am enough to handle this. And I will prove that I can defeat the strongest hero, Renji. Because that's my dream." Hearing this, Subaru was baffled. Isn't it about breaking the sky clock and destroying the world? Does he think he's a comic book hero? But Subaru had another question. Then why did you attack those 3 people in front of the 5-star gate? Kei scoffed. That was their own fault, for being weak and leaving the battle front line. As soon as he finished speaking, a punch hit him unexpectedly in the face. Kei's body flew backward, only stopping when he hit the railing. Now Kei was shocked. His punch speed was much faster than before. What he didn't know was that this very statement had enraged Subaru. How dare you insult those who work hard to protect the world? So he activated his skill, one who loathes the light. You should die for your selfish dream. Hearing this, Kei became furious, his body also erupting with intense aura. Just as Subaru was about to launch an attack, the blonde guy suddenly appeared and kicked Kei away. Kei was knocked unconscious by this kick. Subaru was very surprised by what had happened. So he asked, "Are you going to be my next opponent?" However, the blonde guy said, Let's end this battle here. Actually, I have another identity. I'm Shikishima's subordinate, sent to infiltrate the dark forces as an undercover agent. I came here to tell you the locations of the 6 5-star gates. Meanwhile, other heroes monitoring the 5-star gates were also encountering members of the dark forces. Taiga arrived in front of one of the gates. However, Shikishima had been waiting there for a long time. What a rare treat. I hit the jackpot by chance. Looks like I'll have to go all out today. Taiga coldly responded. Shikishima, I guess you'll be the first to die. But Shikishima sneered. I told you not to underestimate me too much. Then he unleashed his 5th skill, Meteor Shower. A sky full of blue flames shot down rapidly. Facing the rapidly approaching meteor shower, Taiga showed no expression. With just a few jumps and dodges, he avoided the dense attacks. Seeing Shikishima's all-out attack, Taiga recalled that painful memory. It turned out that 3 years ago, Shikishima was the first person to suspect him. Because Taiga's gate was stolen from others, his leveling was abnormally slow. Even at level 20, his second gate still hadn't appeared. While the simple-minded Renji said, and some people don't get their second gate until level 30, so you shouldn't be too suspicious of him. But Shikishima said, Senai don't want to spoil the atmosphere either, but his situation really fits too well. However, these conversations were all overheard by Taiga. Shikishima's next proposal made Taiga break out in a cold sweat. Shikishima actually wanted to use a lie detection skill to test him. Feeling his life threatened, Taiga secretly vowed to kill Shikishima someday. Who would have thought that this once foolish wish could now be fulfilled? So Taiga's body began to emit a burst of smoke. Then he disappeared in the smoke. When he appeared again, he was behind Shikishima. This greatly surprised Shikishima. This guy's speed is so fast. However, he immediately denied this thought, because Shikishima had the skill of X-ray vision, able to sense enemy positions within 1 kilometer. This guy must be using some method to teleport instantly. Facing the rapidly approaching fist, Shikishima remained very calm. I've already told you, don't underestimate me too much. Then a dazzling white light appeared behind him. The next second, a violent explosion sounded. Although this attack didn't kill Taiga, Shikishima now knew his skill. He could only teleport within the smoke. And he sensed that Taiga was only around level 50. While he was already at level 83, Taiga was no match for him. Suddenly, a violent explosion erupted behind Shikishima. Taiga slowly said, When you all went to defend the 5-star gates, we destroyed all the 4-star gates. Now 200 underworld creatures have been released. And you've lost a large number of heroes. Because you didn't anticipate our actions. So, what do you plan to do about all this? Shikishima looked at this scene in disbelief. To go to such lengths, are you really Taiga? But Taiga said, the old Taiga is already dead. Now only his wish remains in his consciousness. That is to take revenge on the world that didn't love him. Hearing this, Shikishima finally understood. All the fear, pride, boldness, and madness that once existed in Taiga had disappeared. This also meant that he had the potential to kill gold badge heroes. Nevertheless, he couldn't tolerate Taiga's recklessness, so he activated his 6th skill, Moths to Flame. To protect the city, I must kill you. At this moment, Taiga coldly said, I will mourn your death. So both sides rushed at each other simultaneously. At the moment of contact, 2 energy beams, 1 blue and 1 purple, shot skyward. At this time, in another corner of the city, The suited man also encountered a gold badge hero. And an hour ago in the underworld, the suited man had bid farewell to his wife and children, and said he would be back before dinner. However, after the dark gate closed, the demon lord made strange noises. It turned out that the suited man's family had already died, and were only revived using the demon lord's power. And now, beside the 5-star gate of hell, Renji went full power and slashed a monster with one strike, and coldly said to the suited man in front of him, "Put down your weapon and surrender while I'm still calm." Faced with the world's #1 gold badge hero, the suited man was very calm. "I'm sorry, but I also have my mission." This statement successfully angered Renji, so he raised his golden holy sword and slashed rapidly. However, the suited man remained composed, casually swinging his hammer. The space above Renji instantly shattered. A heavy strike came crashing down through the void, slamming Renji hard into the ground. This was the suited man's first skill, which could cut through space to launch attacks. This strange attack made Renji cautious. Although Renji was not good at understanding complex things, he could clearly feel that this attack method was very similar to his 6th skill. Since that was the case, Renji decided to attack before he could swing his sickle, so he instantly increased his speed to the limit and rushed toward the suited man. At this moment, a mark suddenly appeared out of nowhere. Renji, upon touching the mark, found his body unable to move. Taking advantage of this interval, an attack came crashing down through the void again. Unable to dodge, Renji was knocked to the ground. This was the suited man's 2nd skill. Anyone who touched the mark would be frozen for 1 second. And what Renji didn't know was that the suited man had already filled the surroundings with marks. Renji, refusing to give up, launched another charge, but his body touched a mark again. Whenever Renji was frozen by a mark, the suited man would launch an attack, and this was why the suited man was so confident, because he knew Renji would choose to break through head-on. So Renji decided to change his strategy. He released 3 flying swords rushing out, but they hit marks and were instantly frozen. At the same time, a void attack came from the side again. At this moment, Renji felt helpless for the first time, but this also made him even angrier. Having such powerful strength, why not use it to protect the world? However, the suited man suddenly became fierce. "And what are you protecting the world for? For the many strangers who died? Or for the job of being a hero? Is your anger really directed at me? Answer me." Angry void attacks fell from the sky again, knocking Renji to the ground. At this time, the suited man was shrouded in a shadow. It turned out that the suited man once had a happy family, but his family was cruelly killed by an underage hero who couldn't be convicted due to being a minor. The poor suited man thus completely sank into darkness, until one day the demon lord appeared before him, saying he could help him resurrect his family. In exchange, he would help the demon lord destroy the world. So the man unhesitatingly fell into darkness. And Renji also recalled that case. He deeply sympathized with the suited man's experience. He immediately fell silent, allowing the suited man's attacks to rain down fiercely. The suited man despised Renji's behavior, while Renji still held his golden holy sword motionless. So the suited man roared, "Do you really want to be killed like this? Then I'll grant your wish right away, and kill your companions along with you." Renji finally closed his eyes in resignation. The next second, the roaring suited man was struck by a powerful golden sword energy. This was Renji's most powerful skill, the 6th skill, Warp Edge. However, the defeated suited man looked relieved, because he had finally depleted Renji's magic power, completing his mission. At this moment, Renji, having defeated his enemy, felt no joy, but rather an inexplicable sadness welling up, because he could sense emotions from his opponent's attacks. With each attack, he could feel the man's sorrow. Now he finally understood the suited man's words. He indeed wasn't so great as to fight for the world. He just wanted to protect his friends. So this was also the reason why he absolutely couldn't give up. But for the suited man, all he did was just to see his family. The suited man was at peace before his death. "I lost this time, you should go." Renji finally couldn't contain his anger. The damned demon lord was exploiting his enemy's weaknesses. Meanwhile, Subaru encountered the caped woman, according to the information provided by the blonde guy. The dark member's skills were related to time and space, and could be used together with their original skills. At this time, the caped woman released silver energy, then transformed into a spectacled orange cat. Then, with the enhancement of spatial skills, she expanded into an enormous creature. However, just as she was about to pounce on Subaru, an even larger cat paw slammed down hard. It was Crystal Cat Sushi who intervened, killing her with just one strike. Then Sushi lazily yawned. This enemy was too weak for it. At this time, Subaru contacted Sayaka. Sayaka, with her powerful strength, had successfully cleared an area of monsters, and said she would be able to meet him soon. However, the moment she hung up the phone, her heart suddenly began to beat anxiously. In another battlefield, Sayaka's 2 sisters encountered the black-robed girl. Elder sister Hazuki began to release the Dragon King's power. The next second, she activated her skill Dragon Fall. A powerful shockwave crashed toward the black-robed girl. Looking at the ground that had turned to ruins, they thought such an attack would surely kill the opponent. But when the smoke cleared, the black-robed girl was surprisingly unharmed. The prepared younger sister Mizuho suddenly appeared, swinging her giant scythe rapidly toward the black-robed girl. However, just as it was about to strike, the black-robed girl's figure disappeared on the spot. Just as the younger sister was puzzled, she suddenly reappeared and delivered a fierce kick. The younger sister was shocked by this strange skill. How did she do that? This was the black-robed girl's special skill, Existence Blink. When blinking, she could make herself disappear from the world. At this time, the older sister rushed over to help, but disappeared again at the moment of approach. Before the older sister could notice, a foot came from the side. The older sister was kicked hard and sent flying. However, just as the older sister landed and stabilized herself, a series of attacks came one after another. Unable to withstand it, the older sister was finally knocked down. But at this time, the black-robed girl was unusually excited, only because she recognized that the two sisters in front of her were social media celebrities, with tens of times more followers than her on social media. But now they were being tortured and killed by her. Thinking about this, her expression gradually became perverted. At this moment, Sayaka suddenly teleported behind her, accompanied by a murmur, "I promise I only need 3 minutes." Then a prompt appeared, soul conversion beginning. It turned out that real Sayaka's soul had taken control of the body. The black-robed girl had just reacted, when she took a solid punch. The black-robed girl, sent flying, was very shocked. How did I suddenly get hit? It turned out that Sayaka had just used Death Fist. The two sisters were also shocked. Sayaka had been resurrected, and Sayaka was still as lively as before, greeting the sisters. "Although I can only come back for a while, leave it to me now," feeling this long-missed real world, and her most important family in front of her. Sayaka was extremely happy at this moment. While the black-robed girl had her teeth knocked out by a heavy punch, she was now extremely angry and roaring. But Sayaka didn't tolerate her, directly punching her in the face. "I'm the one who should be angry. How dare you bully my family?" Subaru, connected to Sayaka's soul, felt a strange familiar feeling. Could it be that Sayaka has returned? While on Sayaka's side, the battle was one-sided. The black-robed girl had no way to fight back. Realizing something was wrong, she wanted to escape quickly. But when she tried to use her blink skill, an error warning appeared. Unable to use skill due to excessive space impurities in the surroundings. The black-robed girl was completely panicked. What's going on? Looking around, she was surrounded by red mist. This was Sayaka's blood mold skill. Seeing this, the black-robed girl decided to fight to the death. But in Sayaka's eyes, her strength was terribly weak. Because without her skill, the black-robed girl's combat skills were completely useless. The watching sisters were amazed. Sayaka's strength had become so powerful. The older sister couldn't help but recall the past. Back then, Sayaka was very weak, and the older sister, in order to challenge the limits, decided to temporarily kick Sayaka out of the team. When she became stronger, they would team up again, but the strong-willed Sayaka felt she had become a burden. So she made up her mind, when I become stronger, it will be too late to invite me to join the team. At this moment, the older sister finally understood Sayaka's feelings. She shouted loudly, Let's cheer for her together. Sayaka, you're the best." Hearing the sudden encouragement, Sayaka's fighting spirit became even stronger. The black-robed girl was very confused. Wasn't their relationship bad? How could this be? This also reminded the black-robed girl of her childhood, when her sister became the family's focus due to her cute appearance, while she suffered neglect from the whole family, even though they wore the same clothes and said the same things. The treatment was worlds apart, even facing malicious abuse from netizens. So the seed of extreme hatred began to be planted. She didn't understand why it was like this. Until one day the Demon Lord gave the answer, if someone is above you, then drag her down. So after gaining the Demon Lord's power, she personally dealt with her own sister. At that time, she only felt immense satisfaction. But now that feeling of disgust came back, only because the person in front of her had power over her. So anger rushed forth, you should be beneath me. However, Sayaka wouldn't tolerate her, dodging to the side, then delivering a punch that slammed her down hard. Breaking free from the red mist range, the black-robed girl went completely crazy. Then I'll at least hurt what you cherish most. Then the black-robed girl disappeared on the spot, reappearing in front of the younger sister, excitedly slashing with a claw, just when she thought she had succeeded. The smug expression on her face froze. It was actually a blood mold that blocked the attack. It was Sayaka's timely rescue. At this time, Sayaka was angry to the extreme, releasing lightning. I don't know what nonsense you're babbling about, but you dare touch my family? Then die. Then a huge fist slammed down hard. The violent explosion was deafening. When the smoke cleared, the black-robed girl was finally defeated. And Sayaka's sisters, protected by the blood mold, were ultimately safe and sound. The older sister stared at the scene in a daze. Sayaka had finally grown up, not only defeating a strong enemy but also protecting them. At this moment, Sayaka returned to her former liveliness, making a victory sign to her sisters. But before she could finish celebrating, the next second she suddenly spat blood. Sayaka reminded, time is running out, we must quickly convert souls. So Sayaka, after thanking them, began to say goodbye to her sisters. I must go to sleep now. But the sisters were very anxious. Sleep? Does that mean you're going to disappear? Seeing their concern, Sayaka quickly explained, we'll meet again soon. After that, we'll team up again. But just at this moment, a figure rapidly flew down from the sky. Subaru, since sensing Sayaka's soul, had rushed over without stopping. Seeing the long-missed Subaru, Sayaka was also stunned, recalling all those memories. She couldn't help but shed tears. But before Subaru could arrive, Sayaka's soul was gradually collapsing. Thank you for taking care of my body, but I have to go now. There's one more thing, please help me tell him. As soon as she finished speaking, Sayaka's soul instantly returned, opening her eyes to see the anxious Subaru. Hearing Sayaka respectfully address him as Lord Subaru, Subaru immediately sighed, is Sayaka still here? To prevent the wound from worsening, Sayaka has gone back. And she left a message, she's waiting for you at the red table. Hearing this, Subaru finally breathed a sigh of relief. Just then, a roar startled Subaru. Sayaka's older sister strode over. Subaru thought she was going to settle scores with him. But unexpectedly, the sister grabbed Subaru. Emotionally with tears in her eyes, thank you for letting us see Sayaka. Meanwhile, the younger sister also expressed her apologies. Subaru was moved to the point of tears. But the next second, the two sisters were full of fighting spirit. Now there are still underworld creatures waiting to be eliminated. We're leaving first. Watching the two leave, Subaru recalled the Conqueror's words, becoming truly happy. Although he hadn't found the answer yet. But as long as he stayed with everyone, it would be fine. So his gaze became determined again. Let's go. Many people are waiting for us. The scene shifts. Sayaka arrives in a white desert. A figure slowly walks out. I watched your battle. Sayaka displays a proud expression. Wasn't my performance perfect? And opposite her is the serious-faced ghoul lord. Your performance only gets 13 points. Hearing this, another voice objects it should be at least 30 points. Another voice is very angry. Using my power but taking 3 minutes, 0 points. The ghoul lord mocks, don't interfere with others' education, you two freeloaders. Then he says to Sayaka, let's continue training. Meanwhile, a violent explosion sounds. Taiga emerges unharmed from the explosion, then his form, aided by smoke, teleports behind Shikishima. Just as he's about to attack, Shikishima turns his head and coldly says, this is meaningless. Several blue moths appear in front of Taiga, instantly causing a violent explosion. This is Shikishima's 6th skill, Moths to Flame, which can summon fire moths that track targets. After several explosions, Taiga clearly feels his smoke diminishing. He has to admit the strength of Shikishima, who has been a gold badge hero for 8 years, just as Taiga was hesitating whether to use his trump card. A familiar voice rang out. 5th skill, Imperial Glare. Taiga turned to look. It was Renji who had arrived on the battlefield. With Renji's rapid arrival, it now formed a 2-against-1 situation. Taiga hadn't expected the suited man to be so easily defeated, with Renji defeating him so quickly. But facing the top 2 human combat powers, Taiga wasn't worried at all. A purple electric current surged from within him. He softly muttered, Black Gate. A dark gate descended beside Shikishima. Seeing this, Shikishima quickly leaped up, but the next second, several tentacles rushed out from the gate toward Shikishima. Shikishima was immediately tightly bound by the tentacles. So Shikishima quickly tried to activate his 3rd skill, Ephemeral Flare. However, Shikishima was shocked to find that he couldn't release the skill. Could it be because of these arms? Shikishima thought to himself, tennis is bad. Seeing this, Renji was also stunned. This was completely within Taiga's expectations. This was the weakness of gold badge heroes, due to their own powerful strength. They had absolute trust in each other. So when judging whether to support, there would be an inevitable delay. Then Taiga raised his blade and walked toward Shikishima. At this moment, Renji faced a difficult choice. Kill Taiga to end this battle, or save Shikishima, who was on the brink of death. Just as Taiga raised his hand, Renji erupted with his strongest energy, rushing down rapidly. The next step, the tentacles on Shikishima were cut by dozens of golden sword energies. In the end, Renji chose to save his companion. The rescued Shikishima looked back. A bloody mark appeared on Renji's body. Shikishima's pupils contracted violently. It turned out that the price Renji paid to save his teammate was his own life. At this moment, the fallen Renji looked relieved. Seeing this, Shikishima shouted loudly for Renji, recalling their first meeting. Renji was actually a disaster in daily life, which made Shikishima feel very helpless. But during the exploration of the gates of hell, Renji sincerely helped and cared, finally opening Shikishima's heart. And as they fought side by side, the friendship between companions deepened. For this, Shikishima decided to establish an intelligence department, to scout the gates of hell in advance to reduce hero casualties. Sakura immediately saw through Shikishima's thoughts. It turned out that Shikishima was the person who valued friendship the most, and Shikishima also expressed his wish. hoping that when all the gates of hell disappeared, everyone could laugh it off and finally disband. But now this wish was finally shattered. Looking at Renji who died in front of him, Shikishima was grief-stricken. While Taiga calmly spoke, "Congratulations, Shikishima, you are Renji's true friend." Hearing this, Shikishima was furious to the extreme. "No matter what, I will kill you." But Shikishima was no longer able to fight. Just as Taiga was about to end it all, a blood-colored spike descended from the sky, blood mold gimlet. A strong impact instantly crashed down, raising a cloud of dust from the ground. As the smoke cleared, Shikishima saw who had arrived. It was Subaru who had arrived just in time. Then he began to ask Subaru for help. Subaru took a deep breath. "Don't worry, Shikishima, I won't let Renji disappear." Then Subaru's hand gathered red light. Parivara, a skill of reincarnation of the dead. A surge of energy envelops Renji. At this moment, Shikishima finally remembers. The first time he discovered Subaru, he'd already completed 2 trials and successfully revived a hero. Shikishima is shocked. Could this be Subaru's ability? Then Subaru says with determination, "I'm sorry, Shikishima, although I can't bring Renji back yet. I will temporarily protect his body until the day Renji truly returns." Now Renji's body begins to automatically realign, then reconnected by a mysterious energy. Suddenly the ground beneath Renji violently explodes. A powerful green light shoots skyward. Renji lets out strange, maniacal laughter. "So this is the human world? Not bad," feeling the powerful flow of energy in this body. The voice grows increasingly excited. "This is actually a top-tier vessel. Excellent." Subaru has a bad feeling. This familiar voice, why did it have to be him? The soul that transferred turns out to be the Ghoul Lord, one of the 6 undead kings under Vanquish's command, master of the 2nd Rainbow Gate trial. Due to Subaru's growing power, the Ghoul Lord has regained considerable strength. Seeing this, Taiga summons 6 doors of darkness. "Go, destroy these noisy things." Countless tentacles surge from the doors, all rushing toward the Ghoul Lord Carrion. Carrion immediately recognizes these withered tentacles. So it's that shriveled old woman, merely a demon lord's nanny. Then raising his hand, he softly utters, "Blood mold, emerald phase blood." An energy vortex gathers at his head. "Challenging me? You're a billion years too early." Then he violently swings his fist down. A dense rain of energy instantly falls. Under the energy rain, the tentacles are as fragile as paper. The injured tentacle monster wails from behind the door. Hearing this, Carrion discovers the tentacle monster's position, "So that's where you are." Instantly forming scissors in his hand, tastes these scissors. With full force he throws them. The high-speed rotating scissors transform into a cold flash flying toward the door. The massive tentacle monster behind the door is split in half by this strike. The 2 onlookers are shocked by this sight. But Subaru remains calm. "Well done, Carrion." Meanwhile, Taiga approaches, emanating dark energy. "It seems you're my next opponent." But Carrion looks confused. "Want to fight me?" "No way. Master Subaru hasn't given that order." "I understand, then I'll kill Shikishima first." "You still don't get it? Your real opponent is standing right in front of you. Haven't you noticed? You've been avoiding Subaru the whole time." Hearing this, Taiga freezes, while Carrion urges, "Hurry up and resolve this. My master has many things to do, unlike you who has nothing to do." Taiga's true thoughts were not about avoiding Subaru, but preventing anyone from interfering with their duel. Because when young Taiga first met his half-brother Subaru, that feeling of fear left a lifelong impression. Even reborn, that feeling remains engraved in his heart. So Taiga seems to make some determination. "Fine, come with me," instantly opening a dark door from the ground. Seeing this, Shikishima quickly tries to stop Subaru. "Don't go in, you'll die." But Carrion shows no concern, instead encouraging Subaru. "Go do what you need to do, I'll handle things here." This is exactly the moment Subaru was waiting for. So he calls out to Sushi, and under Shikishima's shocked gaze, decisively jumps into the dark door. "I'll be gone for a while." Feeling the moment of destiny arriving, Subaru recalls Blonde Guy's words, "What did Taiga do to you in the past?" But Subaru now has only one answer, which is to completely end this relationship. Only then can he move forward. Subaru enters deep into the Demon Lord's space, looking at the massive Demon Lord. Subaru remains composed. Finally we meet Dark Child. At this point, Taiga says, "Dark Child, don't interfere. Of course, the contract condition you signed is to kill Subaru with your own hands. The door's contract won't be broken. Feel free to handle this." After saying this, the Demon Lord secretly gets excited. "The door's contract can't control me. Once Taiga is defeated, I'll step in." Although Renji's soul transfer was unexpected, once Subaru dies, his soulkin will die too. After that, the human world will belong to me. Scene change, Carrion flies with Shikishima to the next location. Shikishima shouts at Carrion, "It's too dangerous for Subaru alone. Why didn't you stop him?" "Don't worry, he already has a strategy." Hearing this, Shikishima is puzzled. When did he make a strategy? Just then, an alert pops up. 5-star demon door time reset to 0. Remaining time for demon doors, 8,000 hours. Punishment, deduction of sky clock time. Seeing this, Shikishima's eyes widen in shock. Then the sky clock time rapidly decreases. After a moment, only 2 days remain on the sky clock, and it begins showing signs of breaking. Shikishima breaks into a cold sweat. This means that now, if just one demon door is destroyed, the apocalypse will arrive. Suddenly Carrion chops the dazed Shikishima with his one hand. Calm down, you idiot. If Renji is so important to you, then desperately protect what he cherishes. Hearing this, Shikishima is momentarily stunned. Then his mind immediately clears. Now take me to the hospital right away. But when Shikishima arrives at the hospital, he finds Sakura's bed empty. Shikishima's temper flares. Where did that woman go at such a critical time? Meanwhile, somewhere in the city, Black Hero Kohei is now bruised and swollen. Before him stands the composed gold-ranked hero Udo. Clearly Kohei's injuries are from Udo. Then the unsatisfied Kohei raises his fist to attack again. But in the next second, he's sent flying. Udo had activated his skill Golden Wall from a distance. Kohei can't understand how a supposedly defensive hero could be so powerful. What he doesn't know is that Udo doesn't worry about his offensive ability, always believing the strongest shield is the strongest attack. Finally, Udo easily ends the fight, then receives a call from Shikishima, asking where Sakura has gone. Hearing this, Udo looks up, only to see Sakura activating her second skill. Her hands and feet instantly replaced by golden chains. Then her legs emit a dazzling golden light, 68-pound carronade. The monster before her is instantly blasted by this attack. Then Udo speaks. Sakura you mentioned is fighting, wasn't she severely injured? But Sakura responds, I don't believe any hero could sleep under a sky like this. So do you know what we need to do now? Udo affirms this. Now we have only one choice. The answer is obvious, accelerate clearing the demon doors. Because our duty is to protect the world. So Shikishima immediately notifies all heroes. No matter how many demon doors there are, they must be conquered to recover lost time. Sakura is now full of fighting spirit, been lying in bed too long, finally can move. At this point, Shikishima suddenly stops Carrion. Are we really not worried about Subaru? Hearing this, Carrion laughs. Then, with determined eyes, if he can't do it, then no one can. But in the Demon Lord's space, colorful mosaics suddenly appear. The Demon Lord's eyes show disbelief. How is this possible? The Vampire Elder instantly appears in the Demon Lord's space. Vanquish looks excited. I heard there's a bad child here, so I came. Taiga looks at Vanquish and mutters, so this is the Master of the Rainbow Gate? But his thoughts are interrupted by Subaru. Taiga, look at me. Your smoke and my blood can cancel each other out, so let's use the most primitive way of fighting. Get ready, this is our last battle as brothers. The Demon Lord is very surprised that Vanquish successfully entered his world. How did you appear in this world? Vanquish calmly says, well done, Subaru. You accurately told me the coordinates of this world. The Demon Lord turns to look. With a shocked expression, it was you. You caused this situation? But Subaru chooses to ignore him. This instantly enrages the Demon Lord. Look at me, human. The next second, a cold voice sounds, you're the one who should be looking at me. In an instant, the Demon Lord is tightly bound by blood strings. Vanquish has cast Cursed Blood. Don't overthink it because you're just a stupid fool, nothing more. Hearing this, the Demon Lord is stunned. You call me a fool? Do you really think you've won? At this point, the Demon Lord's tightly closed right eye suddenly opens, revealing a four-pupiled eye. Even an immortal god like you cannot defeat me in my world. The Demon Lord instantly activates his ability, Victory of Death. A thick black smoke surges toward Vanquish. The next second, it completely engulfs Vanquish. This sight surprises Taiga, because it's his first time seeing the Demon Lord so angry. And the one causing this situation is actually Subaru. That former weakling has now become the confident and powerful rainbow hero. Suddenly Subaru speaks, are you ready? Do you really think you can defeat me barehanded? The next second, Taiga's arm suddenly transforms into a sharp blade, then fiercely swings toward Subaru. Subaru dodges with a downward movement, instantly rushing to Taiga's front, clenching his fist, punching Taiga hard in the face, sending him flying several meters. When he stops, Taiga raises his left hand, black smoke surging forth, then violently throws it forward. Subaru likewise releases blood mist to meet it. The two energies collide evenly. Taiga now looks shocked. His proud skill has no effect. But Subaru coldly says, I already told you using skills is useless. Suddenly with a backflip, kicks Taiga in the face. Then palm on the ground, rotating. Another roundhouse kick connects, continuing to rotate his body. Another kick lands on the back of Taiga's head. Taiga is beaten back repeatedly. Subaru quickly presses his advantage. But in the next second, Taiga suddenly breaks and stabilizes, then throws a powerful punch. Subaru, unable to dodge, is hit. But Subaru immediately adjusts his position. Then the two charge at each other again. But this time both attack with full force, completely abandoning defense. Fists rain down on each other like raindrops. The spatial tunnel cracks from their intense battle. After a while, the two finally separate. Both their faces are now bruised. Subaru glares fiercely. Looks like you're finally ready. Taiga and Subaru fight with all their might, both completely abandoned defense, neither backing down once. Meanwhile, Darkchild stares intently at Vanquish in the black smoke, thinking this strike could defeat Vanquish, because he used undiluted black smoke this time. But moments later, colorful mosaics reappear in the black smoke. Vanquish reveals a sinister smile. Little one, can I use that now? Colorful energy in the space grows increasingly dense. Darkchild trembles with shock. Impossible. The black smoke just now can accelerate time by thousands of years. So Darkchild decides to go all out, his eyes shooting golden light. Then let billions of years of time flow consume you. As soon as the words fall, a cold voice sounds. Ice seal. The entire space is instantly frozen. Darkchild is frozen in place before he can release his skill. Then Vanquish's voice sounds. Time cannot kill me. That's why I'm called the Undead Lord. You were pathetic until the very end. Because you could have devised a winning strategy, you were just too stupid. Don't you know that the more you use the doors, the more traces you leave? So I could narrow down your location. More fortunately, Carrion became Subaru's familiar. And he was once my familiar too. Darkchild finally realizes something. Vanquish laughs smugly. That's right, Carrion conveyed my plan to Subaru. And you stupidly let Subaru in, so I could instantly teleport here. Knowing the truth, Darkchild is furious. Damn brat, he knew he couldn't kill me. So he brought Vanquish here, using Taiga's hatred and my caution. This damn scum. Then Vanquish approaches Darkchild. You're a pitiful worm, but for toying with my successor, don't think you'll escape punishment. So Vanquish raises his hand and softly says, Riot Cleaver. Several dimensional rifts instantly appear on Darkchild. The next second, purple blood gushes from Darkchild. Suffering severe injuries, Darkchild lets out a heart-rending scream. Vanquish promptly evaluates. You have a surprisingly impressive howl. Now desperate, Darkchild begins to shout, Lady Safina, save me! Vanquish will kill me, please save me! As soon as the words fall, a golden light begins to shine in the sky. Vanquish looks up, seeing the light growing brighter. In an instant, a golden bell with a human face appears. Recognizing the newcomer, Vanquish's lips curl slightly upward. So you're the mastermind behind all this, you shiny old witch. Seeing his savior appear, Darkchild shows a joyful smile. But in the next second, the golden bell claps its palms hard at Darkchild. Then the bell slowly speaks, How dare you ask for my help, you traitor? You dare act on your own and attempt to monopolize the human world. So fools like you are only suitable for the lowest level door. After speaking, a demon door appears in space. Darkchild painfully begs, I don't want to be the lowest scum, I am the king of the black water. But despite Darkchild's pleas, the golden bell's hands release without hesitation. A red force pulls Darkchild into the door to become a beast. After a moment, Darkchild's figure gradually disappears. When the demon door closes again, it has become a one-star demon door. Then the golden bell slowly turns to Vanquish. It's been a long time, the undead. While Vanquish shows a smiling face. Seems you're doing well, old witch. As soon as the words fall, Vanquish lightly slices with his index finger, splitting the golden bell in two. Vanquish points to the broken bell. We'll meet again soon, and then I'll fight your real form. I look forward to it. And with that, the bell dissipates in space. At this moment, Vanquish hesitates. Looks like things are about to get busy. Should I call the Six Lords? But I've completed my task. And my successor? It's time to completely settle everything. Right now, Vanquish is most concerned about Subaru. Because Vanquish knows battles between heroes can sense each other's souls. And ending his own brother with his own hands will be a trial for Subaru. Now Vanquish mutters, Don't lose, Subaru. Only by overcoming this will you be a qualified divine blood inheritor. Now the battle between the two enters white-hot intensity. Even after hundreds of rounds. Both sides' eyes remain determined. And because of this look in their eyes, memories in Taiga's mind are awakened. Young Taiga, just for eating pudding from the refrigerator without his mother's permission, suffered his mother's beatings, being cursed that he and his father were scum. From his earliest memories, Taiga knew. His mother was a complete bastard. Even his mother's new stepfather was equally trash. Although he knew the stepfather also had a child, Taiga was certain that child must also be damned scum like himself. But at their first meeting, Taiga was stunned. Why could he smile so freely? And have such crystal-clear eyes? Shouldn't he be scum like me? At that moment, fear and impatience spread through Taiga's body. So there are actually happy people in this world. And why wasn't that person him, even though they were in the same environment? But he didn't complain or give up. At that moment, Taiga deeply doubted, do I have a rotten nature? And that's when Renji said on TV, doors choose people with radiant souls. Although Taiga also dreamed of becoming a hero, he knew this definitely didn't apply to him. Just when he sought Subaru's acknowledgement, he was surprised to discover Subaru was chosen by the Golden Door. Just because he feared Subaru would be happier than him, Taiga took the door without hesitation. Even after becoming a hero, Taiga kept him close and bullied him severely, never allowing this guy to be happier than himself, not even once. Thinking of this, Taiga grows angrier. Each attack becomes stronger. At this point, Taiga raises his foot, instantly chopping down at Subaru, who dodges with a back jump. The powerful impact instantly breaks the tunnel. Taiga falls into the dark water space. But Subaru pursues relentlessly. A swift kick violently strikes Taiga. Then a rain of punches lands on Taiga. Finally, with a fierce punch, Taiga is slammed to the ground. At this moment, Taiga's eyes become distant. Memories begin to slowly resurface. It turns out that although Subaru was happy, he suffered the same treatment as himself. Even to protect him, Subaru endured beatings from his mother, and promised him everything would get better. However, Taiga never believed any of this. But Subaru still persisted, never giving up. Then Taiga sees the memory of when the golden door appeared. If a radiant soul was the condition for the door's choice, what would he have been thinking then? Now Taiga sees Subaru's thoughts. The powerful Renji could protect their most important people. If I could become a hero like him, I could protect Taiga. Because Taiga is my only brother. Then Taiga returns to reality, slowly standing up saying, "Actually, I noticed long ago. In this world, only you ever truly loved me." Vanquish watches the two below. It ends here, Subaru. Taiga's body is no longer human. The Dark Lord has disappeared. Without dark power, Taiga's soul is heading toward collapse and destruction. In his final moments, Taiga recalls his most beautiful memory. Subaru, for a small piece of pudding, suffered his father's merciless beating. Even so, Subaru still wouldn't let go. Even Taiga found it strange. The usually obedient Subaru was so disobedient today. He didn't know what Subaru was protecting. What an idiot. The father thought he was crazy for this broken thing. After the father left, Subaru found Taiga. "You like pudding, let's eat together." Taiga was stunned. How could there be such a foolish person? I seem to never be able to beat him. "Subaru, the pudding we ate that day, I didn't say thank you then. Actually, I was really happy, thank you, big brother." With that, Taiga vanishes forever. Subaru is now grief-stricken, lying on the ground in agony. What kind of savior am I? I can't even save my own brother. At this point, Vanquish slowly walks over. "Subaru, can you still stand?" Taiga's greatest misfortune was that he knew he was doing bad things, but had no way to stop himself. Each time he did something bad, self-loathing would pile up. The more it accumulated, the more twisted his soul became. This was an inevitable end. Subaru mutters in pain, "Was there really no other way?" That's an answer you'll have to seek throughout your life, until the day you die. And never forget him. Now cry if you want to. I'll wait here until you can stand up. Meanwhile, through the efforts of all heroes in the human world, the sky clock time has been restored to 417 days. Shikishima finally sighs in relief. The crisis in the human world is finally over. Now what they need to do is wait for Subaru's return. Sayaka is very worried now. But Carrion remains calm. We are his familiars. As long as we exist, he won't die. I know, but I can feel that Subaru's heart has been deeply hurt. The next second, a colorful rift suddenly appears in space. An angry voice sounds. "I said I'd wait for you. Didn't think you'd fall asleep while crying. And I came all this way to help you." Saying this, Vanquish kicks through space. Then Crystal Cat brings Subaru out. Subaru is now in deep sleep, dreaming of happily eating pudding with Taiga. Meanwhile, the sky clock system begins repairs. When repairs are complete, the 6-star door will arrive. Elsewhere, I didn't expect Dark Child to be dead. I can't feel the connection, and my skills have been recalled. Do you think this is because of the Rainbow Inheritor? After all, Dark Child was a Dark Lord. So it's likely the doing of Divine Blood's master. It seems the three kings will start acting now, because the sky clock has started updating. Meanwhile, after receiving treatment, Shikishima's body returns to its original state. Only Subaru remains unconscious. Carrion says nearby, "Don't worry, he's just healing his soul. Did you forget how exhausted you were after your first door crossing?" To this, Shikishima nods in agreement. "I slept for 5 days after my first door crossing. Only a monster like Renji could move immediately after crossing a door." That's right, the stronger the person you contract with, the longer the soul needs to adapt. If an ordinary person contracted with Vanquish, their soul would sleep for decades or die instantly. But Subaru could continue acting for over a month after contracting, showing his soul power is extremely strong. So don't worry too much, I believe he will wake up. Now Subaru's consciousness comes to a vast starry space. What is this place? Am I dreaming? Suddenly a voice sounds, "This is the universal unconscious galaxy." Subaru looks toward the voice. "This is where souls are born, and where souls return. You're in a soul sleep stage, so you can see me the first and last time." Subaru is very confused. It's not Vanquish or Carrion, but feels incredibly familiar. The mysterious person continues, "Prepare for battle, Subaru. Although the Dark Lord was very weak, he tore a hole in the human world. And as Vanquish's successor, your existence has been discovered. All countries will invade the human world. A storm is coming, a war with the Dark World. Everything will be lost, no one can stop it, even Vanquish is powerless. Except one person, and that's you. Subaru breaks into a cold sweat. If such a disaster comes, what should I do? The Red Table, the Half-Twilight, the Aurora Apostle. Most importantly, you will become king. Subaru mutters, the king is me? I failed, now I'm just remaining consciousness. What do you mean you failed, and who are you exactly? I am Subaru, the Aurora King. I am you, the strongest person in the world, but failed to save the world, defeated in the future. I can't tell you everything, but I can give you some revelations. Please protect this world, protect my dear ones, don't lose them. After speaking, a radiant bracelet appears on Subaru's hand. You have received the afterglow of the midnight sun, a bracelet that lets you see the Aurora King's memories, which reacts to disasters. Now it's time to wake up, the first disaster will come. The next second, Subaru sits up sharply in bed. Before Sayaka can react, 3 doors radiating brilliant light appear simultaneously before Subaru. What amazes Sayaka more is, each door has 10 stars. Now a voice sounds, nice to meet you Subaru, Vanquish's inheritor. Then from the 3 doors emerge 3 figures. They are the Golden King Safina, the Silver King Rowan, the Bronze King Boden. We 3 offer our greetings to you, the next generation king. Subaru looks at the bracelet on his hand, certain that everything in his dream was real, because the bracelet reveals clear memories, that within 3 months, he will lose all his friends in their final moments. Subaru, don't die, I entrust Renji to you. Mr. Subaru, I'm honored to serve you. Go Subaru, I'll hold them. The battle is incredibly brutal. Everyone entrusts the future to Subaru. Even Vanquish is powerless, the rest is up to you. But Subaru is finally pierced through the chest. You're so foolish, Aurora King. Did you really think you could win without Vanquish's power? Subaru's pupils fill with shock, then falls down in resentment. In the end, I still lost. The apocalypse has come. I couldn't save anyone. I lost everything forever. Everyone entrusted the world to me, but I couldn't save it. If only I hadn't made mistakes then. If I could go back to that day. Subaru stretches out his hand with all his might, desperately wishing someone could save him, save the human world. Fortunately, the Aurora King used all his power, finally finding his past self in the universal unconscious galaxy. Subaru feels this tragic memory. Thank you, I've received your memories. Then his eyes become incredibly determined. Although your world no longer exists, I won't let it go to waste. I will definitely protect everyone and prevent disaster. Then his thoughts return to reality. We are the 3 kings with the largest territories in the underworld, most powerful goddess of the infernal realm, who boasts the invincible order of knights, the Golden Knights. The Empress of Twilight Safina, the highest divine beast who rules over all beasts. The legendary 9-tailed fox Rowan, the master of the spirits of nature, and the demi-human race that roam the earth. The no man's chief, Bodan. Carrion looks at the 3 underworld kings in shock. Impossible. The underworld kings came to greet Subaru? The Golden King gets straight to the point. You did excellently in repelling the dark forces, a suitable candidate for the next generation king. I invite you to the Golden Kingdom. The Silver King continues. You can think of this as headhunting. You can cancel your contract with Vanquish and sign a new one with one of us 3. Frankly, your soul vessel is 1 in a million. Just choose a suitable master, and you'll become the world's strongest. We 3 are the strongest in the underworld, far stronger than Vanquish. Your goal, along with other heroes, is to protect the world by clearing demon doors. And that's our goal too. So you should switch to a new master to protect more humans. Hearing this, Carrion instantly rages. Enough nonsense. I'll kill you all. As soon as the words fall, the Silver King's cold voice sounds. Shut up, Carrion. The next second, several silver-white lightning bolts attack Carrion. Carrion breaks into a cold sweat. This energy contains soul power. You can't resist me in a human body, so shut up and listen. Then facing Subaru, we're not here to persuade you to change masters, but to offer better conditions. Is that right, Safina? Then the 3 kings begin to offer conditions. If you join me, I'll give you a spear that pierces all and the right to command golden knights. I'll give you the bow of endless light and 100 high-level dragons. I'll give you the axe of absolute destruction and 20 forests where great beings reside. Then the Silver King continues. What we can offer are the best deals. You just need to choose 1 door, then enter. At this point, Carrion hurriedly stops him loudly. Don't answer them, Subaru. Don't provoke me, you bastards. You dare say you're stronger than Vanquish? You're just afraid Subaru will grow strong and let that person regain power. Subaru looks at Carrion in surprise. Carrion's loyalty to Vanquish is absolute. Suddenly, Rowan's killing intent surges. You're really annoying. Seeing this, Subaru quickly stops Carrion. Because from future memories, Subaru knows this choice is inadequate to save the world. Besides Vanquish, Subaru cannot cooperate with anyone, even if he must face the wrath of the 3 kings after refusing. At this point, Rowan's tone finally softens. I believe this is a fair deal. Of course you have the right to choose. Although Carrion still strongly opposes. The next second, Subaru suddenly speaks. I understand. I'm willing to change if the conditions are fair. Hearing this, Carrion curses angrily. Subaru, you bastard. But Subaru is very composed. Since you're so certain, why not make me believe you more? Rowan grins. Want us to show our strength? We can do that now. What I want you to prove isn't strength but conditions. If my soul is truly 1 in a million, then other kings must have thought of it too. So let me meet all the kings of the underworld, to prove your conditions are the best. Hearing this, the 3 kings are shocked. They didn't expect Subaru to propose this condition. There's a meeting coming up soon, isn't there? One where all the kings of the infernal realm gather in one place. Bring me to that meeting. Rowan looks confused. How does he know about this meeting, did Carrion tell him? If he knows, how much does he know? What a cunning fellow. But they don't know that Subaru already knows the future. Now Subaru's gaze is incredibly determined. This destined fate will be written by me. At the same time, Vanquish, who was in the Sea of Brilliance territory of the underworld, was quietly watching Subaru's performance. He didn't expect the 3 kings of the underworld to find Subaru so much earlier than anticipated. At this moment, Vanquish was most worried about Subaru's behavior, because the Underworld Council meeting information was confidential, and he shouldn't have known about it. Then Vanquish began to look through other information. Unexpectedly, he found an item called Afterglow of the Midnight Sun. Just then, a voice interrupted Vanquish's thoughts. Sayaka and Renji's souls approached him. Vanquish had to explain the situation to them. The 3 underworld kings came to find Subaru to terminate the contract, and choose them again. If Subaru terminated the contract, then you who lose power would die. But if he refused, he would likely face the wrath of the 3 kings, as they would not tolerate anyone who opposed them. I heard the Golden Queen took a dangerous item from the treasury, Sayaka said worriedly. How dangerous is it? It's a treasure called the Victim. When used, it can easily destroy an entire country and cause millions of deaths. Sayaka was shocked. Isn't the Doormaster supposed to be an ally? Renji also expressed concern. If Subaru refuses for our sake and faces retaliation, we're done for... However, Vanquish just smiled. Don't worry. It seems he's already received help. The scene shifts to when Subaru made his request to the 3 kings. The Bronze King immediately erupted in fury. The powerful anger caused the city to shake. At a high-prestige king's council, you a mere mortal want the same status as other kings? But Subaru remained composed. Anyone who wants me can negotiate. Isn't that fair? In reality, Subaru was anxious inside, because his opponents were the 3 underworld kings, impossible to defeat or reconcile with. So now all he could do was buy time until the King's Council convened, and the second disaster would come immediately after making a choice. So this was Subaru's only way to change fate. However, it wasn't just the Bronze King who was angry. The Silver King said coldly, I didn't expect a human to be so arrogant. Then he turned and said, let it go, Safina. Let's use that instead. Hearing this, Subaru broke out in cold sweat because he knew exactly what that thing was. Then the Silver King taunted, you will witness tragedy unfold and regret it till death. After that, the Golden King took out an object. Subaru recognized it immediately. The treasure, the Victim, its explosion range depends on the soul power injected into it. When this extremely dangerous item appeared, his bracelet immediately emitted a strong warning signal. If the 3 kings injected their power simultaneously, it was conceivable that the entire country would perish. Then the future's conclusion would repeat itself. However, at this moment the Golden King spoke up. I must commend you. What I hold is equivalent to a human nuclear bomb. If you foolishly refuse, we will use it immediately. Daring to set conditions for us shows remarkable courage, so I've decided to consider your proposal. Hearing this, the other 2 kings showed slight surprise. When had the Golden King become so merciful? But the next second the Golden King suddenly smiled. Without our help, can you survive the coming judgment? Hearing this, Subaru immediately sensed trouble. He quickly stood up and looked out the window. The Skyclock's update had reached 99%. When the number reached 100%, a burst of red light exploded from the ground. The eerie red light instantly covered the entire city. Subaru's eyes were filled with shock because he knew what was about to happen. A door slowly materialized out of thin air. The Golden King displayed a smug smile. What will you do now? This is too early for you. Moments later, a 6-star demon door descended upon the city. Subaru never dreamed that though he knew the door would appear, it would come so quickly. Then a prompt appeared. As punishment, the difficulty of the 6-star door had been increased. Subaru still clearly remembered the difficulty of the 5-star door. And the 6 stars difficulty was 100 times that of the 5-star. Then the Golden King spoke again. Currently, none of you can possibly clear that door. The door's deadline is 1 week, and the King's Council will be in 2 weeks. Let me ask you again, do you really not need our power? The Silver King smirked. Hurry up and say, help me, Subaru. Stubbornness is useless. Faced with this difficult choice, even Carrion had nothing to say. But the next second, Subaru replied with a relaxed expression, I don't need your power this time. Hearing this, the 3 kings were instantly shocked. This answer was completely unexpected. We will clear the demon door ourselves. You can observe freely, then discuss fairly at the council. But the next second, the Golden King burst into laughter. Very well. I look forward to seeing how you handle this. You're more interesting than I imagined. I permit you to attend the King's Council. That concludes today. Everyone present was shocked by these words, and Subaru finally breathed a sigh of relief. I did it, successfully avoided the first disaster. But before Subaru could rejoice, the Golden King smiled and said, if you fail, I will use the treasure to destroy your country. Then the three kings vanished simultaneously. As night fell, Subaru lay in bed, breathing heavily. The pressure from facing the terrifying three kings was overwhelming. And Sayaka also expressed concern about the 6-star door. Having experienced the 5-star door, she believed clearing a 6-star now was impossible. However, Subaru seemed confident. I know a player who can pass through that door. As soon as the sky clock completed its update, the 6-star demon door descended to Earth, instantly causing chaos and panic. To reassure people, the hero publicly announced he would gather a team to clear the door as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Subaru decided to pass on everything he knew to his kin souls. So the moment Carrion and Sayaka closed their eyes, countless tragic and bitter scenes slowly emerged. The two immediately opened their eyes in shock. But the next second, Carrion suddenly erupted in rage. His body emitted intense energy, just because he had seen Vanquish's death. I absolutely refuse to accept this. Even if it's just a memory from another future, I can't bear to see this. But Subaru just quietly looked at him. I'm sorry too. After a moment, Carrion finally calmed down. Where did you learn about this? Then Subaru told them about meeting his future self in the Soul Sea. After hearing this, Carrion pondered, if you could inherit the Aurora King's power, perhaps you really could change the future. However, what Subaru could be certain of now was that the Aurora King would definitely stand on his side. The reason for attending the King's Council was first to prevent the three kings from using the victim, and second to ally with the Aurora King at the meeting. Then Subaru bared his heart. In the end, I still couldn't save Taiga. In this matter, I don't know if I was right or wrong. But Vanquish said that this answer needs a lifetime to seek. I think he's right, so this time, I don't want anyone else to die, so please lend me your power. Hearing this, Carrion was stunned, but Sayaka responded first. My answer will never change. As long as this soul exists, I will follow you to the end. As soon as she finished, Carrion quickly declared, that's what I think too. So Subaru pressed on. First, we need to clear the 6-star demon door. The next second, Subaru took out his phone, intending to tell his plan to Shikishima, but Carrion snatched the phone away. You can't contact him. In this war, the gold medal hero is not in our camp, because the Doormaster can know the inheritor's words and actions, and Shikishima's Doormaster is a subordinate of the Golden Queen. If you tell Shikishima the situation, the Golden Queen will definitely use the victim when she finds out. The silver and bronze heroes are the same. Thinking of this, Subaru frowned in worry, meaning this secret was known only to the three of them. However, Carrion was very optimistic. You forgot about Lord Vanquish. Inspired, Subaru shouted loudly to Vanquish, can you hear me, Vanquish? When the door opens next, I want to talk to you. I need to upgrade to prevent disaster. If you can do something, please do it. After saying this, Subaru waited expectantly. However, Carrion looked at him with contempt. You don't need to shout for him to hear you. Renji's eardrums are hurting from your yelling, you idiot. At this point, Sayaka couldn't help asking, weren't we going to look for a player who could clear the 6-star door? Why are we in the middle of nowhere? But Subaru was very confident, because he was just across the sea. The scene shifts to the real Sayaka in Vanquish's territory training for battle. She quickly dealt with a large number of Thunder Knights. The Tempest and Thunder Lords nearby couldn't help but sigh. No matter how many Thunder Knights, it's useless. It seems we're better teachers than Carrion. Meanwhile, Vanquish and Renji found the Gold Knight. As soon as he saw Renji, the Gold Knight said hatefully, kill me. I won't kill you. I want you to become my swordmaster. Hearing this, the Gold Knight became even more furious. Shut up, you traitor. After a moment of inner struggle, Renji knelt on one knee before the Gold Knight. I just want to help my friends in the coming war. So can you help me, Ludwig? The scene shifts to Subaru crossing the sea to find the hero who can clear the 6-star demon door. On the sea surface, a silver metal hero wearing a hood, Ginga, was testing his skills. Just then, Subaru finally found him and greeted him. Ginga was startled by Subaru's sudden appearance. However, upon learning Subaru was also a hero, Ginga calmed down. What did you come to find me for? Subaru stated his purpose. Do you know that a 6-star demon door has descended? I need your power. I want you to be the main force to defeat one of the 3 lords of the 6-star door. Ginga immediately lost his composure. No way, that's absolutely impossible. Even Carrion felt confused. Is this the main force Subaru mentioned, but he only has silver metal strength? Even Sayaka showed a worried expression. Then Ginga said excitedly, I'm just a silver metal hero. I haven't even cleared a 5-star door. You're overestimating me. However, Subaru calmly encouraged him. You can do it. Although it seems impossible now, when you level up to 70, you'll gain powerful skills that are crucial for clearing the 6-star door. After hearing this, the hooded man said flatly, I don't believe it. How do you know what skills I'm about to master? But Subaru wasn't worried. I understand. Then I'll make you believe. A 5-star door will appear nearby in 1 minute and we'll clear it together. Once you level up to 70, you'll know if what I said is true or false. Hearing this, the hooded man was very shocked. You're too suspicious. Not only do you know my skills, but you also know when the door will appear. I absolutely don't believe you. But just then, a notification about a 5-star door descending appeared. Ginga was shocked again. He's just too suspicious. Could he have some kind of precognition skill? Then Ginga shouted excitedly, "Show me your hero registration card and ID. After I check them, I'll clear the 5-star demon door with you." Hearing this, Subaru was very excited. "Thank you very much for your trust." Although Subaru appeared very happy on the surface, Ginga saw desperate urgency in him. Although Ginga didn't fully believe him yet, he decided to go find out the answer. At this point, Ginga expressed again, "I'm a very suspicious person and won't easily believe anyone, so I'll check on you while clearing the door." But Subaru didn't mind at all. "Is it to make you believe me? No problem. Despite your suspicions, once you believe me, you'll even go through hell with me." Hearing this, Ginga was immediately alarmed. "I knew you were suspicious. And even though it's our first meeting, why are you acting like you know me so well?" But at this moment, Subaru couldn't reveal the truth, because Ginga was his last companion in the future. Although just a silver medal hero, once he reaches level 70, he will shine brilliantly, becoming the strongest ice hero, called the man who came too late by the Aurora King. After getting ready, Subaru headed for the 5-star door. Then they arrived at a sea of flowers, which was Ginga's homeland. Along the way, Ginga kept praising his beautiful homeland. Soon they arrived outside the 5-star door. Subaru asked, "Are you ready?" Hearing this, Ginga's eyes darkened. "I absolutely won't let those underworld creatures trample my homeland." Then the group resolutely entered the 5-star door, the Tower of Thorns. Seeing the once beautiful flowers turned into monsters, Ginga felt disgusted. Then he stepped forward. First skill, Ice Spear. An ice spear suddenly rose from the ground. Seeing the approaching man, the man-eating flower lunged at Ginga. Ginga just gave it a cold glance and slowly said, "Second skill, White Frost." The huge man-eating flower was instantly frozen into an ice sculpture. At this point, Ginga no longer hid his strength. He threw away his hood in one move. "I will completely destroy you, that is without question." Then he released his third skill, Crystal Blade. A pair of ice skates enveloped his feet. Then Ginga leaped towards the man-eating flower, gripping the ice spear and thrusting forward at extreme speed. The man-eating flower in front of him instantly shattered. Then a level-up notification appeared for Ginga. Ginga calmly asked Subaru, "You said the target is level 70, right?" "Yes, when I reach level 50, my next door will also appear, so I need to give it my all too." After saying this, Subaru activated his dual blade mode, holding the Mystic Piercer and Black Ignis ready to strike. However, watching Ginga's battle made Subaru's group secretly amazed. As a silver medal hero with 5 years of experience, Ginga not only fought elegantly but also used his skills with great precision. Now it was Subaru's turn. Holding dual blades, he slowly walked forward. Sensing the enemy, the man-eating flower immediately swung countless sharp tentacles, shooting straight at Subaru. However, Subaru merely raised his eyes slightly. The next second, just as the tentacles were about to hit him, Subaru teleported and appeared in front of the man-eating flower. His dual blades slashed at extreme speed. The man-eating flower that was cut quickly withered and died. This made Sayaka very surprised from the side. Mr. Subaru just used Taiga's teleportation and withering skills. The reason was that the Black Ignis carried these two skills, and now is Sayaka's turn to act. She softly chanted, "Blood Brute." Instantly, several thick tentacles emerged. Sayaka's eyes turned cold. "Go, eliminate everything that obstructs Mr. Subaru." As soon as she finished, the tentacles opened their teeth-filled heads and rushed quickly toward the man-eating flowers. The next second, they frantically devoured the man-eating flowers. Carrion nodded approvingly from the side. "Miss Sayaka's skills are quite proficient." Then he turned his gaze to the other man-eating flowers. "It seems you're very unlucky." Because of his various experiences, Carrion had bottled up a lot of anger. Now it was time to vent it. Carrion raised his hand and used a special move. With just one strike, all the man-eating flowers within 100 meters were cut in half at the waist. Seeing this, Ginga was shocked. How is this person so strong? Then he secretly wondered why they would seek him out with such a powerful team. While thinking, a knight in armor suddenly rushed in front of Ginga. Then a shield bash instantly hit Ginga. Just when he thought one hit would finish him, Ginga had dodged the attack without a scratch. Finally, an enemy stronger than me has come. The Black Rose Knight, level 77, emitted a powerful aura. At this point, Ginga quickly condensed an ice spear, and then threw it at the Black Knight with all his might. The Black Knight quickly raised his shield and successfully avoided damage. However, in the next step, the ice spear emitted a cold aura, instantly freezing the shield. Ginga's figure followed closely behind, his ice skates quickly striking the Black Knight. However, even so, the Black Knight remained unharmed. This shocked Ginga. The defense is too strong, even the cold couldn't penetrate. Suddenly, a shield appeared before his eyes. Before Ginga could react, he was sent flying by the Black Knight's shield bash. Ginga was slammed hard into the ground by this attack. Then the Black Knight, holding a long sword, quickly dived down. In this crisis, Ginga quickly moved away using ice. The Black Knight, who missed, paused for a moment, then released his skill Black Wind. The long sword instantly slashed out a wave of black energy. Ginga quickly released his White Frost skill. A white mist stood in front of him. The next second, a violent collision caused a massive explosion. As the smoke cleared, Ginga had successfully blocked the attack. This was unexpected for the Black Knight. He then pointed his long sword at Ginga. Ginga let out a cold laugh. Want a one-on-one fair fight like a knight, finally considering me a worthy opponent? But that's impossible, right? Ginga waved his hand and froze the soldiers behind him. Trying to distract me and then ambush me, right? Too bad. I'm a suspicious person, and I don't believe in any knight's code. Our battle is for our mutual survival. After saying this, several ice spears instantly pierced through the soldiers behind him. Then Ginga's eyes were full of challenge. Now it's finally fair. Come at me. After saying this, the Black Knight charged angrily. But just then, Subaru suddenly attacked from the side. In the emergency, the knight quickly raised his shield to block. Ginga quickly warned Subaru, watch out for his shield. However, Subaru ignored him. The black Ignis in his hand was wrapped in black smoke, slashing down at high speed toward the shield. It cut through both the shield and the hand at once. But the Black Knight, like a machine, instantly slashed down with the long sword in his other hand. A wave of black energy engulfed Subaru. Ginga watched this scene in shock. He can instantly counterattack after having his hand and shield cut off? This guy is too powerful. However, at this moment, a red light instantly dispersed the black energy. It turned out Subaru had blocked the attack with a Mystic Piercer. Then, in the blink of an eye, the two sides engaged in dozens of rounds of combat. Subaru praised him for this. You are indeed strong. Come, let's fight fairly. Hearing this, the Black Knight actually paused, and was instantly frozen by Ginga. At this point, Ginga slowly approached. Give me a hand, Subaru. Let's crush him together. Seeing this, the Black Knight desperately tried to break free. However, the two didn't give him a chance. They directly activated their strongest skills, and instantly shattered the Black Knight. Subaru asked, Do you believe me now? Ginga scratched his head. I can only trust your strength for now. At this point, level up notifications appeared. Subaru reached level 51 and Ginga reached level 70. The next second, 2 trial doors descended simultaneously. So reaching level 70 really does make the gate of trial appear, looking at Subaru standing before him. How much do you know about the future? Subaru thought that Ginga's gate came from one of the Silver King's subordinates, who would likely relay information to the Silver King. So he said, I can't explain to you right now. As they spoke, intense battle sounds erupted behind Subaru. The two turned toward the sound. A moment later, the Carrion and Sayaka returned, and informed Subaru that they had cleared this 5-star gate. At this moment, Sayaka looked ahead. Is this the gate that can save the world, as Mr. Subaru said? Can we really succeed at the 6-star gate with this silver metal hero? Ginga said to Subaru, I will enter the gate for trial, but if the skill I obtain isn't powerful enough, I won't participate in the assault on the 6-star gate. Then the silver gate of trial slowly closed. Now Subaru indicated that he should also undergo trial. At this point, Sayaka began to look surprised and asked, Mr. Subaru, why have you suddenly become nervous? It turned out that just now, he learned the content of this trial from his future memories. Then he anxiously entered the gate of trial. The scene shifted, and Subaru arrived at the Sea of Brilliance. Subaru, long time no see, a familiar voice sounded behind him. I've been waiting for you. Looking toward the voice, seeing Sayaka before him, Subaru couldn't recover for a long time. Hey Subaru, I finally see you. Subaru's eyes were already filled with tears. She had died after being caught up in his trial. She was the first person to accept him. Originally, he had so many things he wanted to say. But seeing Sayaka again, he couldn't utter a single word. Subaru suddenly paused. Is it just you here? That also means, this time you will be conducting my trial. What you say is correct, so please attack me with killing intent. I will use all my strength. This is also for our promise. Sayaka smiled. He still remembers that promise. Then Sayaka gathered lightning at her ankles and rushed forward at extreme speed. Subaru hadn't expected Sayaka to be so fast, so he quickly took out the black Ignis. Just as she was about to hit Subaru, surprisingly, Subaru had already used a skill, instantly disappearing from Sayaka's sight, then slowly walked out from behind Sayaka. The black Ignis's teleportation ability was very powerful, but the distance was quite short. Seeing this, Sayaka gathered lightning power in her hands. The next moment, the lightning was thrown out, but this time Subaru made no attempt to dodge. The cursed blood skill gathered in his hand. While defending, he attacked toward Sayaka. As Sayaka complained that cursed skill was too restraining for her soul body, Subaru had already used his teleportation skill to appear in front of her. The black Ignis slashed out fiercely, while Sayaka rapidly gathered lightning to defend. Neither showed any sign of relaxing. The entire space was affected by their battle. This time both were using their full strength in the fight. Sayaka to prove to Subaru that she had become stronger, and Subaru likewise responded to Sayaka. The next moment Sayaka began to accumulate lightning power. Lightning fists, condensed to the extreme, slowly appeared. Subaru looked at her in surprise, remembering their promise to become stronger together. "You really kept our promise." An enormous collision sound echoed through the sky. Elsewhere, Vanquish and Kilim were talking. Vanquish truly hadn't expected that Kilim would so earnestly train Sayaka. Originally, Kilim hadn't planned to teach Sayaka, but learning from Subaru's memories that his motivation to become stronger was his promise with Sayaka. Originally, he had some mischievous intent, wanting Sayaka to defeat Subaru, but Kilim could never have imagined that Subaru's growth rate would be so terrifying. In the future, they would become even more powerful. Before long, the two were lying on the ground. Subaru slowly spoke. "In the future, can you accompany me? No matter how the disaster develops in the future, I will remember our promise never to abandon each other." The scene shifted. Jinga successfully passed the Silver Gates trial, obtaining a new item, Ice Wings, and the skill Ice 9. And this was the skill Subaru had mentioned. Will this really be effective against the 6-star gate? I hope my choice is correct. The scene returned to Subaru. Just as Subaru passed the trial, Vanquish quietly appeared beside Subaru. It was also the first time Vanquish had seen Subaru with such an expression. "You look stronger than the last time I saw you. I have to thank you, Subaru. Because of your strength, my power is also beginning to recover. But now what's most important is that you tell me everything you know about the future. I need to formulate solutions in advance." After the conversation, Subaru soon left the gate of trial. Looking at the scene before him, Subaru appeared very surprised. The entire dungeon was completely invaded by frost. Looking at the scene before him, it seems Mr. Ginga has succeeded. At this moment, Subaru felt powerful ice force from behind. Ginga slowly spoke. "This power is indeed terrifying, as you said. I will keep my promise and go with you to the 6-star gate." Just then, a notification appeared. "You have defeated the boss." Why did a prompt suddenly appear? Seeing Subaru's surprised expression, Ginga explained, "The injured boss used a disguise skill, making the carrion think he had cleared it. When I tried to use my skill, I accidentally killed this cunning boss." The scene shifted. A large group of heroes gathered at the entrance of the 6-star gate. Shikishima, to ensure the success of this operation, recalled all Gold Badge heroes executing missions outside, including Akira, known as the Lightning One, and the Gravedigger Fujigami. Shikishima was very troubled by the current situation, still unable to contact Subaru. Then informed everyone about the rules of the 6-star gate. If not conquered within a week, the world would be destroyed. But Akira didn't take it seriously, believing that so many Gold Badge heroes working together was making a big deal out of nothing. It was this statement that angered Shikishima, who even said, "As a Gold Badge hero, you are ignorant. The difficulty of the 6-star gate is beyond your imagination. It's not 10 times out of a 5-star gate, but 100 times the difficulty. If you come with this attitude, then don't participate in the 6-star gate battle." Hearing this, Akira fell silent, laughing awkwardly. At this point, Sakura told Shikishima not to be angry with Akira. "If he hadn't brought the healer known as the Saint, my limbs wouldn't have been able to recover." Then looked to the side. This girl named Mia was a Gold Badge hero known as the Saint. It was then that Mia saw Subaru approaching and sensed a dangerous aura from him. Mia didn't understand how a teenage boy could emit such a powerful pressure that even she felt suffocated. At this point, everyone also noticed Subaru's arrival. Seeing this, Shikishima angrily said, "Subaru, do you know how many calls I made to you?" Fujigami thought, so he's Subaru, while Akira didn't know what use a level 50+ rainbow hero would be. But Shikishima didn't know what Subaru was thinking now. Subaru thought, if I don't let them participate in the 6-star gate conquest, Mr. Shikishima will definitely be angry. "But Mr. Shikishima, I have something to tell you about this 6-star gate. I hope you'll let me complete it alone." Hearing this, everyone was shocked. Subaru stated, "If you attempt to conquer this gate, it's absolutely impossible to succeed." When Subaru said this, everyone present began to be shocked. Even Ginga was greatly startled, wondering how he could speak to top Gold Badge heroes like this. "Mr. Shikishima, I know this is hard to accept, but I'm serious." At this point, Akira slowly approached. "Are you suggesting that you're stronger than us Gold Badge heroes?" Subaru was about to explain. But the carrion suddenly burst out, shouting that although he didn't want to admit it, this was the truth. Hearing this, Akira became increasingly angry. As a Gold Badge hero, he had never been looked down upon like this. The carrion pushed Subaru, saying this was the fastest way to explain. Shikishima still wanted to stop Akira, while Subaru said it would end quickly. Akira's Gold Badge hero power slowly began to rise. But he couldn't react at all, as Subaru's fist was already coming at him. This punch was astonishingly fast, leaving no chance to resist. Akira's consciousness faded away. Everyone nearby had not expected that a powerful Gold Badge hero would be defeated with one punch. "I'm sorry I might have hit too hard, But I can't let you die in the 6-star gate. Future battles still need you to maintain. But the fact that Subaru had defeated Akira with just one punch made all the heroes tense up. Everyone pointed their weapons at Subaru. Shikishima also gathered skills in his hands. Subaru, I need you to give me a reasonable explanation. Seeing Subaru treated this way, Sayaka instinctively prepared to act. But the Carrion said it hadn't reached that point yet, and if they really harmed Subaru, he would be the first to stand up. Looking at the serious Shikishima, Subaru said, heroes are not allowed to use their second skill within the city. I was just preventing Mr. Akira from making a mistake. Fuchigami said nearby, I was also going to block him from releasing his skill. But you really surprised me. I didn't expect you could defeat a gold badge hero so quickly. Shikishima knew Subaru wasn't the type to cause trouble. Subaru, do you know information about the 6-star gate, since there's a silver badge in your team? The fact that you can bring a silver badge here means you already have a plan. Mr. Shikishima is a very smart hero, but I can't reveal any information to you. I understand from your expression, Subaru, that you have your own difficulties. This was something Subaru hadn't expected, that Mr. Shikishima could understand him just from his expression. At this point, Shikishima finally realized this was why he hadn't been answering his calls. But why was Subaru so concerned? Was it because of them? The Carrion, feeling Shikishima's murderous gaze, hurriedly clarified this had nothing to do with them. The next moment, Shikishima's face showed a helpless expression. Subaru, is there really nothing we can do to help you? We will challenge the 6-star gate 3 times in total. This is the only time to go alone. We will still fight side by side later. Then everyone received Shikishima's order to lower their weapons. Subaru, I believe in you. Subaru, you have become stronger. We all believe in you. It was at this moment that Akira woke up. He was unwilling to admit he had lost to Subaru, and understood even less why they were willing to trust him. This was a battle concerning humanity's fate. Shikishima spoke slowly. This is because he once fought alongside us, risking his life, and has led us to victory multiple times. Go, Subaru. I believe you can lead us to victory this time as well. Then Subaru pushed open the door, and at this moment the 6-star gate slowly opened. Looking at Subaru's silhouette, Akira's face showed nothing but unwillingness. Subaru turned to look back. I'm sorry for hitting too hard. I'll apologize to you when I return. Although the 6-star gate had closed, the emanating aura made it impossible for people to open their eyes. It was at this moment that Mia the Saint cried out, You actually agreed to let the 4 of them enter the 6-star gate? You should know that a 6-star gate appeared in M country, and 30 people entered with none returning. It's truly hell. The 6-star gate is divided into 3 areas, the first being the Fire Garden area. The second is the Cemetery of Past Hero Kings. The final is the Spectator Stand for the King. The boss of the first area is called the Devourer of Heroes, Fiery Lambda, located in the central area of the Fire Palace. The temperature of the flames had already reached 700 degrees. Subaru must pass through these flame domains to battle the boss. Subaru knew the content of the 6-star trial gate through the memory of his bracelet Afterglow of the Midnight Sun, and also recalled his future memories. In future memories, Shikishima and other gold badge heroes together entered the 6-star Butcher's Gate. However, the first level of the Butcher's Gate was the extreme Fire Garden area, with temperatures reaching 700 degrees. Even as gold badge heroes, everyone found it difficult to breathe in such an environment. Even Shikishima couldn't last 3 minutes, at which point he shouted, Subaru, what should we do? Subaru hadn't expected to use his power so quickly. A stream of blood energy appeared from Subaru's hand. Then a barrier constructed from blood energy protected everyone. At this point, everyone finally had a chance to breathe. My skill can reduce the heat's effect on everyone, but even I can only maintain it for 1 hour. And that's based on the condition that Subaru doesn't participate in any battle. Everyone fell into despair. Just the environment of the 6-star gate had already trapped everyone in a predicament, without even seeing the boss. It was at this moment that Subaru felt a different pressure. Even his constructed blood barrier was evaporating more rapidly. Shikishima involuntarily felt fear rise in his heart. Even Akira, as a gold badge hero, couldn't stop his hands and feet from trembling. Subaru's voice brought everyone back to reality, only to see a concentrated fire energy rushing from the central palace of the Fire Garden. The next moment, the boss of the first area stood before everyone. His expression appeared very calm, looking at Shikishima and others as if looking at ants. Shikishima truly couldn't believe it. This was the boss of the 6-star gate. Without doing anything, just standing there, the surrounding environment naturally formed a fiery hell. As the commander, Shikishima had to make the most correct trial of the current situation, then summoned his most powerful skill. A blue flower, like one that would never wither, rushed toward the boss. At the same time, Shikishima also announced the order for everyone to retreat. This attack had failed. Everyone faced this decision with disbelief. The opportunity to challenge the 6-star gate was only 3 times in total, and the first time they just looked at the boss. Now our offensive and defensive capabilities are very insufficient. We must withdraw. Shikishima was also very unwilling, but now besides hiding in Subaru's shield, there was nothing they could do. Mr. Shikishima, I've always believed in your decisions. I will maintain the shield until everyone retreats. Then Shikishima shouted for everyone to execute the retreat order immediately, as everyone retreated in turn, and thanked Subaru for his contribution. But the next moment, a straggling member was instantly devoured by flames. Subaru couldn't believe it. The speed was so fast he couldn't react, only to see a huge hand reaching out. "Ants, are you trying to escape from under my nose?" Everyone's anger reached its peak. They couldn't bear to see their comrade die before their eyes. Shikishima shouted retreat. But two people still wanted to avenge their fallen comrade, but they never imagined that as humanity's top combat power, Gold Badge heroes couldn't even withstand one attack from the boss. And the boss also mocked, a group of ants actually has such courage. The next moment William invoked a skill, wanting to rely on his defensive power to trap the boss. But the boss's face was full of mockery. The effect of the skill on him was like tickling, completely ineffective. Nearby, Sakura also offered up her most powerful chain skill. No matter how Shikishima shouted, no one showed any sign of stopping. Shikishima became increasingly angry. "Can none of you understand what I'm saying? I said everyone retreat." They couldn't accept it, a comrade dying before their eyes, just as the two hesitated. Akira had already thrown them out of the 6-star gate. "Future battles still need you. Subaru, I've witnessed your powerful strength. You are also an indispensable force for the future." The next moment, Subaru was also thrown toward the gate. "Covering the rear is something I alone can do." Akira also forever remained in the 6-star gate. The 6-star gate completely closed. This attack resulted in 4 player deaths and 1 serious injury. Time returned to the present. This time, Subaru would not repeat the future's footsteps. "I will pass through the 6-star gate without any sacrifices." Looking at the scene identical to his memories. "This time I will definitely clear the 6-star gate." The 6-star gate had been untrodden for hundreds of years. The only joy in the Fire Lord's monotonous life was battling with the Lord of the 2nd level. Just as the battle was heating up, he sensed someone intrude into the gate. "It can actually survive in my domain for more than 10 seconds. Looks like today brings new fun," he said, bidding farewell to Radiant Dragon Carsanus. Seeing this, the Radiant Dragon pouted. "He's really a battle maniac. If you like fighting so much, why not go to the palace depths to find another to fight?" As soon as the words fell, the Fire Lord rushed out like an arrow and said fighting with him was tantamount to seeking death. Meanwhile, Subaru and his group were covered with layers of blood armor. This was an ability Subaru improved based on future memories that could prevent fire aura. But there was only 10 minutes of time. "This means we must end the battle within 10 minutes. Mr. Ginga, please wait for my signal before releasing your skill." Soon, a powerful pressure descended again. The Fire Lord appeared before everyone. This pressure made it hard to breathe. "So this is a 6-star boss?" Even though I had heard about it beforehand, the pressure when seeing it in person is suffocating. Seeing this, the Carrion also laughed awkwardly. "So it's him. This borrowed body is no match at all." The Fire Lord was eager to battle. Suddenly the Carrion pleaded, "Lord, please don't attack yet." Subaru also changed expression, crying loudly that he shouldn't attack. "I bring extremely important news about your 2 brothers. Though I appear human, we all come from the underworld." He had never mentioned his brothers to others. He wanted to know more. It turned out Tempest and Thunder were his brothers. They went missing in the last war. He had always thought his brothers died in that battle. The next moment the Fire Lord came directly to Subaru. The Carrion was sweating profusely, knowing that in the last battle it was he who killed the Fire Lord. The Carrion spoke, "The power on your body is too strong. We're all about to be roasted." Nearby, Subaru also cooperated, saying he was about to evaporate. The next moment the Fire Lord dispersed his flame domain, urgently asking about his brother's news. "This person knows your brother's whereabouts. And although he doesn't have much combat power, he can let others see his memories. Just through his touch, you can know information about your brothers." The Fire Lord was clearly confused by the Carrion's claim, although his power was strong enough, allowing a stranger to use a skill on him was clearly beyond his acceptance range. The next moment Ginga put his hand in front of the Lord and said he would know about his brothers after contact. The Fire Lord didn't know that Ginga was now very panicked inside, because in his hand was his newest level 70 skill. The gate owner informed him of this skill's effect. This was a skill listed as forbidden. It turned out that thousands of years ago a war broke out in the underworld. The revolutionary vanquish united countless small countries to overthrow the rule of the then autocratic country. That man's power had reached a level beyond life and death. Even the 6 lords under him were invincible. Under his leadership, small countries were united as never before. So the previous generation's Silver King spent his entire life creating this ultimate skill. But the skill also had a major drawback. It would drain all the caster's magic power. Once the caster was in an unprotected state and in close contact with the target, it was tantamount to suicide. And this skill was not allowed to be used outside the gate. Using it would result in immediate death. Facing the monster before him, he had no choice, just as Ginga was about to touch him. "I don't need you to tell me what my brother told you. Why must you use a skill?" Faced with the Lord's inquiry, Ginga didn't know what to say. Fortunately, the carrion nearby said, "There's also a map. We think seeing directly is clearer than speaking." Suddenly the Fire Lord pointed at the carrion. "You look very much like the person who killed me before. I clearly remember they were once as weak as you. But as time passed, their power grew stronger and stronger. Since then, I never ignore the weak, and your appearance reminds me of one of the 6 lords." The carrion knew he couldn't fool him anymore. He transmitted to Ginga, "We only have one chance to delay him. You must seize it." Seeing this, Subaru also understood, taking up Black Ignis and silently moving forward. Subaru used the Black Ignis skill. The next moment, he suddenly appeared behind the Fire Lord. The Fire Lord was startled, sensing trouble. Then his finger blasted power toward the carrion, while a fist rushed toward Subaru. Subaru's expression didn't change at all, because no matter what, his attack would definitely be one step faster. The Fire Lord was even more surprised that the carrion, who should have died, was gathering power to attack him. In milliseconds, their attack squarely hit the Lord's body. Subaru used his most powerful Cursed Blood, while the carrion used his most powerful Death Fist skill. The Fire Lord was furious, not because they had deceived him. He would never forget the carrion's skill. "I will release endless fire to burn you all." But the next moment, an ominous feeling arose. The originally overwhelmingly strong firepower was gradually dismantled, no longer able to coalesce. The Silver Badge hero, whose power had seemed negligibly weak in his eyes, now radiated extremely cold frost from his hands. The Lord was dazed. Would he be defeated by these few ants? It turned out Ginga had shot the Ice Nine's skill into the Fire Lord's body. Sensing danger, the Fire Lord didn't choose to dodge, because he simply looked down on those before him. A mere silver badge, an existence he could kill with a casual hand. He possessed ice immunity skills. No freezing effect would work on him. But the next moment his firepower completely began to dissipate, a sight he couldn't believe. It was at this moment Ginga spoke. "We already knew about your ice immunity ability, but my skill isn't freezing." The Fire Lord didn't understand. Clearly he was completely immune to ice elements. Why could he still be frozen? When Ginga first obtained the skill, he was also very surprised, because the skill's attribute wasn't freezing but petrification. For example, Medusa's eye, just seeing the target could turn them to stone. And Ice Nine's ability was to touch the opponent, completely turning them to ice. "Will I lose to ants again?" Ginga said, "Give up. The skill will keep following you until your body completely turns to ice. And you should know, this skill was created by the first Silver King." When the Fire Lord was turned to ice, Ginga finally breathed a sigh of relief. But Ginga hadn't expected that the Fire Lord had already left a fire seed on his body. The next moment the Fire Lord instantly revived and erupted with powerful fire force. Who would have thought the Fire Lord's power had reached such a degree? Even though Sayaka took Ginga away, Ginga still had one arm shattered. This was clearly something Subaru hadn't anticipated either. Now the Fire Lord only wanted to kill them all, then rushed over with massive firepower. But suddenly the Fire Lord's body was frozen again. This all happened too suddenly. He stumbled and fell. Ginga's face showed a smug expression. "You should know that Ice Nine was created by the Silver King's lifetime work. As long as you're not dead, it will keep following you." The next moment Ginga fell asleep, but his injuries were becoming more serious. Sayaka shouted for Subaru, and Subaru understood, already rushing toward the Fire Lord. He had to kill the Fire Lord before Ginga died. Facing the carrion's sneak attack, the Fire Lord gathered a huge fire dragon to attack the carrion. But on the other side, Subaru seized this opportunity to charge forward. Because Subaru knew that now the Fire Lord's power was already exhausted, the Fire Lord could only dodge around, while Subaru used teleportation skills to shatter the Fire Lord's body. The revived Fire Lord was very angry. Each revival consumed his fire source. Once depleted, he couldn't revive at all. But now facing the joint attack of Subaru and the carrion, the Fire Lord had no power to counterattack. When the Fire Lord's last source was exhausted, he finally turned to ice, and Subaru said, "I do know your brother's whereabouts. Go to the Sea of Brilliance, there you can meet your brothers." The Fire Lord's face was stunned. He didn't know whether to trust this human again. The next moment, a prompt sounded, "Boss has been defeated." The carrion reminded Subaru not to forget that the Weather Lord still had a passive revival skill. But Subaru told the carrion not to worry, he couldn't revive anymore, because Ice Nine's skill had suppressed the Weather Lord's passive ability. Meanwhile, Ginga's level increased, and the injuries on his body completely healed. As Subaru and others defeated the Fire Lord, the Radiant Dragon King already knew everything that had happened and had already filled the central area with light waves in weight. The Dragon King's ability was to shoot huge light wave energy without limitation. The Dragon King wouldn't be careless like the Fire Lord, because he never ignored the weak. And Subaru understood that now was not the time to conquer the Dragon King. The Dragon King looked forward to Subaru's next visit, as he too hadn't fought humans for 100 years. Outside the 6-star gate, everyone could only sit at the door waiting for Subaru. Shikishima, facing the scene, was completely powerless to complain. and said, "It's only been a few minutes, now we're starting to wait and don't know how long it will take. You'd better take it easy, go rest first." But as soon as Shikishima finished speaking, Subaru's voice came from behind. Seeing this, Akira said, "It's only been 5 minutes and 17 seconds. You guys escaped really fast." Because the time was so short, Akira didn't believe they had successfully conquered, only thinking they were deserters. He reprimanded Subaru that because of his arrogance, they had lost one exploration opportunity. Hearing this, Subaru's face showed no displeasure. He even hugged Akira's hand and cried, "Mr. Akira, it's so good that you're alive." The Carrion interrupted Subaru, "Don't say these things to people without future memories," and the Carrion stated that the first level's lord had been killed. Akira's face was full of disbelief. Everyone behind also had blank faces, knowing that the difficulty of the 6-star gate was 100 times that of a 5-star. "You're a liar, the difficulty is so high, how could you finish in just over 5 minutes? Just as Akira was angry, a prompt sounded. "The 6-star gate boss has been killed, 2 more left." At this point, everyone behind showed disbelief. As M Country's gold badge hero healer Mia curiously asked, "Who are you people? I've never seen you before." The Carrion said, "We are subordinates of the future king." A hero nearby said, "Since you can end the first level's battle in 5 minutes. Does that mean you can replicate such tactics for the second and third levels?" But Ginga denied his idea. Because the Radiant Dragon King was surrounded by numerous light waves, he couldn't touch him. And the Radiant Dragon already knew how they killed the Fire Master. He wouldn't allow him to touch him. But Subaru's thoughts weren't on the second level's boss, because he knew the third level was the most difficult problem. Seeing Subaru's worried face, Shikishima couldn't help asking if there was any chance of winning. Subaru said he must visit the prison once. There was a chance, but it was very slim. Hearing this, Shikishima said, "From now on, the command of all heroes is given to you. Subaru, you must lead everyone to survive." Obviously, everyone was very surprised by Shikishima's decision. Shikishima was definitely not a reckless person. Subaru wasn't surprised by Shikishima's decision, because in the future, Shikishima had likewise handed command to him. Afterwards, Subaru arrived at the prison. He took away the man in black who once belonged to the underworld, a man named Kiryu. Because his wife and child were mistakenly killed by a hero, Kiryu no longer had hope for the world. Kiryu's heart had already died, and he weakly asked Subaru where he was taking him. Subaru didn't answer his question directly. Instead, he asked, "Do you want revenge?" Kiryu was surprised by Subaru's question, looking at Subaru's sincere expression. After a while, Kiryu slowly began to speak. The hero who accidentally killed his wife couldn't properly control their power, went berserk, and they weren't even adults yet. He had thought about revenge but gave up on it. Even if he succeeded in getting revenge, his wife and child wouldn't come back. The Jinga nearby fell silent upon hearing this. Ginga couldn't understand how Subaru would convince a man who didn't even have the motivation for revenge. Shortly after, Subaru brought Kiryu to a soccer field. Seeing this, Kiryu's eyes showed a hint of wavering. This was his child's former soccer team. He recalled the moments spent with his child. His son's smile seemed like it was just yesterday. Even his wife was gently watching him. This was a place filled with a family's memories. Nearby, Ginga felt deeply sad and painfully asked why Subaru brought him to such a place. This would only increase his inner pain. "Why did you do this, Subaru?" At this moment, Kiryu stood motionless like a human without a soul, tears streaming down uncontrollably. Just then, children gathered around Kiryu. A boy shouted, "Seiichi's dad!" The man instinctively looked ahead because Seiichi was his child's name. It turned out that the soccer team captain hadn't abandoned Seiichi, but kept him in their hearts. "And promise Kiryu, I will bring Seiichi with us to next month's soccer match. Seiichi will always be a member of our soccer team." Hearing this, Kiryu could no longer hold back. "You are all good children. Uncle will definitely come to cheer for you at next month's soccer match." At this moment, Kiryu's heart began to soften, finding some desire to protect this world. Ginga asked, "Subaru, was all this within your calculations?" And Subaru explained that not everything was his calculation. It turned out that Subaru had met Kiryu in his future memories, during the beginning of the 6th disaster. At that time, Kiryu was holding a pair of soccer shoes. Faced with Subaru's questioning, Kiryu said that the soccer team children had all died because of the disaster's arrival. He never expected that the soccer team's locker room would always have his child's photo. "These children always considered my son a member of their team. And they died in front of me, and I couldn't protect them. If I had another chance, I would want to protect these children." Subaru looked at Kiryu. "I won't let you have any more regrets. Let's fight side by side, let's defeat the 6-star gate. Do I really qualify to participate in the battle against the 6-star gate?" And Subaru murmured, "Please help us in any way you can." At this point, Subaru had gathered all the conditions to defeat the 6-star gate. At this time, Shikishima looked at the 6-star gate and murmured, "6 days have already passed. Today will be the last day to defeat the 6-star gate. Subaru, are you really ready?" Meanwhile, all members of Subaru's team were enjoying their last moment of peace. Through 6 days of interaction with Subaru, Kiryu clearly understood that Subaru wasn't a normal person. His strength was beyond the scope of ordinary people. He had witnessed Subaru defeat dozens of 5-star Gates boss with his strength alone. Heroes could instantly recover from normal injuries through leveling up, but the fatigue brought by physical and mental exertion couldn't be recovered. As battle time increased, heroes' physical fatigue and reaction speed would greatly decrease. Eventually, they would be defeated by the boss. But Subaru was different. He was a monster whose mental strength didn't require any rest. I can't believe it even more that a hero went from level 55 to 89 in just 6 days. Perhaps it's because Subaru's mental strength is as strong as a monster that all the kings of the underworld want to become his contractors. At this moment, Subaru killed the last 5-star Gate boss. His level also reached 90, and a rainbow gate awaited Subaru. Subaru stepped into the gate without any hesitation. But what Subaru never expected was that this trial would require him to kill Vanquish, who had always accompanied him. At this moment, outside the gate, a hero failed to defeat the 5-star Gate, releasing an underworld demon. Everyone looked at the scene before them in astonishment. Somehow, a hero was already standing in front of the demon, radiating light like a deity. It was Subaru, who had returned from the trial gate. Then with a light shout, "Unmystic Piercer," with just one strike. The boss was instantly killed. No one could believe it, killing a 5-star boss with one strike. Was this really Subaru? Now Subaru had become the savior in everyone's eyes. The returning Subaru exuded an invisible authority. Even Shikishima couldn't help but sigh that Subaru had truly become the savior. At this point, Subaru also issued the final order before the attack: "Let all of us return alive." This would be the final battle with the 6-star Gate. Subaru led everyone through the gate, but in the next moment, the Radiant Dragon King attacked Subaru and his group at an extremely fast speed. Surrounded by terrifying light waves, feeling the threat, Subaru showed no panic, as if all this was within his calculations. Next would be the real beginning of the 6-star Gate battle. But in the next moment, the Radiant Dragon King's body stiffened, crying out in fear, "Why are you here?" Only to see a knight emanating dark aura standing in front of the Dragon King, then slowly raising his long sword. In just an instant, countless sword auras surrounded the light dragon, only to hear the Dragon King's wail echoing throughout the dungeon, crying out in disbelief. "Why did you come to my domain?" The Dragon King had always known they weren't on the same level as the knight, but until death, he couldn't understand why the knight appeared here. Until the light dragon died, he didn't get the answer he wanted. The Night King didn't even look at the Dragon King. Each step carried a wild aura, slowly walking towards Subaru. Night King Iluk, known as the demon beast killer in the underworld. With just one swing, the entire terrain of the 6-star Gate underwent a tremendous change. Subaru wasn't surprised by what happened before him, because all of this was within his calculations. It turned out that Kiryu, following Subaru's instructions, used the skill, Crest of Interruption. This skill could block any form of barrier for 1 second. The barrier had been preventing the bosses from killing each other. When the barrier was removed for that 1 second, the Night King had already considered the Light Dragon as an intruder in his domain. This led to Iluk killing the Dragon King in an instant. But upon learning the reason, Shikishima wasn't happy. Is such a monster really something they could resist? Nearby, Kiryu also seemed very confused. If Subaru's target was the Light Dragon, there was no need to bring everyone. Subaru's goal from the moment he entered the gate was to fight the Night King. The feeling he gives me isn't prediction, but the ability to see the future. Kiryu stared intensely at Subaru, thinking in his heart, "How many more secrets do you have?" Now they didn't have extra time to think, they needed to form a battle formation. Sushi was already prepared, wrapping around Subaru and everyone, at an extremely fast speed rushing towards Iluk. Seeing this, Iluk didn't hesitate, reaching for his sword behind him. But suddenly, Iluk's expression stiffened, sensing several powerful auras. Shikishima's new level 90 skill, Angel Wings, was forming. Akira's Angel Holy Sword was also charging. Sakura likewise had golden chains gathered in front of her. With Shikishima's light shout, everyone's power surrounded in front of Shikishima, fiercely tearing towards Iluk. An energy like a blazing sun appeared above Iluk's head. Looking at the energy in front of him, Iluk's heart finally stirred. This strike hit Iluk squarely, echoing throughout the entire area. It was because of this strike that Iluk recalled his former self, being defeated by the joint efforts of the Golden Legion. Iluk drew his sword, a terrifying aura appearing on him. Again, with a simple strike, he repelled everyone's attacks. The entire ground once again fell into tremendous rumbling, the force making it impossible for everyone to stand. The entire ground of the 6-star Gate completely shattered. There was only shock on everyone's faces. Is this something we can fight against? Is this a joke? Shikishima's face showed despair for the first time. Suddenly, Shikishima shouted, "He's coming towards us." No one could have thought that in less than a second, he had defended against everyone's attacks and even launched an extremely fast counterattack. Udo didn't hesitate at all, summoning the Golden Wall skill. Kiryu deeply understood that facing such a buff, they couldn't hold back. In the next moment, hundreds of defensive traps appeared behind the golden wall. Countless sword auras with breaking wind sounds came sweeping. The golden wall also began to slowly collapse. Nearby, Subaru was also greatly alarmed. This was faster than in his memory. In less than a second, countless sword auras had already enveloped Shikishima. The threat of death covered Shikishima. The sword aura suddenly began to explode. An intense battle had erupted just 10 seconds after entering the gate. In Iluk's eyes, Shikishima was certainly doomed. When the dust slowly dispersed, Shikishima was very grateful that he had withstood the attack. But looking carefully, it was Kiryu who had summoned hundreds of defenses to protect Shikishima, with only 3 defenses barely withstanding in the end. Sakura also didn't know what to do. This was completely overwhelming power. Everyone fell into despair in these few seconds. This was completely not on the same level. Shikishima said, "This was never a battle we could intervene in. Whether we ultimately win depends on Subaru. Through my skill I have already seen. Subaru has already reached the boss. Now it's up to them." Shikishima's face also showed a sad expression. He hadn't expected that in the end he still couldn't help Subaru, looking at Kiryu slowly saying, "We don't even qualify to stand beside Subaru to face the boss." And on the other side, Subaru's squad looked at the boss in front of them. "Once we get close to the Night King, we can restrict his sword aura. Next, we will fight carrying everyone's hopes." Carrion and Sayaka said in unison, "This time will be a fight to the death." In the next moment, Carrion softly said, "I'll leave the rest to you." Carrion and Sayaka's bodies erupted with blood-colored Thunder Lord power. In the next moment, Renji's eyes were filled with violent aura. Renji came back, so did the real Sayaka. Sayaka's eyes similarly showed the power of Thunder Lord. Nearby, Ginga and Fuchigami widened their eyes, because the aura on Sayaka and Carrion had completely changed. Facing the Night King's attack, Renji summoned the golden sword in his hand. Hot waves continuously spread to the surroundings. The Night King wondered if he was experiencing an illusion. This attack was too familiar. But in the next moment, the aura around Renji changed again. "I am glad to see you, my servant." Seeing this, Iluk began to tremble. The aura on his body began to gather uncontrollably, the killing intent in his eyes becoming increasingly sharp. It turned out that Iluk was once Ludwig's servant and also Ludwig's brother. To obtain stronger power, he turned to darkness, killing his only teacher. In the end, Ludwig united countless knights to subdue Iluk. At this moment, nearby Sayaka rapidly gathered Thunder Lord in her hand. Several feet of Thunder Lord instantly struck Iluk's body, and the ground instantly witnessed a heat wave. Renji didn't relax at all because such attacks couldn't cause damage to Iluk. Sayaka understood that this attack wouldn't defeat him. But what she never expected was that this attack couldn't cause even a bit of damage, which Sayaka couldn't understand. Iluk slowly raised his long sword. It's known that he possesses resistance ability. All ranged attacks would be weakened by 95%. Sayaka was very clear. Renji was using the golden sword. Having Renji as the main attacker was the best choice. Hearing this, Renji reassured Sayaka completely. He was now stronger than before. His level had risen to 97. At the same time, Subaru shouted for Ginga and Fuchigami. "The situation has already deviated from Subaru's future memory control. Let's attack together." At this time, Sayaka was already waiting to attack. Renji had already engaged in battle with the boss. Iluk's sword aura seemed to split the space, while Renji defended with golden sword aura at an extremely fast speed. The two's techniques were taught by the same master, and Ludwig knew Iluk's techniques very well. Ludwig knew that if he fought alone, he couldn't win against Iluk, but now he wasn't fighting alone. Renji and Ludwig were using the same body, and now there were also excellent comrades fighting together. Sayaka and Ginga always circled around, ready to attack at any opportunity. Renji had to defeat Iluk to fulfill Ludwig's wish. This was the price for Ludwig training him. Renji still remembered Ludwig's expression, seeing Ludwig angry and sad for the first time. 6 days ago, Subaru participated in the Rainbow Gate trial, and at the same time told everyone the future of the 6-star gate. In the Aurora King's memory, the 6-star gate wasn't successfully defeated, because in the memory we suffered heavy casualties in the first stage of the Flame Lord. Eventually, we put all our effort into killing the Light Dragon King in the second stage, but because of timeout, Iluk was released from the 6-star gate. That night, countless sword auras swept through the city. The world entered the destructive Red Moon. In the memory, everyone was entrusting their future to Subaru. Everyone died in this disaster, leaving only me. Upon hearing this news, Renji walked away silently. As the formerly strongest hero, humanity's hope, he would not allow the world to be destroyed like this. "Said I need to find Ludwig for training." Suddenly Renji was shocked. Vanquish had already brought Ludwig and was slowly walking towards Renji. Ludwig had learned from Subaru that the 6-star gate boss was actually Iluk, then slowly said to Shikishima, "I can train you. Even if it goes against my country, I will train you. But you must promise me, no matter what method you use, you must kill Iluk with me." Renji saw Ludwig's expression for the first time and said that he swore on his life to kill Iluk. This was the reason Ludwig and Renji descended into the 6-star gate together, but his power was still not enough to kill Iluk. I need the support of comrades to compensate for my shortcomings. Fujigami understood what she needed to do was to cover Renji. Watching for Iluk's moment of relaxation, she delivered a heavy kick that sent Iluk flying, and Renji seized this opportunity, fiercely slashing down at Iluk. The fallen Iluk instantly stood up, but what Iluk never expected was that Ginga had already formed an ice cage nearby. In just an instant, countless ice crystals froze Iluk. At this very moment, the ice began to collapse. In less than a second, Renji seized this brief interval and fiercely attacked Iluk. This attack gathered all of Renji's power, so fast that space itself trembled. But Iluk was too powerful, instantly shattering the ice and blocking Shikishima's full power attack. At the same time, the aura on Iluk gathered again, formless sword aura about to take shape. At this moment, Subaru seized the opportunity to use Death Fist, striking Iluk. Iluk flew backward again. But in just an instant, Iluk launched a counterattack towards Subaru. Just when Iluk was about to hit Subaru, Subaru shouted lightly. His entire person instantly disappeared, appearing above Iluk's head in the next moment. Just when Iluk was preparing to attack with his sword aura, Renji very tacitly had already arrived behind Iluk, coming with a sharp sword aura. Feeling danger approaching, Iluk wanted to defend, but Renji's speed was so astonishing that he couldn't block it. This attack hit Iluk squarely. At the same time, Renji kicked towards Iluk. This kick seemed ordinary, but it was Renji's level 90 ultimate skill, Kirin Strike, a technique that instantly transforms sword aura into physical arts, making the body as sharp as a blade. Iluk spat out a large mouthful of blood for the first time, then was sent flying by Renji. Nearby, Ginga was dumbfounded. Is this the strongest battle of the number 1 ranked hero? Looking at Iluk lying on the ground, seemingly without any trace of aura, he muttered in disbelief. Did we win? Sayaka's voice suddenly sounded. If only it could be that simple. He will wake up soon, and I must also join the battle. After training for so long, I should also show Subaru my strength, having the ability to fight alongside him. Several small Thunderlords appeared beside Sayaka. This was the Thunderlord's ultimate skill, 8-colored Thunderlord. Just at this moment, a golden light surrounded the originally fallen Iluk. The aura on his body was even stronger than before. It turned out that in the Rainbow Gate, Ludwig told everyone that Iluk's armor was God-bestowed armor. The God-bestowed armor was rumored to be created by the ancient god of the underworld. Just wearing it would continuously provide life. So we need to use explosive attacks to destroy the armor. We definitely cannot engage in a battle of attrition with him. If we cannot destroy his armor, then this battle will certainly end in failure. If the armor is destroyed, then Renji needs to use the Imperial Glory skill combined with the Kirin Strike. At this time, Sayaka indicated that she understood. Just need to launch explosive attacks to destroy the armor, right? Sayaka confidently stated that she would handle it, after all. She was good at explosive attacks. I believe you, after all. You are the disciple of the Thunderlord. In terms of speed, I don't think anyone can surpass you. At this moment, Iluk's heart shook, feeling a chill all over his body. The moment the Thunderlord's skill appeared, Iluk felt very anxious. At this time, Renji looked at Sayaka in front of him with a shocked face, only to see Sayaka's body surrounded by Thunderlord, every inch of her skin filled with violent aura. Sayaka only had 10 seconds of time. In Thunderlord mode, speed would increase by 1000% within 10 seconds. All power would be concentrated within these 10 seconds, and Thunderlord mode couldn't be cancelled. In just an instant, Sayaka disappeared from her spot. In the next moment, she appeared in front of Iluk like a ghost. A strike covered with thousands of thunderbolts. In an instant, it struck Iluk. Then moving to the left side again, erupting with purple Thunderlord continuing to strike. Just when Iluk wanted to counterattack, Sayaka was at his side the next moment. For a time, all Iluk could do was defend passively. The Thunderlord power all over Sayaka's body could no longer be controlled. The entire ground was shattered by the wild power. Iluk was struck by dozens of attacks in just 1 second. Sayaka was very clear that she had to seize these short 10 seconds. Iluk was extremely angry that he was being toyed with like this. Nearby, Fujigami couldn't believe his eyes. Subaru, who exactly is she, actually able to fight a 6-star boss head-on? Subaru stared ahead, slowly opening his mouth. She is Sayaka Amamiya, my first comrade in arms. At the same time, in the space of the Sea of Brilliance, the Thunderlord was watching Sayaka's battle. Tempest Lord Delta laughed, saying, "Kill him, you haven't been so happy for a long time." Thunderlord was very gratified, looking at the fighting Sayaka, laughing that Sayaka's growth speed was truly terrifying. But Sayaka's opponent was after all Iluk, so victory would still be very difficult. At this time, Sayaka deeply experienced that without the Thunderlord descent ability, she would have died many times. But this boss must be defeated by her and Renji together. Because Vanquish said that Subaru's ultimate skill needed to be saved for the next disaster. So in this disaster, Subaru couldn't prematurely expose his ultimate ability. Nearby, Renji looked at Sayaka, who was in fierce battle. He could only choose to believe in her, then began to charge his skill. At this time, Sayaka knew she didn't have much time left. Then the 8-colored Thunderlord power gathered towards Sayaka. In just a moment, the wild Thunderlord power coiled around Sayaka like a giant dragon. Sayaka attacked Iluk at an extremely fast speed. Iluk charged his sword aura, trying his best to resist. But the Thunderlord power had already become uncontrollably fierce. The sword aura barely touched the Thunderlord before it dispersed. The Thunderlord power poured down on Iluk like a giant dragon. The originally rock-solid armor showed cracks. When the last bit of Thunderlord power struck the armor, it suddenly shattered. At the same time, Sayaka's power had reached its limit, and she could no longer continue fighting. Iluk never dreamed that the god-bestowed armor would be shattered. Seeing this, Sayaka shouted, "Ent Renji, the rest is up to you, Mr. Renji." At this time, Renji had already gathered all his power. In the next moment, extremely strong sword aura engulfed Iluk completely. Renji didn't hesitate at all, accumulating all his power on his blade, rushing down at an extremely fast speed. Seeing this, everyone's expressions became very tense. Would they really win this time? Even the Thunderlord showed a gratified smile, but nearby Tempest felt a hint of ominous feeling. Ludwig's face showed fear, because until now, Iluk hadn't revealed his strongest skill. Sure enough, Ludwig's worries came true. Iluk's expression radiated divine light. In the next moment, streams of blood-colored energy began to gather, covered with black lightning. Energy appearing like a flood, the entire space filled with violent aura. "Ludwig, did you forget that we have the same master?" Iluk activated the skill Imperial Glory, instantly healing his injuries. "Do you know why I'm not in a hurry to kill you? Because I want to consume your power, seize your body, so that I can return to the underworld. I never thought Ludwig would choose you as his successor. I also want to thank my foolish sister for sending you to me." At this time, Ludwig suddenly realized, his face showing deep worry. Ludwig hadn't expected that Iluk had already learned the seizure ability. Now Iluk calmly murmured, "Do you know how, as a kin, one can go to the underworld? The first point is to be killed by me, a demon. Of course, seizing your bodies to return to the underworld isn't the best solution, because seizing your bodies will greatly reduce my power. But given the current situation, this is the only method that can allow me to return to the underworld." Renji couldn't bear to see his comrades being killed before his eyes and rushed over at an extremely fast speed. But what Renji never expected was that in the next moment, Iluk's figure began to blur, leaving only a shadow in front. At this very instant, Renji sensed an extremely dangerous aura. Feeling intense pain in his body, he had no chance to react before being struck down. Iluk wouldn't give Renji even a bit of opportunity, fiercely sending Renji flying again. He wanted to use this strike to kill Renji completely. Substantial killing intent covered Iluk, a suffocating aura gradually rising. A deep red cloak suddenly appeared, increasing attack by 100%, but defense would be greatly reduced. At this time, Renji and Sayaka had already reached their limits. But Iluk's aura became increasingly terrifying, substantial killing intent gathered on his sword blade. Nearby, Ginga couldn't help but shudder. "Subaru, they have already reached their limits. Such attacks are no longer something they can bear." Subaru had never thought that he would be much stronger than I imagined. At this time, Iluk slowly opened his mouth. "I want to thank you humans. It's you who gave me the opportunity to return to the underworld. I will make good use of your bodies. I will tear my sister into pieces." Renji and Sayaka completely couldn't understand. Was such power really something they could resist? Subaru seemed to have made some kind of determination. In the next moment, Sayaka and Renji appeared in Subaru's soul space. "Leave the rest to me, I will defeat him." Hearing this, Sayaka and Renji appeared very anxious. "Subaru, are you serious? If you release your trump card here, then facing the Silver King in the next disaster will be very difficult. I don't know what the future will be like. At least now, I won't allow you to die in front of me." The two fell into a brief silence. Have I become Subaru's burden again, still can't become his strength? Suddenly, Sayaka seemed to think of something. She stopped Subaru, who was about to leave. "Besides the trump card, we have one more thing we can use." At this time, Iluk's power had gathered to its peak, fiercely striking towards the two, but suddenly the sword aura seemed to be imprisoned by a strong restraining force. Iluk couldn't believe it. This was his strongest strike. Sayaka's face showed joy. It was indeed as she thought. At this time, Iluk finally noticed. Somehow, a man had already appeared above. "Renji, long time no see." The Crest of Interruption skill moved the original space barrier to where Iluk was swinging his sword. For just 1 second, it imprisoned the power. "Although I really don't want to do this, but this time I have to seal you back to your original space first." Iluk angrily looked. "Tense moving the barrier that originally restricted me to in front of me. Subaru, you need to hurry. In just this short while, half of my magic power has been consumed." Subaru unhesitatingly came to Shikishima's side. Mr. Shikishima, Mr. Akira, please help me. Please become my kin. This way I can unlock a new ability. This ability will definitely lead us to victory. But Subaru wasn't clear if Akira would agree to this approach. For Akira, he didn't want to become Subaru's kin, because from their first meeting until now, Akira and Subaru didn't have a deep friendship. But Akira didn't care. As long as he could save Mr. Renji, he was willing to do anything. The former Akira was tortured by illness, living in pain every day. The happiest part of each day was seeing Mr. Renji on television. In Akira's heart, Renji was his savior. Renji would visit the hospital every day, encouraging him to live strong. Because of Mr. Renji's encouragement, I successfully gained the recognition of the Golden Gate and finally became a hero. The scene shifts. On the other side, Iluk looked ahead in surprise, using his skills numerous times to probe, finally learning that this defensive barrier lasted about 1 second each time. And when the defensive barrier triggered, the two in front didn't attack. This meant that when the barrier opened, no one was rushing to attack. It seemed they were trying to buy time. Although I don't know what you're waiting for, I don't want to wait like this. In the next moment, countless lightning struck the barrier. At this time, Kiryu's expression seemed to have made some determination. He had to hold on no matter what. Nearby, Renji's face showed worry because the more fierce Iluk's attacks were, the faster Kiryu's magic power would be consumed. Iluk confirmed Renji's guess. As long as Kiryu's magic power was depleted, the barrier couldn't continue to exist. Kiryu listened to Iluk's words. He couldn't believe that in such a short time, his skill had been cracked. Iluk swung rapidly. Kiryu's magic power visibly decreased. Kiryu was very clear that continuing like this would lead to his death. Iluk seized the gap in the skill's duration. Fierce sword aura engulfed Kiryu. A huge rumbling sound arose and the ground trembled uncontrollably. Iluk murmured, "Is it over?" At this moment, Renji launches a sneak attack from behind, but clearly Iluk was already prepared. "You have almost no magic power left, what can you possibly do?" But suddenly, an extremely fast attack comes in, and Iluk barely dodges by moving sideways. This aura is something Iluk feels for the first time, and he looks back, only to see Shikishima sitting calmly right behind him. The aura around him has clearly undergone a tremendous change, with even his attacks carrying soul-corroding power. Shikishima mutters to himself, indeed, becoming Subaru's kin grants additional abilities. His attacks gain the ability to directly attack the soul. At this moment, a huge flash of light appears in the sky. Iluk cannot even open his eyes. Akira can be seen with a dark golden gate covering behind him. Renji received a message from Subaru, learning that both of them had simultaneously become Subaru's kin. Akira understands that Renji's magic power is almost zero. Akira summons his ability, Golden Arsenal. A weapon imbued with golden aura appears in the void. The next moment it appears in Renji's hand, the weapon also carrying soul-crushing power. Sayaka also similarly received the military emblem and battle flag. At this moment, Subaru feels very conflicted. He doesn't want everyone to become his kin, but in order to conquer the 6-star gate, he has no choice. Shikishima says to Subaru, "Subaru, please don't think like that. We're willing to do anything to overcome the 6-star gate 10. Shikishima, who has become a kin, learns of Subaru's memories. "I'm very sorry for letting you bear so much pressure alone. Leave the rest to us." Everyone's momentum reaches its peak at this moment. Shikishima is also looking for the right opportunity to attack. Everyone's attacks are clearly more coordinated than before. For a moment, Iluk is completely unable to counterattack. Even when Iluk tries to counterattack, he is disrupted by Shikishima's long-range attacks. It's unbelievable. Their attacks are completely coordinated without any communication. His own power has been depleted for the most part. Renji and Sayaka's speed shows no sign of slowing down. Iluk refuses to believe that he is being beaten so badly by these scum. Then he suddenly stands up and shouts, "Don't underestimate me." But Shikishima from a distance will not give him a chance to counterattack. Shikishima will not allow Iluk time to charge his skills. His job is to interrupt Iluk's skill casting. At this moment, Kiryu also uses his last bit of magic power. Although this barrier can only last for 1 second. But 1 second is enough to leave you with nowhere to retreat. At this moment, Renji and Sayaka have already arrived in front of him. I won't lose to you scums!" Iluk screams desperately. But with the fall of the final blow, he simply cannot believe that he has lost to scums. Following this comes the prompt, boss defeated. Time rewinds to a few days earlier, where Ludwig had placed all his hopes on Renji. Looking at the faintly glowing artifact in his hand, Renji doesn't understand how this lowest-level artifact could kill the 6-star gate boss. Ludwig says, "This is the only C-class artifact I've collected. Its sole ability is to send souls to the Sea of Souls. The Sea of Souls is the final destination for all shattered souls." After speaking, a sad expression appears on Ludwig's face. She vaguely remembers things from her childhood. Her brother was the brightest star of the Gold Country. Although she was the elder sister, her brother's strength made her exceptionally excited. But now she has to find every possible way to kill her own brother. At this moment, Iluk's life value drops to 0. Shouting in rage, My soul will return to the underworld. I will come back. Renji slowly speaks. You will no longer be able to return, as the faintly glowing artifact appears in Renji's hand, gently inserting it into Illich's body. Illich simply cannot believe that Ludwig would actually use this item against him. The next moment, Illich's soul begins to shatter, his eyes filled with sadness. Only because this artifact was the birthday gift he gave to his sister on her 12th birthday. Was I really wrong? Then he disperses into streams of light. Renji speaks, is it finally over? Ludwig's promise has been fulfilled. At this moment, Ludwig, who is in the sea of brilliance, receives a sensation and slowly looks at the sky. Thank you, Renji, it's finally over. Sayaka breathes heavily, while Renji looks at Akira in front of him. You've really grown up, and have become very reliable now. Looking at Renji in front of him, Akira's voice begins to choke up. Mr. Renji, I'm really happy to see you again. At this moment, Shikishima comes to stand in front of Renji, just quietly looking. This atmosphere makes Akira confused. Then they fist bump with tacit understanding, welcome back, Renji. At this moment, Fuchigami and Ginga nearby show excited expressions, we finally won. But Subaru's expression becomes extremely serious, as he just received a hidden prompt about the second disaster. The second disaster is coming much faster than he expected. At this moment, a large crowd has gathered in front of the 6-star gate. Everyone is paying attention to the battle that concerns human survival. Subaru speaks to the crowd. This was an incredibly difficult battle, but we won. The future will be difficult, but we will definitely defeat them. At this moment, Subaru becomes the most dazzling savior. Renji murmurs, Subaru has completely surpassed us. I would very much like to continue talking with you, but I need to return to the Sea of Brilliance. Next time we meet, I will definitely be stronger. I'm looking forward to our next meeting. Renji's face begins to contort. Carrion is back. This bastard is going back at this time. Shikishima and Subaru quickly grab Carrion. They can't ruin Renji's image in front of the crowd. At this moment, Ginga walks alone towards Kiryu. Help me say goodbye to Subaru. I have completed the task I promised. And Kiryu indicates that his task is also over, and he should probably return to prison. Hearing this, Ginga bows deeply to Kiryu. Please be more confident about Subaru. Subaru once mentioned to me that if Mr. Kiryu wants to atone, then help them overcome future disasters. An emotional expression also appears on Kiryu's face. Do I still have the qualification to atone? Scene change. Ginga returns his home. The news constantly reports that Subaru successfully conquered the 6-star gate and is called the youngest savior. Ginga deeply understands that Subaru is indeed a special man. Suddenly, an ominous premonition surges in his heart, feeling the silver gate suddenly appearing behind him. Ginga doesn't understand why the silver gate would suddenly appear. Ginga pushes open this silver gate with an uneasy heart, but the scene before his eyes makes him even more incredulous. Yo, nice to meet you, I am the Silver King, let's have a good chat. Scene change. Having finished the 6-star gate battle, Subaru is again leisurely enjoying his time, thinking that in a week's time, the King's conference will begin. Looking at the peaceful world, he silently vows that this time he will definitely protect it well. Now there is one more important thing to do. That is to find Ginga, who has returned home. Ginga is very puzzled. Having just ended the 6-star gate battle, what business do you have with me now? Subaru casually asks, can you come with me to the underworld next week? Ginga is stunned for a while. Can ordinary humans really enter the underworld? Ginga knows that creatures from the gates come from the underworld, but can we really enter? I'm not surprised anymore, Subaru. Everything you say makes me feel panic. Going to the underworld, this is something no one can imagine, yet you say it so casually. Subaru indicates that he already considers Ginga a companion, so he wants to invite him. I will form my own team. I hope Mr. Ginga can become my companion. Never betray a companion. This will be the motto of my team. Subaru, you always make me feel at ease. I'm not confident in my own strength, but I believe in you, Subaru. Hearing this, Subaru shows a sad expression. When their hands grasp together, a strange smile appears on Ginga's face. Goodbye, Subaru. The Ice 9 skill instantly appears in Ginga's hand. At this moment, the Silver King shows a satisfied smile. Subaru, in just a few days you've become very dangerous. Unlike the Silver King, Gold King, and Bronze King, what he has always wanted is to nip Subaru in the bud. So he controlled Ginga and used Ice 9 on Subaru. Just when the Silver King naively thought he could easily kill Subaru this time. But at this moment, Subaru's expression shows no surprise at all. It's exactly as I predicted. Subaru's voice carries cold killing intent. Silver King, I know you've been hiding nearby. The Silver King's face shows an expression of disbelief. He was actually able to notice me. Silver King, you made 2 fatal mistakes. Ginga would definitely wear a paper bag mask when going out. Most importantly, in future memories, Ginga died in front of Subaru. Even at the last moment, Ginga would never say, I believe in you, because once said, Ginga would fear putting pressure on Subaru, afraid that he would disregard his own life to save the world. At that time, Ginga said to Subaru before dying, It's okay if you can't save the world, it's okay if you run away. Subaru clearly understands that Ginga trusts him very much, but he would not say these words. Subaru unhesitatingly discards his arm that is being corrupted. Such decisiveness shocks the Silver King, as if Subaru knew all along that he would control Ginga. Cutting off the arm effectively blocks the skill's corruption. Subaru rushes towards Ginga at extremely fast speed. His fingers quickly tap on Ginga's body. Cursed Blood, a more powerful curse skill, covers Ginga's body, devouring the control originally imposed by the Silver King. Now the control is back in Subaru's hands, and he can lift Ginga's curse at any time. Seeing this, the Silver King shows an incredible expression. He can actually drive away my control. Then he places Ginga on the ground, and indicates that it will end soon. The backpack begins to shake slowly. The next moment it bursts open, and a prepared arm appears. Subaru shouts blood mold and his arm instantly recovers. At this moment the Silver King also understands, it seems you not only possess the vanquish skill, but even have the ability to see the future. Subaru, you are too dangerous. I no longer care if I attract the attention of other kings, I want to eliminate you. I have been waiting for this day for a long time. I have been waiting for your arrival. Mere human, you dare say you've been waiting for me. Are you really sure you can beat me? Looking at the Silver King's overwhelming aura in front of him, the sea water on both sides keeps separating. The Silver King advances towards Subaru at extremely fast speed. The surrounding air seems to be still, but Subaru shows no panic, instead standing still. A crimson glint slowly appears in his eyes. In just an instant, his fist has already reached the Silver King's face. With just this simple strike, the Silver King is blasted back hundreds of meters. Subaru's aura begins to change fundamentally, emitting a blood-colored aura from top to bottom. Before the Silver King can react, Subaru slightly opens his palm forward. Hundreds of blood-colored palms instantly appear, rushing towards the Silver King from below. The Silver King quickly deploys his domain power, completely dissolving the attack. Before the Silver King can react, Subaru has already arrived in front of him, giving him a fierce kick. Unbelievable, he actually still has this kind of power. Countless blood mold skills appear behind him. Subaru keeps his palm open, and the blood mold skill tightly wraps around the Silver King. The Silver King was too confident in his own power but didn't expect that Subaru's ability could corrode the soul. It is only at this moment that the Silver King truly sees Subaru's form. You are not Subaru, who exactly are you? This kind of aura shouldn't exist on a human. This is the third trump card skill that Vanquish gave me. Blood Earl. I will transform into the most ancient vampire. I cannot activate this ability under sunlight. As compensation, I will gain extreme growth in all attributes and obtain part of a deity's power. The Silver King is extremely angry. You are challenging a king. You are underestimating me. The next moment, a silver light ball appears. This is the authority skill that only a king possesses. The Silver King breaks free from Subaru's blood mold. Subaru clearly understands that he is the Silver King, not an existence that can be easily defeated. Looking at the Silver King whose aura is going berserk in front of him, the space around him seems to be trembling. Subaru has long been prepared. I will not allow anyone to die. In our battle, this will be a battle between you and me. I will use all my strength. But as a king, you are too arrogant. Followed by Subaru's cold voice echoing in midair. Get down here.